inside. Try using a melee weapon to break the ice more easily. Furthermore, you'll find that snow has engulfed some red zones on the map, and the falling snow will bring about many interesting effects. Players within a snow blast zone will be transformed into a lively snow pal if they're hit by the snow. If the snow lands on the ground, a snow pile cover will be created. In this World of Wonder update, we'll be introducing a brand new transformation skill gameplay and a catch me hide and seek gameplay for you to enjoy the transformation skills to the fullest. Of course, you can also use this skill to create more interesting creations. We've also added a Snowy Village map template to celebrate the Frost Festival with creators. Additionally, we've also made some updates and improvements to gameplay devices, game parameter settings, and the editor. For more details, please follow the official PUBG Mobile community. We'll continue introducing the latest WoW content to everyone. As for Classic Mode, we've also made some improvements to vehicles, firearms, creation mode, emotes, settings, and more. First, we've enhanced the designated marksman rifles. Some DMRs can be equipped with the full auto mod to fire in full auto. We've also improved the attributes and handling of some vehicles to enhance your driving experience. We've also added a new garage mechanic. From now on, you can choose your dream ride during matches. Meanwhile, we've also added a custom SFX adjustment feature. You can adjust the volume of some sound effects to whatever best suits you. As for creation mode, we'll be introducing some quick view features for watching the victory dance and fireworks displays and the new Frozen Kingdom themed performance in order to provide players with more possibilities for creative content. Furthermore, we've expanded the emote backpack. Now you can equip more emotes before entering the battleground. That's a wrap for the main content in this new version. In addition, new content will be added to the Popularity Battle event, Metro Royale, and Season Rewards. For more details, follow our official PUBG Mobile community. Snow Battle is coming to town. Winner, winner, chicken dinner.
Ako malam. Lagi dito.
In the past 5 years, we have witnessed the birth of countless excellent teams and players in all 5 major regions. They are still remembered by us to this day. At the same time, we also remember our fans who loved us from the very beginning. On the occasion of this 5th anniversary, let's turn back the clock to the starting point of PUBG Mobile esports, the Southeast Asia region, where all the stories began. As the first world-class event, PUBG Mobile Star Challenge gathered professional players from all over the world. With continuous development, the 2019 PUBG Mobile Club Open Global Finals is undoubtedly the most exciting event.
2019 Fall Split Global Finals, ladies and gentlemen, give yourself a round of applause!
Among the countless rising stars, one shined particularly bright. Bigatron Red Aliens, a team from Indonesia,
Bigatron Red Aliens!
just got first place in the PMCO Southeast Asia Fall Championship, earning the chance to compete in the PMCO Global Finals in Malaysia. In the subsequent prelim stage, intense competition kicked off immediately. And finally, they advanced to the Grand Finals in 2nd place. BTR demonstrated impeccable strength in the competition. By the end, BTR was leading the lobby by a significant 106 points, bringing the first ever championship title to the SEA region.
Di saat itu siapa yang gak kenal dengan nama Bigatron gitu? Tim yang punya segudang prestasi, mereka juara dunia di PMCO Global Finals tahun 2019. Mereka banyak banget melahirkan pemain-pemain berbakat, Zuxi, Luxi, Ryzen, Microboy, Terus habis itu Zuxi Luxi juga saat mereka menjadi juara dunia, mereka berada di masa prime-nya mereka banget. Terus habis itu Zuxi Luxi juga saat
PUBG Mobile esports always strives to develop and grow year after year. That's why we made sure to continue to support and build the SEA region. In 2020, the improvement of the competitive schedule introduced the World League, which later became the World Invitational. We also launched the PUBG Mobile Pro League, where even more outstanding teams joined the competitive stage. In the 2020 PMWL, BTR once again clinched the championship.
This round, winner with a chicken dinner, Nova XQL.
With the rise of Team Nova, countless brilliant moments were had, but this also left many players with regret.
After BTR Red Alien won the Global Championship in Kuala Lumpur, we thought C region was the best. We thought nobody could beat C region except maybe RRQ Athena, maybe Illuminate the Murder, maybe Mega Conqueror, but C region was the best at the time. And we get to the league. We heard of a team called Nova. We thought maybe this team is not that good. On the contrary, they owned all the teams. They were very good.
Let's move forward to the year 2021. With continuous efforts, more teams and players joined the Pro League. For example, Decemeber, who placed third in the 2020 PMWI East League, also secured second place in the PMGC East League. FaZe Clan also made their debut on the world stage.
Có thể nói 2021 là năm thành công nhất của Dingo Xavier trên đấu trường quốc tế, khẳng định vị thế và tên tuổi của Việt Nam vô cùng mạnh mẽ. Còn với FaZe Clan, đây là năm đầu tiên họ đặt chân đến với giải đấu cao cấp nhất của PUBG Mobile, nhưng lại khiến tất cả những đối thủ khác đều phải dè chừng và e ngại.
Undoubtedly, the year 2022 has brought the greatest changes to the SEA region. Vampire Esports emerged, dominating 2022 PMWI, winning both the main and after-party tournaments, while also setting records for most chicken dinners, most eliminations, and more. They were not only facing competitors from the SEA region, but from all over the world. Everyone was talking about VPE and wondering if they can maintain their performance at the Global Championship or if it was just a stroke of good luck. On the last day of the 2022 PMGC Grand Finals, VPE won 3 chicken dinners alone, moving from the bottom of the table to 6th place, achieving the best result for the SEA region. They pulled off another miracle, but sadly, it was not enough to win it all. In 2023, VPE continued their impressive performance. They once again won everything at the 2023 PMWI.
23 PUBG Mobile World Invitational Champions, Vampire Esports!
ก็ย้อนกลับไปในปีที่แล้วนะครับเอาจริงก็ผมมองว่าน่าจะโอ้โหไม่มีใครที่จะมองว่าทางฝั่งตัวแวมไพร์จะซักเซสได้ถึงขนาดนั้นนะครับเพราะยุคนั้นเหมือนทุกคนจะโฟกัสไปทางฝั่งตัวอินฟินแล้วก็เฟสแคนที่มีแบบว่าผู้เล่นดังๆนะครับแต่ก็ถ้าจำมันได้เหมือน PMGC ปีล่าสุดมากินไก่แบบเบิ้ลติดๆกันในวันสุดท้ายเหมือนเอาจริงน้องๆก็เคยบอกเลยว่าเฮ้ยเราเครียดกันไปหรือเปล่ามันเป็นตัวเองดีกว่าเล่นแบบปล่อยจอยได้แบบจอยเลยสุดท้าย3กระติดจบอันดับ6ของโลกซะอย่างนั้นนี่นะครับแวมไพร์สปอร์ตเชื่อจัดกัน
But don't forget, Alter Ego, an Indonesian team, showed a very strong performance by winning the Super League twice. The SEA Super League was an upgrade to the previous championship, which by many is considered to be the most competitive league in PUBG Mobile. They could potentially become the next legend of the SEA region.
Untuk dibilang legend, gue rasa belum sih untuk Alter Ego. Walaupun mereka sempat ngedapetin back-to-back champion untuk di PMSL 2023, itu menurut gue hanya sekedar untuk ngasih pembuktian gitu bahwa Indonesia tidak kehabisan pemain berbakat. Ya mungkin contohnya Rosemary gitu. Datangnya dia ke Alter Ego tuh bener-bener jadi ujung tombak untuk Alter Ego. Dan gak berhenti di Rosemary. Masih ada Alpha juga yang didatangkan oleh Alter Ego untuk mengisi kekosongan atau kekurangan dari Alter Ego. Dan gue rasa PMGC 2023 ini akan menjadi ajang Global Championship pertama gitu. Untuk Rosemary dan juga si Alpha. Jadi wajib banget kita nantikan performnya mereka di PMGC 2023. Dan please di notes pastikan tonton Alter Ego sampai akhir.
Of course, there are many more teams we haven't mentioned, but these teams will all take part in the 2023 PUBG Mobile Global Championship. So what do you think? Who will be the ultimate winner in this year's PMGC? Will they be from SEA? Well, there's only one way to find out.
ये देखिए ना कमिंग में इवेंट आने वाला है ये वाला इवेंट विंटर सीजन ये आएगा विंटर सीजन तो प्रोडक्ट एक ग्लोबल वाले है ये ग्लोबल वाले है लेकिन आएगा जितने भी आएगा ये इसका लगेगा मीटर है डायमेंसिटी 10 डायमेंशन अब नेट स्लो हो रहा है मेरा बस सेम है होगा सच
Coming close, but not quite clinching the championship title at PMGC last year, DRS is back to claim what's theirs. Sahabhagi here on ground at the 2023 PMGC, where we have Delta from DRS with me alongside Sang, and we want to chat with them a little bit about their journey into the PMGC this year. Now, let's talk a little bit about your expectation today. What are you expecting from your team and your goals? What are your goals this year for 2023 PMGC?
तिमीलाई आफ्नो टिमबाट यो वर्ष चाहिँ के एक्सपेक्टेसन छ र तिमीहरूलाई कहाँसम्म पुग्ने गोल चाहिँ कहाँ के पुग्ने गोल छ तिम्रो
त्यही हो अब ग्रुप स्टेजबाट चाहिँ हामी फाइनलसम्म जानलाई ट्राई गर्नेछौँ अनि फाइनल पुगेपछि अब जित्नैकै लागि खेल्नेछौँ
फ्रम ग्रुप स्टेज वी विल बी हेडिङ टुवर्ड्स द top 3 positions, and in the finals our main goal is to win this year because we left somewhere.
We left somewhere. Yep, that's right. They are trying to come back and claim the champions title, and it's very interesting when you talk about that. So this year is a direct invite for you guys. So, let's talk a little bit about your performance this year, and I think that a lot of people are sharing the sentiment that this year hasn't been DRS's best performance compared to last year. And in recent events, do you guys feel like you have something to prove to all those people out there who are saying that you guys are not at your peak performance?
पहिलाको इयर र अहिलेको कम्पेरिजनमा चाहिँ पुरानो गेम जस्तो अहिले छैन हैन अहिले गेम नराम्रो भइराछ र तिमीहरुको कसरी खेल्ने चाहिँ उसै सोच छ
त्यही हो पहिलाको इयर जस्तो हाम्रो यो पाली स्प्लिटहरु त भएन तर यो पाली चाहिँ हामी इम्प्रुभ गरेर अझै बेटर भएर देखाउने छौं अनि हामीलाई स्पेशल इन्भाइट किन आको त्यो वर्थ चाहिँ अब हामी पूरा गरेर देखाउँछौं र जीसीमा गरेर देखाउँछौं पहिला जसरी
So this year hasn't been that good so far, but we will make sure to show the performance that you guys are expecting, and we will show why we got the special invite from GC.
Speaking of special invite, do you think there's added pressure that you guys got the special invite?
Special invite पाएर चाहिँ त्यस नर्मल भन्दा के प्रेसर बढी भएको
प्रेसर त छ अब इन्भाइट आको छ अब यो इन्भाइट आकोलाई चाहिँ हामीले अब गरेर देखाउन छ जीसीमा के
there's a small pressure that we got a special invite, not we didn't came here by qualifying directly, so we do have certain difficulties to overcome, but we will do our best and we'll show what we are made of.
They will show what they're made of. Speaking of showing what you're made of, so you know that this group this week, Group Yellow, is currently dubbed the Group of Death. So out of all the teams in this group, which team do you think is your strongest opponent and why?
अब टिम्सहरु त सबै राम्रो छ यहाँ क्वालिफाई भएर आको हो अब त्यही हो यो ग्रुपको नाम चाहिँ ग्रुप अफ डेथ भए पनि यामराज चाहिँ हामी हो यो ग्रुपको
So all the teams that are here in this group are the best because they qualified on their own. But please don't forget, even if it's a group of death, we are the Grim Reapers.
They are the Grim Reapers. And what does the Grim Reaper have to say to all the teams in Group Yellow?
Best of luck and be ready to fight with us.
Best of luck and get ready to fight with us. They have a lot to prove. And ladies and gentlemen, with that, thank you so much, Delta, for that interview. And good luck for today. Let's see what you have to prove or have to say.
Thank you.
So, the last 2 weeks, we have found our 6 teams directly invited to the 2023 PMGC taking place in Turkey, not too far from now. And now our final search begins for the last 3 invites who will be going. This group, dubbed the Group of Death, comes with some of the strongest PUBG Mobile teams that the world has ever seen. Can these superstar teams maintain their top spot as the best of the best? Or are we going to be seeing the underdogs perform and show us a Cinderella story? Panel, casters, can you guys share with me a little bit about what you think of this statement?
Well, स्वागत छ यहाँहरु सम्पूर्णलाई। क्या सुरुवात भइसकेको छ। हामी छौं PUBG Mobile ग्लोबल च्याम्पियनशिप PMGC 2023 ग्रुप अन्तिम, यानी कि ग्रुप येलो, द ग्रुप अफ डेथ। बट वी आर द डेथ ग्रुपर्स भनेर भनिसक्नु भयो हाम्रो मिस्टर साङ अनि डेल्टाले। क्या सुरुवात भएको छ हन्स, इन्टरभ्यूले फिल आयो, मजा आयो।
लाइक स्टार्टमा अघिल्लो वर्षको मलाई हल्का फुल्का फिलिङ आयो। म एक्ज्याक्टली गेम कास्ट सायद गरिरहेको थिएन, म वाच पार्टीमा थिएँ। त्यतिखेर मैले हेरेको थिएँ, लाइक मन छोएको थियो। मन त यो कुराले पनि छोयो कि फाइनल्ली लाइक जसरी भए पनि एउटा टिम वर्ल्ड कप खेल्दैछ, PUBG मोबाइल ग्लोबल च्याम्पियनशिप खेल्दैछ भनेर एक्साइटमेन्ट आफ्नो ठाउँमा छ। स्टार्ट पनि त्यो खाले भयो। अब यसलाई यसो माथि तलबाट छेक्ने खाले गेम प्ले आयो भने, द्याट मिन्स सपोर्टिङ गेम प्ले आयो भने, आई मिन भयो जर्नी स्टार्ट। अब आजबाट द वेट इज ओभर जुन म भन्दै थिएँ, यस आजबाट त्यो वेट ओभर त भयो। बट एक सेकेन्डमा गुज बम, इन्टेन्स माहौल अनि त्यसपछि त्यो डरको माहौल, एभ्रिथिङ आज हामीले फेस गरेछौँ। म सँगसँगै हामीलाई हेर्ने हजारौँ लाखौँ अडियन्सले पनि।
या पक्कै पनि पछिल्लो पटक ग्लोबल च्याम्पियनशिपको 1 विक जब तपाईँ र म कास्ट गरिरहेका थियौँ, एउटा टिमलाई डाइरेक्टली ग्रुप स्टेजबाट फाइनल पठाएका थियौँ हामीले। यदि यो पटक फेरि त्यही भन्दा त्यो खुसीको सीमा रहने छैन। बट या त्यो भनिरहँदा हामीले प्र्याक्टिकलिटी पनि बोल्नु कति स्ट्रङ रहेको छ यो ग्रुप भनेर। सँगसँगै PUBG मोबाइल हैज बीन नोमिनेटेड फर बेस्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स गेम। ई स्पोर्ट्सको मजा PUBG मोबाइलले जति दिन्छ, त्यसका लागि बेस्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स मोबाइल गेम PUBG मोबाइल हो भनेर त्यो भोटिङका लागि, त्यो अवार्डका लागि, द गेम अवार्ड्स जुन रहेको छ त्यसका लागि PUBG मोबाइल नोमिनेट भएको छ। तपाईँले पनि गएर भोट आफ्नो त्यहाँ राख्न सक्नुहुनेछ। बट या नो डाउट बेस्ट ई स्पोर्ट्स गेमको रूपमा PUBG मोबाइल ओभर द इयर्स इमर्ज त भएको छ।
हेर्नको मजा पनि त हुन्छ नि। हामी केमा छौँ भन्ने पनि त कुरा भयो नि त। हामी कहाँ छौँ, हामी कुन गेममा छौँ। हामी यो गेममा छौँ अनि हामी त्यो टप लेभलमा टप टियरको गेम प्ले खेल्छौँ। अरू जुनसुकै स्पोर्ट्स ई स्पोर्ट्स उठाउनु छैन, तपाईँले यो गेममा हाम्रो रिप्रेजेन्टेसन एभ्री ग्लोबल च्याम्पियनसिपमा देख्नुहुन्छ। तीनटा टिमसम्म पनि पुगेका हुन्, खेलेका हुन्। हामीले पहिलो संस्करणमा पनि 2टा टिम पाउँदै थियौँ, दोस्रो संस्करणमा पनि हामीले केही टिम पायौँ, तेस्रो संस्करणमा पनि, अब इभन चौथो संस्करणमा क्वालिफाई भएका थिएनौँ। बट सायद हामीले गरेको प्रोग्रेसलाई पनि थोरै कदर गरियो। एन्ड देन DRS एज अ ब्रान्ड जुन इभल्भ भएको छ, एज अ अर्गनाइजेसन नेपालको बेस्ट अर्को रूपमा इस्टाब्लिस सर्टअप भयो, त्यसले गर्दा पनि थोरै हेल्प गर्यो। एन्ड देन नेपाली अडियन्सलाई इग्नोर गर्न सकिँदैन। नेपाली भ्युअरसिप साउथ एसियामा जुन ई स्पोर्ट्स लभर अडियन्स हुनुहुन्छ उनीहरूलाई पनि इग्नोर गर्न सकिँदैन। सायद यो लगायतका कुरा पनि रहेको थियो। हामी आज कुरा गर्दैछौँ कि इन्भाइट किन आयो भनेर। आज हामी यो कुरा गर्नेछौँ कि यो इन्भाइट सही थियो कि सही टिमलाई आयो, के उनीहरूले गरेर देखाउन सक्छ, आफ्नो वर्थ प्रुफ गरेर देखाउन सक्छ। जुन इन्टरभ्यूमा साङ र डेल्टाको जोडीले भन्यो कि हामीले हाम्रो वर्थ प्रुफ गरेर देखाउनु छ, यहाँ त्यही एउटा सानो प्रेसर छ भनेर जुन भनेका थिए, त्यसको बारेमा आज हामी बढी कुरा गर्नेछौँ।
या पक्कै पनि इन्भाइट पाएको छ, विश्वास धेरै आएको छ। त्यो विश्वासलाई अब यदि प्रदर्शनमा परिणत गर्न सक्यो भने त्यस पछाडिको त्यो मजा, त्यो खुसी हामी सबैले पाइसकेका छौँ। यही दिन रहेको थियो जसले हामीलाई त्यो खुसीका पनि डिफ्रेन्ट लेभल थिए। पछिल्लो PMGCमा हामी खुसी भइरहेका थियौँ। केही टिम जसरी ग्रुप स्टेजबाट डाइरेक्टली एउटा टिम फाइनल पुगेको थियो, अरू 2टा टिमहरू अगाडि बढ्न पाएका थिए सर्भाइभल स्टेजमा। जसरी यहाँ पनि उनीहरू अगाडि बढ्नेछ। सर्भाइभल स्टेज लास्ट चान्स हुँदै ग्रान्ड फाइनल ह्यासट्याग 2 को अन्त्य नृत्य गर्दा जुन खुसी पाएका थियौँ नि त्यो फेरि एकपटक दोहोरिनेछ यदि यो पटक पनि त्यस्तै खालको रिजल्ट दिने खालको पर्फर्मेन्स आउँछ भने या अघि पनि मैले भने प्र्याक्टिकलिटी त्यो एउटा वर्ड धेरै नै युज हुनेछ यो ग्रुपमा बिकज अति नै टफ ग्रुप रहेको छ भनेर हामी भनिरहेका छौँ ग्रिन र रेडको म्याचेस सकिसक्यो ग्रुप येल्लोमा रहेका टप 16 टिम्सहरू जति पनि रहेका छन् यी टिमहरूमध्येबाट टप 3 टिम्स सोझै प्रवेश गर्नेछन् फाइनलमा अनि 3टा टिम को जान्छन् होला फाइनलमा भनेर त्यो 16को नाम पल्टाएर हेर्ने हो भने एकछिन टाउको कनाउनु पर्ने अवस्था छ किनकि नाम त्यति ठुला ठुला रहेका छन् यो ग्रुपमा
ग्रुप अफ डेथ भनेर जुन भनिएको छ नि एक्ज्याक्टली सही पनि हुन्छ 3टा ग्रुप बनेका थिए यसलाई र्याङ्क निकालौँ न त कुन टफ छ या कुन टफेस्ट छ एन्ड देन सो हिसाबले भन्दाखेरि 1 नम्बरमा यही ग्रुप आउँथ्यो मेबी दोस्रो नम्बरमा ग्रिन थियो होला बट ग्रिनमा त्यो खाले कम्पिटिसन भएन एन्ड ग्रुप रेडमा हामीले क्लोज कम्पिटिसन लास्ट म्याच सकिँदासम्ममा पनि को फर्स्ट सेकेन्ड थर्ड हुँदैछ टाइप अफ थाहा नपाउने खाले गेम प्ले हेरेका थियौँ सो द्याट्स वाइ या अब लबी पनि त त्यही हिसाबले डिसाइड हुन्छ नि त गेम प्ले अलिकता भिन्न हुन्छ सबै आफ्नो लबीबाट खेलेर आएका छन् सबै आफ्नो सर्किटबाट खेलेर आएका छन् यहाँ आउँदा केही चेन्ज हुन्छ कसैले इन्स्ट्यान्टली त्यो एडप्ट गर्न सक्छ कसैले गर्नै सक्दैन अनि सर्भाइभल स्टेजतिर धकलिन्छ एक्स्ट्रा टाइम पाउँछ उसले प्रिपरेसनको त्यो डिभाइसमा पानी पर्ने थोरै एक्स्ट्रा टाइम पाउँछ अनि देन अरूलाई रिड गर्ने पनि थोरै टाइम पाउँछ अनि त्यसले हेल्प गरेको पनि हुनसक्छ ओभरभ्यू पोइन्ट सिस्टम यही पोइन्ट सिस्टम हो हाम्रो गेम बिग्रिनुको मेजर रिजन बिकज साउथ एसिया अलमोस्ट प्यासिभ रिजन भनेर पहिले चिनिन्थ्यो अझै पनि अलमोस्ट नै छ मङ्गोलियन टिमलाई एक्सक्लुड गर्ने हो भने सरी पाकिस्तानले फ्लेभर ल्याउँछ एग्रेसनको मङ्गोलियन 1 नम्बरमा छन् त्यो कुरा सही गर्नको लागि अब त्यसपछि कुरा गर्नु पर्यो टिम्सको आई मिन म माथिल्लो रोको बारेमा भन्छु बेसिक पिपल तिमी तल्लो रोको बारेमा भन्नु बिकज त्यति छ बाडा होला यति हिट छ यहाँ जेनेसिस एसईएबाट आउँछ एसईएबाट आउने एभ्री टिमलाई सही मानिन्छ हामी या थोरै फ्लप सो केही चलेको छ नो डाउट एम्पायर 4वटा पिएमडब्ल्यू स्टेज भयो 4वटै जितेको छ अनि यो पोइन्ट सिस्टममा 50-60 पोइन्ट्सले लिडले तपाईँ टुर्नामेन्ट जित्नुहुन्छ भने तपाईँ त हिरो प्रो म्याक्स हो त्यस्तो छ त्यसपछि आउँछ बिटिआरको जुन ट्रान्सफर्मेसन भएको छ लेटली भेरी गुड सतार जसलाई जेनेसिस डोगमाबाट तपाईँले पहिला देख्नु भएको थियो जिडिआइएस भनेर याद होला कतिलाई त्यो प्लेयर छन् उसको गेम प्ले हेर्न म इन्ट्रेस्टेड छु सेम 9 एससीए मलेसिया त्यसपछि आउँछ 4MB यो टिमबाट यति धेरै एक्सपेक्टेसन छ थोरै बानी परेको छैन डिभाइसमा भन्ने सुनेको छु मैले अब त्यो कतिको फ्याक्ट हो भन्ने कुरा रहनेछ त्यसपछि कुरा आउँछ हामी भन्दै थिएँ म जेनेसिस यो टिमलाई पनि नोट गर्नुपर्छ भनेर बाँकी हल्का फुल्का याद छ विपुल तिमी बता बाँकी टिमको बारेमा पुरै डिटेलमा नगए पनि
या पक्कै पनि आई थिङ्क म धेरै एक्साइटेड रहेको छु विभोलाई हेर्न पनि विभोमा पनि स्पेसल्ली सुकको पर्फर्मेन्सलाई हेर्नको लागि म अति नै एक्साइटेड रहेको छु सुकले जुन कन्फिडेन्स लिएर म आउँदैछु सबैलाई कुट्नको लागि बाँधेर कुट्नेछु भनेर भनेका थिएँ त्यो पर्फर्मेन्स आउँछ कि आउँदैन त्यो हेर्न पाउनेछौँ कन्फिडेन्ट हो भन्दै थिएँ टक्रक्कै स्क्रिनमा उनीहरू नै पनि आयो एउटा चाइनिज टिम अघिल्लो हप्ता 6-8 2 दिन खतरनाक नै खेल्यो 2 दिन ओके राम्रै हो तर स्टिल उनीहरूको स्ट्यान्डर्ड जति मिट भएन भन्ने खालको पर्फर्मेन्स थियो बट जति पनि राम्रो म्याच निकालेको थियो उनीहरूले त्यसमा हामीलाई वाउ भन्ने बनाइरहेको थियो आशा त त्यही लगाउनेछौँ हामी विभोबाट पनि बिकज चाइनिज टिमको पछिल्लो पटकको पर्फर्मेन्स सायद उनीहरूले जुन बनाएको नाम थियो थोरै खोसिएर गएको थियो त्योभन्दा टाढा स्ट्यान्डर्ड मिट किन उनीहरूले त्यो बार जुन सेट गरेको थियो नि त्यसलाई बाँकी आएका चाइनिज टिमहरूले आफै पनि नोभाले सिजन म्याच गर्न सकेको आइएचसी हाम्रो रिजनको टिम पर्छ आज साउथ एसियाको लागि मजाको दसैँ टाइपको इन्भाइरोमेन्ट छ क्या किन भन्दा टिम्सहरू छन् आज मजाले पर्फर्मेन्स देखाउने खाले 2टा मङ्गोलियन टिम जसलाई हामी सहराइन्छ स्पेसल्ली 4MB भनौँ कति कुरा गरिन्छ उनीहरूको गेम प्लेको बारेमा जब उनीहरू सेलेक्ट भए त्यसपछि उनीहरूले जुन थर्ड पार्टी टुर्नामेन्ट एन्ड प्र्याक्टिस लबीमा धुलो आगो कडायो भनौँ अरूलाई त मतलब तिमीहरू त हाम्रो अगाडि केही होइन भन्ने फिल गरायो अलमोस्ट नै खाली गेम प्ले रहेको थियो त्यसपछि आउँछ साउथ एसिया छोडेपछि मेरो फेभरेट टिम यही हो डी प्लस यो टिमलाई त मैले 100% टप 3 भनेको पनि छु हिजो रिहर्सलका म्याचेसहरू पनि भएका थिए साथीहरू र त्यसको बारेमा पनि बेसिक कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ हिजोको रिहर्सलको 3 म्याच हुँदा पनि पहिलो म्याचमा सायद 0 थियो डी प्लस बट लास्टको 2 म्याच सकिँदाखेरि टप 3 मा आएको थियो उनीहरू सो द्याट्स वाइ एक्सपेक्ट गर्न सकिन्छ उनीहरूले उनीहरूले गरेर देखाउँछ उनीहरू राम्रो गेम प्ले खेल्छ उनीहरू स्ल्यामिन गर्न पनि जानेको छ आज सर्टगन भनेको के सायद मैले त कुरै नगरेको आज सर्टगन भनेको के आज हामी देखाउँछौँ भनेर आई बिलिभ आउँछ डी प्लस किया या पक्कै पनि डी प्लस कियाको कुरा हुनेछ यता डिएमआर आएको छ युरोपियन च्याम्पियनसिपबाट आएको टिम पर्फर्मेन्स उनीहरूको पनि त्यहाँ राम्रो थियो यहाँ के गर्छ हेर्नुपर्ने छ बिकज त्यति धेरै वर्ल्ड स्टेजमा ग्लोबल स्टेजमा हामीले यो टिमलाई देखेका छैनौँ टिमुर्टी अनि अप्ठ्यारो रहेको छ नाम पनि त्यही भएर हामी डिएमआर नै भन्नेछौँ धेरै दुःख गर्ने छैनौँ बट उनीहरूको पर्फर्मेन्स हेर्नको लागि म पनि एक्साइटेड रहेको छु च्याम्पियनसिपमा राम्रो खेलेका थिए त्यहाँबाट राम्रै पोइन्ट लिएर आएर आई बिलिभ डिएमआरको टिम अराउन्ड अलिकति लकी हुँदै हुँदै क्वालिफाई भएको थियो जस्तो लाग्छ बिकज त्यहाँ केही टिम थिए जोसँग अलरेडी PMG स्लट थियो लाइक S2G को टिम थियो ती टिमहरूलाई
हामीसँग पनि थियो भन्दै त्यस्तो त सरी विपुल दुईटा टिम त हामीसँग पनि थियो जोसँग PMGC स्लट थियो हामीलाई के भन्ने त त्यसरी यो अलिकति मलाई चित्त बुझ्दैन स्टेटमेन्ट
ओके फाइन दे आर अ भेरी गुड टिम वन्स अति नै बवाल टिम हो एकदम राम्रो खेल्छ अर्को बवाल टिम यहाँ आएको छ हिरो टिम इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम इन्फ्लुएन्स रेज केही अगाडिसम्म अर्को एउटा नाम पनि थियो त्यो अहिले छुट्यो सो इन्फ्लुएन्स रेज उनीहरू रहनेछन् बट ब्राजिलियन पावर देखिएको छ इभेन्टमा अल्दो अघिल्लो ग्रुपमा धेरै देखिएन त्यहाँ त अलमोस्ट इन्कोले त हैट यो इन्को नै हो र भन्ने बनाएको थियो तर अन्तिममा आइजीलाई छोड्दै उनीहरू अगाडि बढ्यो अनि अब आउँछन् हाम्रो टिम यो टिमको बारेमा के भन्ने अन्स मैले तपाईँलाई लिबर्टी दिएँ यो टिमको बारेमा के भन्ने भनेर
धेरै आशा छ विपुल अति धेरै आशा छ पर्फर्मेन्स लेटली फ्र्याङ्कली स्पिकिङ छैन त्यो बट समहाउ यो कुराले मनभित्र आशा आइराख्छ कि एन्ड्रोइडमा त्यसपछि ग्लोबल इभेन्टमा रेकर्ड राम्रो छ PMWI दुईटै स्टेज इट वाज सेटिस्फ्याक्ट्री एटलिस्ट किनभने एउटामा थर्ड एउटामा 11 सेटिस्फ्याक्ट्री ओभरअलमा हेर्ने हो भने PMGC अघिल्लोचोटिको #2 कहिले भुल्नेवालै छैनौँ हामी त्यसपछि #4-5 हुँदैको त्यो लास्ट चान्सको गेम प्ले त्यो पनि एक्स्ट्रा अर्डिनरी रहेको थियो बट चेन्ज भएको छ पॉइन्ट सिस्टम एन्ड अलको कुराले त्यसपछि हामी यता आउनुपर्ने हुन्छ यो टिमले सायद धेरैलाई PUBG मोबाइल हेर्न या ई स्पोर्ट्स फलो गर्न थोरै मोटिभेट गरेको थियो या एट्र्याक्ट गरेको थियो अनि लेटली एग्रेसन भनेको के हो भन्ने कुरालाई यो टिमले सिकाएको छ या एभ्री टिमलाई हामी हेर्छौँ भने आई बिलिभ लबीमा भएका 16 मध्येमा 10 वटा टिमको बारेमा कहानी हामी बताउन सक्छौँ पुरा दिनभरि एउटा टिमको टपिक 1 घण्टा कभर गर्न सकिन्छ 4MB कस्तो टिम थियो कहाँबाट सुरु भयो डक एपेक्स त्यो इकोनोमिक्सको नामबाट जब PMPL टिम जाँदैन भन्ने DWबाट खेलेर रोस्टर थोरै फेरबदल भयो एउटा प्लेयर बिचमा चेन्ज पनि भयो PMRC जित्यो जित्न आउँथेन पहिला चोक गर्ने टिम हो अति नै उनीहरूको फ्लो बिग्रिन्छ फाइनलमा पुग्दा लट्स अफ द कुरा गरिन्थ्यो बट त्यो सबै कुरा चेन्ज हुँदै 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 लेटली जुन उनीहरूलाई एक्ज्याक्टली चाहिएको माहौल बनिरहेको छ एक्ज्याक्टली चाहिएको गेम प्ले उनीहरूको साइडबाट प्रस्तुत भइरहेको छ अनि यसरी म पुरै दिनभरिमा कुरा गर्न सक्छु फोरएमबीले त मैले PMGC जित्छ भनेर पनि ढोकमा लगाइसकेको छु मलाई निराश नगरौँ एटलिस्ट टप 3 त चाहिन्छ फोरएमबी फ्र्याङ्कली स्पिकिङ
या पक्का पनि उनीहरूलाई टप 3 को त्यो स्पट त चाहिने नै छ मैले पनि एउटा प्रोबेबल PMGC विनरको रूपमा त्यो कन्टेन्डरको रूपमा
PMGC च्याम्पियन थियो
यो टिमलाई भनेर बट PMGC हो त्यो कारणले अलिकति मैले त्यो भन्न चाहिन अहिलेको लागि बट यो टिमलाई पनि कम नआएको होला एम्पायरको टिमले जे गरेर देखाउँछ नि गर्न सक्छ उनीहरूले केले भरिएको छ यो टिम भनेर अनि इभन PMGC मा राम्रो पर्फर्मेन्स आएन भनेर तपाईले सोचिराख्नु भएको छ भने पनि पछिल्लो पटकको PMGC को फाइनल अन्तिम दिन याद गरौँ के गरेको छ त्यो टिमले भनेर यता अर्को एउटा टिम आउँछ टिम कोइसो यदि तपाईँ एकदमै पुरानो ई स्पोर्ट्स PUBG मोबाइल ई स्पोर्ट्स फलोवर हो भने तपाईले पहिलोचोटि जब बाहिरको रिजनको अथवा ग्लोबल रिजनको हेर्नु भएको थियो होला ई स्पोर्ट्स त्यतिखेरदेखि यो टिम थियो अहिलेसम्म पनि एउटा त्यो टिम चलि नै रहेको छ टिम कोइसो उनीहरू आउँछन् यता रुखको बन्टीमा आएको छ आई डोन्ट नो उनीहरूबाट के एक्सपेक्ट गर्ने त्यति धेरै एक्सपेक्टेसन त छैन बट स्टिल यो अप्ठ्यारो ग्रुप छ अनि यु नेभर नो कुनै एउटा टिम जसरी अघिल्लो ग्रुपमा NSR को टिम जसरी उब्रिएर आएको थियो यु नेभर नो एउटा टिम त्यसरी नै खेल्दियो यो ग्रुपमा पनि भने त अनि झन् त्यो इक्वेसन बदलिनेछ
यहाँ के छ भन्दा केही टिमहरू छन् जसको बारेमा हामी पुरा दिनभरि कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ केही टिम हाम्रो लागि टोटल अननोन फ्याक्टर पनि रहेका छन् या इन्डिभिजुअल स्किल राम्रो छ मजाले एक्सपेक्ट गर्न सकिन्छ फर सिम्पल रिजन कि यहाँ यसै आइएको होइन हैन यसै तपाईले ल आउनुस् त नि तपाई खेल्दै हुनुहुन्छ आउनुस् त नि भनिएको होइन हामी बरु होला त्यसरी आएको बट यहाँ बाँकी टिमहरू जुन 15 छन् उनीहरू त आफ्नो रिजनबाट आफ्नो गेम प्लेले इम्प्रेस गरेर त्यो स्लट कमाएर आएका हुन् सो द्याट्स वाइ कसैलाई पनि कम आँक्न चाहिँ सकिँदैन एकचोटि रेकर्डको बारेमा पनि कुरा गरौँ रेकर्ड स्टलवर्टले पनि राख्या हो 3 सेकेन्ड एक दिनमा निकालेको थियो हामीले सायद DS को टिमबाट पनि देख्यो 3 नै भनेर मलाई याद भएसम्म जुन गेम खेलेको थियो उनीहरूले आफ्नो रेस्पेक्टिभ विकको 1 सेकेन्ड लिन त्यसपछि ब्रेक अनि फेरि लगातार 2 सेकेन्ड लिन उनीहरूले मिरामारमा निकालेको थियो बट या त्यो रेकर्डको बारेमा पनि हामी कुरा गरौँ अझै बढी कुरा गरौँला अझै बढी यो बारेमा उफ्री कुरा गरौँला जब हाम्रो टिमले त्यसको क्लोज बाई वाला गेम प्ले देखाउँछ बिकज आज प्रेसर अति छ प्लेयरले एक्सेप्ट गर्ला प्लेयरले एक्सेप्ट नगर्ला आज प्रेसर अति छ आजको दिनलाई 40-50 मा सम अप गर्न सकियो भने 8 के एभरेज पनि केही गरिकन जसो तसो लुकेर सुतेर कुरेर डेल्टाले के भन्यो हामीलाई यहाँबाट प्रायोरिटी केही पनि छैन हामीलाई यहाँबाट प्रायोरिटी चाहिँ बस ग्रान्ड फाइनल पुग्ने अब त्यसको लागि के कति गर्नुपर्छ हैन साम दाम दण्ड त्यो सबै लगाउने आई विल बी मोर देन ह्याप्पी कि त्यो अप्रोच आउँछ भने बट एट द एन्डमा यो पनि सोच्नुपर्छ हामी अडियन्सको बारेमा पनि त अलिकति कुरा गर्छ नि त अडियन्सले पनि हेर्नेछ अडियन्सले पनि अब्जर्भ गर्नेछ लट्स अफ द फिडब्याक अडियन्सको साइडबाट पनि आउँछ यदि त्यो सब अप्रोच गर्दा गर्दै पनि रिजल्ट आएन भने त्यहाँ थोरै कुराकानी चाहिँ एक्स्ट्रा हुन सक्छ
पक्कै पनि अघि त आफैले भन्दै थिए कि हामीलाई जुन स्पेशल इन्भाइट आएको छ त्यो हामी यो पिएमजीसीमा प्रुभ गरेर देखाउनेछौँ कि हामीलाई किन आयो इन्भाइट भनेर जुन माया कृषिको लागि प्लेयरहरू ट्राभल गर्नुभन्दा अगाडि पनि आफ्नै पनि कुरा भइरहेको थियो अनि त्यही डिस्कसन चलिरहेको थियो कि यो सायद धेरैले सपनामा पनि सोच्दैन कि यस्तो खालको मौका पाउँछौँ हामीले भनेर इभन त्यो क्वालिफाई हुन नसकिसके पछाडि त्यो स्टेजमा आइपुग्दाखेरि पनि सर्किट नै के हुने हो भनेर हाम्रो इन्टरनल कुराकानी चलिरहेको बेलामा यस्तो राम्रो मौका पाइएको छ यो मौकालाई क्यास इन गर्न सक्नु पर्यो अडियन्सले माया गर्नुभएको छ एकपटक फेरि खुसी हुने मौका दिनु पर्यो अनि यी सबैको बिचमा जसो तसो गरेर म्यानेज गर्न सकियो डाइरेक्टली टप 3 पुग्न सकिएन भने पनि केही छैन बिकज पछिल्लो पटक पनि हामी सर्भाइभल स्टेज लास्ट चान्स हुँदै हुँदै पुगेका हुन् यदि त्यही बाटो फलो गरेर भए पनि फाइनलसम्म पुग्यो भने त टु बी अनेस्ट म एकदमै धेरै खुसी हुने थिएँ बट हामी सुरुवातभन्दा धेरै टाढा छैनौँ सानो गाउँहरू अगाडि अलिकति मुटुको ढुकढुकी बढिरहेको छ एक्साइटमेन्ट पनि बढिरहेको छ सुरुवातमै तपाईँबाट जान्न चाहिँ यस हामी एज अ कास्टर एज अ स्टोरी टेलर थोरै प्रोफेसनल हुन त खोज्दै नै छौँ बट एट द सेम टाइम हाम्रो टिम खेलिरहेको छ आफ्नै टिम एउटै मात्र टिम छ अब त एक्साइटेड नर्भस कति हुन्छ यो कुराको लागि
आई डोन्ट नो जति प्लेयरले फिल गरिरहेको छन् जे प्लेयरले फिल गरेको छन् आई थिङ्क त्यो सबै मैले पनि फिल गर्दैछु कि लाग्छ मलाई किन भन्दा मैले सर्किटको हिसाबले म डिआरएस एन्ड अल कुरा गरेर होइन म यो हिसाबले कुरा गरेर कि आई वाज सो वरिड मैले मल्टिपल ठाउँमा पनि कुरा गरेको थिएँ कन्सर्न ठाउँमा पनि कुरा गरेको थिएँ कि सर्किटलाई ह्याम्पर गर्छ कि अति नै ह्याम्पर गर्छ कि भन्ने मेरो चिन्ता रहेको थियो एज सुन एज जब थाहा हुन आयो कि अब हामी टिम कुनै पनि पिएमजीसी खेल्दै छैन एन्ड 4-5 महिनाको अलमोस्ट अफ सिजन हुनेछ हाम्रो लागि त्यतिखेर अडियन्स कहाँ जान्छ अडियन्सले कसरी स्पोर्ट्सलाई हेर्छ त्यो प्लेयर सर्किटमा कसरी आफैले आफूलाई इस्टाब्लिस गर्छ त्यो सबै कुरा लिएर सो द्याट्स वाइ म अति नर्भस छु पहिलो गेममा त एटलिस्ट म अति नै नर्भस छु यसमा म ढाकछोप गर्दिनँ या र इमोसन म यहाँ पोख्न चाहेँ बट र इमोसन होइन अब गेम प्ले पोख्ने बेला आयो यो चाहिँ हाम्रो पहिलो म्याच सानो यहाँबाट सुरु हुँदैछ
सानोक सुरु भएको छ हामी दिनको सुरुवात सानोकबाट गर्नेछौँ त्यस पछाडि हामीसँग मस्तसँगै ऱ्याङ्गल खेल्नको लागि टन्न म्यापहरू रहनेछन् अनि मिरामारले दिनको अन्त्य गर्नेछौँ तपाईँ पहिलो हप्ताबाट नै हेर्दै आउनुभएको छ सिड्युल थाहा छ अब त धेरै टाइम भयो त्यही सिड्युल फलो गर्न थालिएको बट केही हाम्रा टिमहरू हामीले माया गर्ने टिमहरू सबैभन्दा बढी माया गर्ने टिम डिआरएस सामीतर्फ ढल्किसकेको छ काम्पोङदेखि क्याम्पल पासम्मको फाइट पात्र रहेको थियो खासै प्रब्लम हुने छैन सानोकको म्यापमा कुनै पनि ठाउँबाट फाइटमा गए पनि टिमहरू म्यानेज गर्न सकिहाल्छन् बट इनिसियल क्लासको कतै पन्छ र त्यो हेर्नको लागि पनि बट प्याराडाइज टिमलाई सिधै देखे त्यहाँ फरेस्टले गन पनि उठाइसके टिम हामी कुरा गरिरहेका छौँ टिम खतरनाक हो है भनेर सुरुवातमा नै ब्याटलमा उत्रिनु परेको छ उनीहरू च्यालेन्ज त फेस गरेका छन् बट त्यो च्यालेन्ज हो अथवा उनीहरूले कमाउन सक्ने पोसिबल 4 पोइन्ट कसरी सोचेको छ त अगाडि पनि जीको टिम रहेको छ यो टिमको पनि भएको थियो अनि सर्ट गन भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो हन्सले सर्ट गन त मैले 3 जना प्लेयरसँग त अलरेडी देखिसकेँ
आज अति मजा आउनेछ सानोको गेमले पनि डी+ केले पहिलो इनिसियल क्लासेस आफ्नो लागि निकाल्ने कोसिसमा होला बिकज हामीले जबदेखि देखेको छौँ डी+ केले अलमोस्ट यही साइडबाट खेल्दैछ यहाँबाट रिजल्ट पनि निकाल्दैछ उनीहरूले अनि आज पनि त्यही एक्सपेक्ट गरिनेछ कि त्यो खालि रिजल्ट आओस् प्रपर रिजल्ट्स आओस् एन्ड अल भनेर उता कुरा गर्ने भने म देख्दैछु यहाँ बिएफ आइएचसीबाट पनि एक्सपेक्टेसन छ मनदीप सरी आज मनदीपलाई मनदीप कतै त छ होला अडियन्सले तिमीसँग खबर पनि पुरा होला इफ नट म आफै आई मिस यु लेखमला तिमीलाई बट एनीवे आजकल दोस्रो चोटि या तेस्रो चोटि तिमीलाई मनदीप भनिसक्यो क्या फर्स्ट विकमा हामी दुईजना थियौँ त्यही भएर पनि हुन सक्छ एनीवे गोइङ ब्याक टु द गेम पहिलो क्लास अलमोस्ट बिल्ड हुने अवस्थामा रहेको छ बिएनएस एकजना प्लेयर लुज गरेको तपाईँले देख्न सक्नुहुन्छ एज आइएससीले पहिलो एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स लगेको थियो सो द्याट्स वाइ एक आँखा हामी उता पनि लगाएका थियौँ बट यता डी+ केलाई जिस्काउन आयो अनि लागिरहेको छ कि जेनेसिस लुट लिएर बाटो तताउने हो
अहिलेसम्मको अप्रोच त त्यस्तै देखिएको छ सुरुवातमै फाइट इनिसिएट भएन हुन त मौका त रहेको थियो उता म देख्दैछु अर्को टिम पनि नजिकै रहेछ यता डी प्लस रिजल्ट दिने खालको ब्याकअप गरे जस्तो फिल भइसक्यो हुन त यता वेस्ट क्यारी M249 त चलायो उनले एक दुई शट त दिए भेक्टर रहेछ अर्को क्लोज रेन्जका लागि ठिकै गन्थ्यो उजीमा स्विच गरे अब अगाडि बढ्ने बारेमा सोचिरहेका छन् सायद दुवै टिम भन्दा पनि स्पेशली जेनेक्सिसले फिल गरिरहेको छ कि स्टार्टमा नै फाइट लिएर खासै फाइदा छैन भनेर या तपाईले पहिलो म्याच मोमेन्टमको कुरा पनि धेरै आउँछ म अघिल्लो विकमा पनि यही कुरा गरिरहेको थिएँ नङसिम रेड फोर्स एनएसआरको टिम पहिलो म्याच नै जितेको थियो मोमेन्टम पायो कसरी कन्टिन्यू गर्छ भनेको ग्रुप विनर नै भएर निक्लियो या माइट बी त्यो कम्बिनेसनको कुरा कि ठिक छ पहिलो म्याच जितेको थियो ग्रुप विनर भयो पहिलो म्याच जितेमा विनर होइन बट त्यो मोमेन्टम स्पेशली 4 दिनको इभेन्ट रहेको छ सुरुवात राम्रो गर्नुभयो भने त्यसैमा +1 अर्को एउटा गेम गर्दै अगाडि बढाउन सकिन्छ बट लेटर फेजमा तपाईलाई कमब्याक गर्न अति नै टफ हुनेछ अनि प्लस यो त ग्रुप नै यति टफ रहेको छ कि यहाँ त सुरुवातबाट नै यदि तपाईले लय पक्राउनु भएन भने लेटर फेजमा यति एक्सपिरियन्स अनि यति स्किलफुल टिमहरु रहेका छन् या यो लेभलमा कुनै पनि टिमहरु स्किलमा तलमाथि धेरै नहोला मात्र कुरा आउन सक्छ केही टिमको बीचमा बट एक्सपिरियन्सले नै यो टिमहरुले त तपाईलाई माथि उठ्न दिने छैन सुरुवात राम्रो भएन भने
ग्रुप अफ डेथको एक्चुअल गेम चाहिँ तपाईहरुले देख्नुहुन्छ हात दिनु पर्दैन साथीहरु देख्नुहुन्छ तपाईहरुले आइ एम प्रिटी श्योर कि किन हामीले भनिरहेको छ किन यति हाइप भइरहेको छ भनेर नट जस्ट बिकज हामी मात्रै कुरा गरिरहेको छ यो बारेमा पुरै दुनिया कुरा गरिरहेको छ यो ग्रुपको बारेमा तपाईले टप 3 निकाल्नुस् भन्ने भने तपाईको दिमागमा कुन टिमहरु मिनिमम सबैभन्दा पहिला आउँछ एम्पायर आउँछ तपाईको दिमागमा 4MB बिकज अफ द रिसेन्ट परफर्मेन्स आउँछ डुक्क INF लास्टमा अघिल्लो चोटी पनि के गरेर देखाएको थियो WBG आइहाल्छ D+ किया आउँछ एन्ड देन नेपाली भएपछि नेपाली पनि DRS पनि आइहाल्छ आई मिन धेरै पोजिटिभ हुँदाखेरि सो यति टिमहरु त तपाईलाई आउँछ अब बाँकी अननोन थ्रेड्सहरुको बारेमा पनि मैले कुरा गरिरहेको छु सरप्राइज पनि गर्न सक्छ एन्ड आजको न्यारेटिभ यो पनि रहेको छ कि केही त्यही टाउके टिमहरु टाउके बनेर निस्किने हो नि यहाँबाट या कुनै अनएक्सपेक्टेड टिम आउने हो हिरो भनेर निस्किने हो यो बारेमा कुरा रहेको छ नि त जस्ट लाइक A7 स्टालवर्ड एक्सपेक्टेड थियो फर्स्ट ग्रुपबाट यस थियो आयो गयो लुप्सको बारेमा मेबी यस मेबी नो धेरैले स्पेशली हाम्रो रिजनमा आइपुग्दाखेरि लुप्सको बारेमा कम गर्ने अलिकता कम हुनुहुन्थ्यो बिकज हामी च्याट एकदमै हेरिरहेको हुन्छौँ आफ्नो सोशल मिडिया एन्ड अलमा सो वी नो द आइडिया कि हाम्रो अडियन्सले कसलाई फेभर गरिरहेछ या कसको बारेमा बढी कुरा गरिरहेछ लुप्सको बारेमा खासै कुरा थिएन #1 लिएर गयो जब ग्रुप सेकेन्डमा गयो एनएसआरको बारेमा पनि त्यति कुरा गरिएको होइन इभन सबसे लेटेस्ट टुर्नामेन्ट जुन उनीहरूले खेलेको थियो त्यसमा पनि उनीहरूको र्याङ्क राम्रो थिएन जब ओल्ड मेटा ओल्ड पोइन्ट सिस्टममा खेल्दै सर्भाइभल पोइन्ट्स निकाल्ने माहौल हुँदा पनि त्यहाँ थिएन भनेपछि धेरैले त्यो टिमको बारेमा खासै कुरा गरेको थिएन 68 टन्नेले कुरा गरेको रिजल्ट निकाल्यो पनि मरको बारेमा आम नट स्योर कतिले कुरा गरेनन् बट आइम प्रिटी स्योर कि एनएसआरको बारेमा त्यति खासै कुरा भएको होइन बट दुईटा टिम मर्फ र एनएसआर हामीलाई सायद सरप्राइज गरे कि तपाईँले त्यस्तो भन्न पनि सक्नुहुन्छ भने त्यस्तो थियो अगाडिपट्टिको कहानी अब यहाँ आइपुग्दा 7-8 टिमको त हामीले नाम लियौँ बट बाँकी जुन अननोन थ्रेड्स छन् जसको बारेमा डिटेल हामीले पनि हेरिन या कुरा गरिएन या अडियन्सले पनि खासै चासो देखाएन उनीहरूले सरप्राइज गरे भने एन्ड देन यो ग्रुप अफ डेथ एक्चुअली पुरै बर्निङ फायर सिचुएसनमा कन्भर्ट हुनेछ
या पक्का पनि अनि त्यही भन्दा हामी डिआरएसलाई टप 3 गाह्रो भए पनि सर्भाइभल स्टेज पुगोस् भन्दैछौँ ट्यागको टप 3 पुगेर त्यसले सरप्राइज गर्छ भन्दा झन् मजा आउने थियो यता WBCको टिम रोटेट गरिरहेको थियो केही टाइम अगाडि डिआरएसको पनि मुभमेन्ट हामी देख्दै थियौँ ब्रिज क्रस गरेर अगाडि बढिरहेका थिए ग्याप र सुकलाई देखिएको छ सँगसँगै वाइमाओ अनि मिङ रहनेछन् 4 जना अति नै डेडली प्लेयर यो टिमको 4v4 फाइटरहरु याद गर्नु होला ट्याक्टिकल प्लेयरहरु याद गर्नु होला अघिल्लो म्याच फलो गर्नु भएको थियो बट यहाँ रुल्स
डीआरएस गैक बन्दा लुज गर्दै डीआरएस में
सेम 9 बाट केनीले फिनिश गर्दिए सेम 9 ले खाता खुल्यो डीआरएस का लागि सुरुवात राम्रो भएन रुल्स दोस्रो प्लेयर बनेका छन् यो लबीलाई छाडेर निक्लिने बीएनएस ले एकजना प्लेयर लुज गरेको थियो यता डीआरएस ले पनि आफ्नो आइजीएल लुज गर्नु परेको छ यहाँ
स्टार्टिङ फेजमा प्लेयर लुज भयो यो कुराबाट अलिकता बचेर खेल्नु थियो किनभने हाम्रो स्ट्रेन्थ के हो त हाम्रो स्ट्रेन्थ हो नम्बर गेम बचाएर लेटर फेजसम्म खेल्न सक्नु बट यहाँ त्यो हुने अलमोस्ट देखिएन एटलिस्ट एउटा प्लेयर त लुज भइसक्यो अब रुल्स बिना अब हामीले कसरी आफूलाई सम्हाल्छौँ हाम्रो गेम प्लेलाई हामीले कसरी सम्हाल्छ भन्ने पनि कुरा रह्यो म्याचुरिटी पनि रहेको छ हतालिनु पनि भएन अनि यो पनि सोच्नु पर्यो कि प्रेसर छ पर्फर्मेन्स एक्सपेक्ट गरिएको पनि छ टन्नै बट जरुरी छैन कि एक म्याच खराब हुँदैमा तपाईँ टोटल्ली डिप्रेसनमा जानुपर्छ भनेर किन भन्दा मलाई लाग्छ प्लेयरहरूले धेरै सोचेका छन् क्या अनि हाम्रो सर्किटमा अडियन्सको धेरै इन्फ्लुएन्स हुन्छ प्लेयर हामीले धेरैचोटि देखेको छौँ कि अडियन्सले भनेको कुरालाई अलिकता मनमा चुप्छ मनमा लिइन्छ धेरै त्यो कमेन्ट सेक्सनमा टाइम बिताइन्छ एन्ड अल भएर अलिकता कम सोचौँ होइन या तपाईँले स्टेजमा प्रुभ गर्न छ त्यो आफूलाई बारम्बार सम्झाइराखौँ त्यो बाहेक अरू बारेमा नसोचौँ। अब पहिलो म्याचमा झट्का लागिहाल्यो, अब यो म्याच सान हो एउटा मात्रै खेल्ने हो भनेपछि यो बारेमा कसरी इम्प्रुभ गर्न सकिन्छ अलको बारेमा पनि धेरै टाउको दुखाउनु पर्छ मलाई लाग्दैन। 4 दिनमा 4 गेम खेल्ने हो तपाईँ सानोकमा, इराङ्गल अनि त्यसपछि मिरामार, त्यसलाई चाहिँ तपाईँले जसरी भए पनि फिगर आउट गर्नुपर्छ। रोटेसनको कुरा पनि हुन्छ, कति खेल्नु भयो यो टिमहरूसँग कति खेल्नु भएन त्यो सब कुराले पनि इफेक्ट गर्छ नि त। अनि यो लबीमा अब अनएक्सपेक्टेड तरिकाले प्लेयर लुज हुनु अलिकति कमन पनि हुन जान्छ, स्पेसली पहिलो दिनमा तपाईँसँग रिडिङ मेटेरियल त्यति थिएन एन्ड देन तपाईँले पनि एडप्ट गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईँले पनि एडजस्ट गर्दै हुनुहुन्छ, तपाईँ जस्तो एडजस्ट गर्ने अरू पनि छ भनेपछि कोही न कोहीको लागि त सरप्राइज एलिमेन्ट त्यहाँ बिल्ड हुने हुन्छ। यता देख्न सकिन्छ हामीले भ्याम्पायर, आई मिन यो टिमको बारेमा त पुरा दिनभरि होइन पुरै 4 दिन नै कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ टोटली यो टिमको बारेमा मात्रै। अनि धेरैको प्रेडिक्सन होला यो ग्रुपको एमभीपी भनेको टोनी के हो भनेर, बट उता सुक जसले कम्पिटिसन टोनी केलाई दिन सक्थे उनी फिनिस भए, डब्लुबिजीलाई नै अर्ली झट्का लाग्यो। म भन्दै थिएँ अर्ली फेजमा झड्का इनिसियल म्याचेसहरूमा लाग्न सक्छ, टिमहरू अलिकता बढी कुदेर खेल्ने, अलिकता बढी आइडिया छैन नि त अरू कसरी खेल्छ भनेर, सो द्याट्स अलिकता ऱ्यान्डम स्काउट क्या, तपाईँलाई पनि थाहा छैन अगाडि कोही हुनसक्छ या हुन सक्दैन भनेर, एन्ड त्यो एट अ मोमेन्टमा तपाईँले क्याजुअलिटी फेस गर्नै पर्ने हुनसक्छ मल्टिपल। त्यो पनि
या उता जीको टिम पनि फाइटमा आइरहेको छ, जेनेसिसको टिम रहेको थियो, एक नक त निकालेको थियो उनीहरूले पनि, सेमनाइलले रुल्सलाई फिनिस गरिदिएको थियो। यता एमपीको नजिकै टिम रहेको रहेछ, डिप्लस किया पनि फाइटमा आउँदै थियो, वेस्ट क्यारीको नेट गएको छ, टिमको यसोका प्लेयर जसलाई नक निकालिएको थियो क्विकली फिनिस गरियो। धेरै टिमले एक एक गर्दै प्लेयर लुज गरिरहेका छन्, हामी 16 टिममै छौँ, 59 प्लेयरमा कन्भर्ट भएका छौँ। जेनेसिसको टिम प्याराडाइज रिजोर्टको इन्ट्री देखाएको थियो, नजिकै डिप्लस किया पनि छ, टिमको यसोका एकजना प्लेयरलाई फिनिस गरिदिए उनीहरूले, मेबी त्यो फाइट एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ सुनेर डिप्लस किया पनि त्यहाँ इन्ट्रेस्टेड रहन सक्छ। यता रुखको नजिकै बिटिआरको टिम आएको छ, बिटिआरलाई पनि आफ्नो एउटा लडाइँ लड्नु छ, यो टिमलाई पनि के आँकिएको थियो सुरुवात जब प्रो सिनारियोको भएको थियो, यो टिमलाई त अलमोस्ट यो अनबिटेबल टिम हो भनेर भन्ने गरिन्थ्यो, बट लेटर फेजमा उनीहरूको पनि रस्ट चेन्ज प्लेयर सफल एन्ड एभ्रिथिङ त्यो चलिरहँदा पर्फर्मेन्स आएको छैन। यो नयाँ लाइनअपको साथमा केही एक्सपेक्टेसन राख्न सकिन्छ, सिरिजनमा थोरै बहुत केही आश देखाएर यहाँसम्म आइपुगेको छ भने उता आइएचसीले नक निकालेको छ एमपीको एगेन्स्टमा, उता एमपीको स्ल्यामिङ पनि आयो, डेमोलाई नक थियो बेकल रन ओभरको साथमा, उता जियोललाई पनि डिभिएसले नक निकालियो, डेमो जियोल दुईजना नै फिनिस भइसकेका छन्। आइएचसीको लागि पनि अर्ली झड्का झन् ठुलो झड्का लाग्यो, आइएचसीलाई त त्यहाँ प्रब्लम बनिरहेको छ टिमहरूका लागि। अनि एक्ज्याक्टली तपाईँले अघि जे भन्दै हुनुहुन्थ्यो फिल्स लाइक त्यही कन्टिन्यू भइरहेको छ कि कुन टिमले कसरी खेलिरहेको छ त, यो टिमसँग तपाईँले कति खेल्नु भएको छ, कुन सिचुएसनमा कहाँबाट रोटेट गर्न रुचाउँछ टिमहरू, त्यसले प्रब्लम दिन्छ होला। बट एउटा टिम जसलाई केहीले पनि प्रब्लम दिँदैन भनेर हामी भन्थ्यौँ 4MB, उनीहरूले नक निकाल्यो, अनि नक पनि कसलाई निकाल्यो, भ्याम्पायरका टोनी केलाई डाउन गरेको छ।
ओहो बिग 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 ब्लो हुनेछ यदि त्यो फिनिस गरियो भने। उता केनीलाई पनिस गरेको छन् एमपीका प्लेयरहरूले, त्यो जुन अनएक्सपेक्टेड या अलिकता कम काउन्ट गरेको थ्रेटहरू छ नि त्यो बारेमा सोचौँ है, त्यो एस्पेक्टमा पनि हामी कुरा गरिराख्नुपर्ने हुन्छ। हामी बिचबिचमा झकझकाउने छ तपाईँले, यो टिमको बारेमा हामीले खासै कुरा गरेका थिएनौँ, बट यो टिमले पर्फर्मेन्स निकाल्न सक्छ है, किन भन्दा अन्डरडग सर्ट अप पिएमजीसी खेल्ने टिम कसरी अन्डरडग भन्नु होला, बट हाम्रो पिएमजीसीको न्यारेटिभ पनि त्यस्तै रहेको छ कि जसको बारेमा धेरै कुरा गरिन्छ त्यो हिरो भइहाल्यो, जसको बारेमा अलिकता कम कुरा गरिन्छ या जसको बारेमा धेरै प्रिपरेसन गरिएन होला, यो टिमलाई कसरी ट्याकल गर्ने त्यो टिमलाई कसरी ट्याकल गर्ने भनेर टिमले प्लान बनाउँछ नि त, त्यो बारेमा तिनीहरूलाई अलिकता कम प्रायोरिटी थियो होला, बट त्यही टिमले सातो काट्न सक्छ। त्यसमाथि सर्ट इन्टरभल गेम हो, 24 म्याचेस हो नि त, सर्ट इन्टरभल हामी यसलाई जहिले पनि डिफाइन गर्छौँ, पिएमपिएललाई हामी लङ इन्टरभल जहाँ तपाईँले गल्ती गरे पनि सुधार्ने टाइम हुन्छ, तपाईँले लङ टर्म प्लानको बारेमा त्यहाँ चाहिँ प्लानिङ गरेर त्यहाँ चाहिँ एक्जिक्युट गर्नको लागि खराब रिजल्ट आउँदा पनि आफूलाई इम्पोर्ट गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ एन्ड लगायतको कुरा गरिन्छ। सर्कल नयाँ सर्कल आइएनएफको लागि कुनै पनि इस्यु छैन, आइएससीले एक साइड समातेको छ, डब्लुबिजीको लागि खासै गाह्रो परेन, प्लेयर लुज गरेको थियो, एउटा डिफिकल्ट पार्ट त्यहाँ बन्न सक्छ। 4MB फाइट नलिकन अगाडि जाने भएन, मजा आउने भयो 4MB को यो पालिको सर्कल इन्ट्री हेर्नको लागि, किन भन्दा गएर लड्यो भने मोस्ट लाइकली उनीहरू भ्याम्पायरसँग लड्न सक्छ, राइटमा जान्छ बिटिआरसँग लड्छ, माथि जान्छ डिप्लस कियासँग लड्छ, दुईटा जायन्ट्सहरू भिड्ने तय नै छ मन्दीप, सरी बिप अरे मन्दीप आई मिस यु अगेन।
खैर केही छैन अहिलेको लागि, भ्याम्पायरका स्टोनलाई डाउन गरेको थियो 4MB को टिमले, अगाडि इन्ट्री बनाउनु पर्ने छ उनीहरूका लागि पनि, स्टोनले अझै पनि रिभाइभल पाएका छैनन्, एचपी पनि कम हुँदै हुँदै ब्लिड आउट हुँदै गएको देखिरहेको छु म। उता आइएचसी दुईजना प्लेयर त लुज गरेको थियो, बट गडलेस यो प्लेयरको पर्फर्मेन्स याद गरौँ, जसरी ग्लोबल च्याम्पियनसिप क्वालिफाई हुने बेलासम्ममा उनीहरूले पर्फर्मेन्स निकालेका थिए, गडलेसको ठुलो हात थियो, 2 एलिमिनेसन आएको छ टिमका लागि, 4MB ले पनि खाता खोल्यो, स्टोनको एलिमिनेसन आएको छ उनीहरूका लागि पनि, खाता त साउथ एसियन टिमले खोलेका छन्, बट ओभरअल रिजल्ट अन्तिममा त्यो म्याटर गर्ने छ। यता आइएचसीका डुओ प्लेयर सेम 9सँग लड्ने भए, केनी जसले रुल्सलाई फिनिस गरेका थिए उनी रेड कन्ट्रोलमा खोज्दैछन्, उता अर्का प्लेयर पनि रहेका छन् 90 टेप, उनी पनि नेट तन्काउन खोज्दै थिए बट आइएचसीका प्लेयर अलिकति पछाडि रहेका छन् राइट साइडपट्टिबाट अर्को टिमको पनि म मुभमेन्ट देख्दैछु इभन फोर्थ टिम पनि नजिकै नजिकै फेसिलिटीमा रहेको छ जोनको एउटा पोर्सन त रहेको छ बट यो एरिया क्लियर गर्नु इम्पोर्टेन्ट रहेको छ र आइएचसी फरक सोचिरहेको छ उनीहरू थोरै अगाडि बढ्ने बारेमा सोचे पछाडि नै रहेर एटलिस्ट क्लोज बाई नगइकन फाइट निकालौँ मेबी गल्ती गर्न दिउँ सेम नायनलाई पनि भन्ने सोचिरहेको होला सेम नायनले पनि 2 जना प्लेयर गुमाएको थियो सिरिजनको टिम मलेसियन टिम भनेर हामी धेरै कुरा गरिरहेका थियौँ एक एलिमिनेसन आएको छ सेम नायनका लागि 16 टिम अझै पनि छन् बट प्लेयर काउन्ट इन्डिभिजुअल हरेक टिमले अलमोस्ट प्लेयर गुमाएका छन् डिप्लस क्या फाइटमा इन्भल्भमेन्ट खासै लिनु परेको छैन उनीहरूसँग नम्बर छ अरू केही टिम रहेका छन् इभन इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम रहेको छ जसले एलिमिनेसन निकाल्दै थियो नम्बर गुमाएको छैन यता बिटिआरले पनि स्टारलेसलाई त गुमाएको छ स्टारलेस भन्ने सतारलेस भन्ने आई बिलिभ सतारलेस भन्ने गरिन्छ उनलाई गुमाएको छ या सतारलेस त्यही नाम राखेका रहेछन् सतार भनौँ अहिलेको लागि उनलाई गुमाउनु परेको छ टप गन हुन् उनी पनि बिटिआरका उनीमाथि धेरै आशा रहनेछ बट यो म्याचमा उनी पनि चल्न सकेनन्
हिरोहरूलाई टार्गेट गरिँदैछ कि मेन फ्र्यागरहरूलाई समातेर सबैभन्दा पहिला बाहिर निकाल्यो किनभने भ्याम्पायरबाट टोनी के उता डब्लुबिजीबाट सोक हाम्रो आइजिएल रुल्स यसरी कुरा गर्न सकिन्छ त्यसपछि बिटिआरबाट सतार यो प्लेयरको पर्फर्मेन्स इन्डिभिजुअल पर्फर्मेन्स हेर्न मजा आउँछ किन भन्दा कमिटेड खाले प्लेयर मलाई फिल हुन्छ एक्लै हानिदिन्छु टाइपको क्या हुन्छ नि जोसवाला नो फियर भन्न सक्नुहुन्छ तपाईँले इन्डो सर्किटको हानिदिन्छु म त ढुक्का हानिदिन्छु टाइपको यो बिचमा ग्यान्टेले नक निकालेको छन् के पहिलो एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स आउँदै हो जोनको एज हामीसँग अलमोस्ट नै रहेको थियो या खुसी हौ पहिलो पोइन्ट्स हामीले निकालेको छौँ रेन्जको ब्याटल रहेछ ग्यान्टेले रेन्जको प्लेयर त हामीसँग कमी छैन क्या हामी बारम्बार औलाउँछौँ म बारम्बार औलाइरहेको हुन्छ हाम्रो कुनै पनि नेपाली टिमलाई रेन्जको फाइटमा प्रब्लम छैन क्लोज रेन्जमा गएपछि अनि अफ एङ्गलबाट पिक हुने प्रब्लम यो अलिकता हो अफ एङ्गलको लागि गेम अवेरनेस चाहियो क्लोज रेन्जको लागि धेरै ग्राइन्ड चाहियो अब सर्कलले अगाडिपट्टि धकेल्ने भयो आइएनएफसँग लास्ट टाइम डेल्टा नाचेका हुन् बट यो पालि गोली हानेर उनीहरूलाई नचाउनु पर्ने अवस्था देख्दैछु म यहाँ सर्कलको लागि नलडी सुख नहुने हो सर्ट अफ फिल हुँदैछ मलाई या एउटा कम्पाउन्ड छोड्यो आइएनएफको प्लेयरहरूले एक साइडको फाइटमा कमिट हुन गएको छ इन्फ्याक्टमा उनीहरू त्यो गर्दाखेरि एक साइडको एरिया हाम्रो लागि खुल्दै त छ बट हामीलाई पो थाहा छ त्यो
हामीले त हेरेर थाहा पाइरहेका छौँ प्लेयरलाई आइडिया छ छैन त्यो अगाडिपट्टि त बढ्नु नै छ कतापट्टिबाट खेल्ने अप्रोच लिन्छ त किलर वाइटी एक साइडमा गाडी लिएर मुभ गर्न खोजे जस्तो देख्दैछु उता इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम पनि फाइटमा आएको थियो फोरेमीले नक निकाल्दैछ आई बिलिभ डिप्लस कियाको एगेन्स्टमा नक निकालिरहेको थियो फोरेमीले त्यहाँ इन्फ्लुएन्सका अर्को प्लेयर पनि डाउन भएका छन् इनफ्याक्ट 3 जना प्लेयर डाउन भइसके अब त अन्तिम प्लेयरमा टर्न भएको छ इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम पनि एमपीसँगको ब्याटल रहेको थियो हामी यस्तै टिमको बारेमा तपाईँहरूलाई जगजगाइरहेका थियौँ यिनीहरूको पर्फर्मेन्सले अझ धेरै इन्ट्रेस्टिङ बनाउन सक्छ माहौल भनेर 3 जना प्लेयर इन्फ्लुएन्सको नक गरिदिएको छ हुन त अगाडि पनि प्लेयर नक थियो त्यहाँ पनि रिभाइभलको खाँचो रहेको छ फोरेमीले डिप्लस कियाको इन्समा नक निकालेको बट आई बिलिभ अझै पनि यो फिनिस गर्न भ्याएन भने आइएचसीले यसो आँखा गुमाउँदाखेरि एलिमिनेसन चोर्न भ्याउँदो रहेछ उता डिप्लस किया टिम कोइसोलाई पक्र्न खोज्दैछ आइएचसी त 2 जना भए पनि रोकिने नाम दिइरहेको छैन अर्को एक नक निकाल्यो यता प्लेयर डाउन भएका थिए त्यही बिचमा जम्प गरेर त्यहाँ शटगन बजाइदिएका थिए बट उनलाई पनि युएमपीले पक्रियो फेबियनको रेज डाउन भएका छन् अब अन्तिम प्लेयरमा कन्भर्ट भएको छ टिक्यूको टिम पनि त्यही बिचमा नेड जान्छ राम्रो नेड फेबियन गोज डाउन पछाडिबाट शट आउँदै थियो 4MB को इन्ट्री हुन्छ त्यहाँ अर्को एक एलिमिनेसन मेबी डिप्लस कियालाई पनि पाखा लगाउन सक्छ त्यहाँ 4MB को टिमले बिकज प्लेयर धेरै बाँकी छैनन् यता आइएचसी को टिम आएको थियो यहाँ त अलग्गै चलिरहेको छ एमपी को माहौल 5 एलिमिनेसन आएको छ त्यही बिचमा आइएचसी को टिम एलिमिनेट भएर निस्क्यो
आइएचसी निस्क्यो 4MB ले पोइन्ट्स निकालिरहेको छ माहौल इन्ट्रेस्टिङ भयो किनभने बीचको एरियामा कति कन्टेस्ट गरियो आइएनएफ पुरै स्क्वाड लिएर बसेको थियो एकजनामा कन्भर्ट भयो उता एमपी को टिमको लागि एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स आयो आइएचसी को टिमले पनि थोरै झट्का त्यहाँ हामीले सर्ट अफ फेस गरेको देख्यौँ इनफ्याक्टमा टिम नै एलिमिनेट भयो यहाँ हेरौँ न कतिवटा क्रेड छ कतिवटा गाडी छ त्यो पनि सानोको सिचुएसनमा भनेपछि ओहो भन्नै पर्ने हुन्छ यता 4MB लाई अब अलिकता गाह्रो पर्ने हो किन भन्दा स्पेस छैन त्यस्तो कभरवाला कि बचेर मजाले सबैको आँखाबाट उजेल पर्दै निस्किन मिल्छ भनेर गाडी छैन त्यो पनि मैले देख्दैछु जोनको एज त सम्म अहिलेको लागि बनेको छ बट यसपछि बाहिर पनि निस्किने पर्छ यसबाट फेरि पारी पनि जाने पर्छ थोरै डिफिकल्टी बन्न सक्छ अबको नेक्स्ट सर्कलले सपोर्ट गरेन भने गर्यो भने त फेरि 4MB त्यहाँबाट हिरो भनेर इभन चिकन डिनरतर्फ कन्भर्ट हुन पनि सक्छ इनफ्याक्टमा 20 के बाँकी रहेछन् भर्खर नोट गरेँ मैले उनलाई नक निकालिएको थियो एकजना प्लेयर फिनिस भएका थिए मैले सोचेँ हुने नै होला भनेर यता ब्याटल बन्नेछ यता बिटिआर को टिमबाट शट्स लिएको थियो मिस गरियो अपर्च्युनिटी 3v3 को ब्याटलमा कन्भर्ट हुँदैछ टिआरएस को लागि डु अर डाई ब्याटल हुन सक्छ बिकज यो ब्याटल जित्यो भने जोनको एजसम्म कम्फर्टेबल तरिकाले खेल्न सकिन्छ
या त्यसमा मोलोटोभ आएको थियो, त्यहाँ रुखमा प्लेयर रहेका छन् भन्ने पत्तो पाइयो। मोलोटोभ फालिएको थियो, पछाडि बढ्नु पर्यो, किलर रहेका थिए अगाडिपट्टि। सुरुवातमा सर्ट पनि मिस गरे त्यहाँ लापारले, अब त स्पट गरेका छन्। 6x रहेको छ, हेड नै कनेक्ट हुन पुग्यो। किलर भाग्दै थिए, आफ्नो टिमतर्फ रिग्रुप हुन खोज्दै थिए। माथिबाट डेल्टा सपोर्ट गर्न सक्ने एंगलमा रहेछन् अहिलेको लागि। अब बीटीआरले राइट ह्यान्ड साइडमा एग्रेस गर्ने बारेमा पक्का पनि सोच्नेछ। यो एउटा एज त क्लियर गर्न रहेछ बीटीआरलाई पनि। डेल्टा नजिकै शटगन छ कि छैन त्यो पनि इम्पोर्टेन्ट रहनेछ, बिकज शटगन अगाडि 2-3वटा आएको मैले देखि नै रहेको छु। डेल्टा नेट तन्काउँदैछन्, राइट ह्यान्ड साइडमा नेट फाल्छन्, त्यही बिचमा पड्काएका छन् सुपरलाई। डेल्टाले लापाराउँदैछन्, अब शटगन लिएर डिभिएस चप्किनेछ त्यहाँ। डिभिएसको ब्याटलमा डेल्टा अब कडा उत्रिनु पर्नेछ। एस12 के त डेल्टासँग पनि रहेछ। वी बिलिभ एस12 केले त्यो क्लच पुल अप गर्न सक्छन् डेल्टाले भनेर अगाडिपट्टि गए, सर्ट दिए, बट र्यान्डम सर्ट थियो। स्मोकले भिजन क्लियर बनिरहेको छैन, प्लेयर त्यही रिलोड गरिरहेका छन्। मोलोटोभ लगाउँछन् राइट ह्यान्ड साइडमा, एक साइडबाट डिस्प्लेस गर्न खोजे, त्यो प्लेयर उफ्रिँदै नजिकै आएका थिए। शटगन कनेक्ट भयो एक, आई बिलिभ त्यहाँ बडी शट कनेक्ट भयो। नो, त्यही बिचमा अगाडिपट्टिबाट डिभिएस बच्छ, प्लेयरलाई डाउन गरिन्छ। बट यता ग्यान्टे उनी रिभाइभलमा फोकस गरिरहेका थिए। डेल्टा त्यही कारण थोरै टाइम बाई गर्न खोज्दै थिए, बट उनी लुज हुनु पर्यो। तर नक निकालेको जुन थियो बीटीआरको प्लेयरलाई, त्यो प्लेयर फिनिस हुँदा अर्को एक एलिमिनेसन पायो। किलर वाइटी उठे भने 2जना प्लेयरमा कन्भर्ट हुने थियो डीआरएस। केही फाइट ब्याक देखाउन पक्का पनि सक्थ्यो होला अनि।
एउटा प्लानिङ चाहिँ त्यहाँ देखियो। डेल्टाको साइडबाट मरिहत्थ्यो एफर्ट रहेको थियो, उनको साइडबाट उनले आफ्नो लेभल बेस्ट ट्राई गरे। मोलोटोभ लगाए, नेडमा एकजना प्लेयरलाई डाउन पनि गरे। स्मोक थिएन, त्यहाँ स्मोक लगाइएको थियो, त्यसले गर्दा प्रपर भिजन थिएन। एन्ड देन कनेक्ट गर्न थोरै गाह्रो पर्यो। 2टा नेट थियो, त्यसलाई युटिलाइज गर्न पनि पाइएन। अभियसली सर्टगन छ भनेपछि नेटको त्यो पिन सुन्दा बित्तिकै आएर ड्याममा सर्टगन बजाइहाल्ने पनि थियो, त्यो बारेमा पनि केयरफुल हुनै पर्ने थियो। उता बीटीआरको प्लेयरलाई डाउन गरेको भर्खर देख्दैछु म त्यहाँ। बट डीआरएस को टिमलाई पनि टेक डाउन गरिएको छ। यहाँबाट डीआरएस को यो म्याचबाट यात्रा सकिएको छ। केही पोइन्ट्सहरू यो म्याचमा आयो अल थ्रु द एलिमिनेसन। बीटीआरलाई क्लियर गर्न पाइएको भए देन इभन सर्कल थोरै डिफिकल्ट बन्थेन, मजा आउने म्याच बन्न सक्दो रहेछ, टन्न पोइन्ट्स आउने म्याच बन्न सक्दो रहेछ। बट अनफर्चुनेटली यो म्याचमा त्यो हिसाबले एक्जिक्युट भएन, कसैको पनि एक्ज्याक्टली एक्जिक्युट भएन। किनभने आइएचसी निस्क्यो, फोरेमी निस्क्यो, डीआरएस निस्क्यो, होल साउथ एसिया निस्क्यो लबीबाट। यासिएको वर्चस्व चलिरहेको देख्दैछु म, बिकज 3टा टिम यासिएको मैले नोट गरेँ। बीटीआर छ त्यहाँ, त्यसपछि मैले देख्दैछु जीईलाई देख्दैछु त्यहाँ, अनि सेम 9 पनि देख्दैछु त्यहाँ।
या सेम 9 पनि त्यहाँ रहेको छ। 3टा टिम रहेका छन्। उता बीएनएस पनि रहेको छ, 3 एलिमिनेसन निकालेको थियो। जापानिज टिमको रूपमा एउटा स्ट्रङ कन्टेन्डरसिप देखाउन खोज्दैछ उनीहरू पनि। जीका लागि 3 एलिमिनेसन आएको छ, नम्बर जोगाएर राखेको छ, बट जोन छैन, अगाडि बढ्नु छ। उनीहरूलाई पनि चेक गर्ने प्रयास रेन्जमा हुँदै थियो। आई बिलिभ त्यो WB को एगेन्स्टमा रहेको थियो, विभोको एगेन्स्टमा सर्ट दिने प्रयास त चलिरहेको थियो, बट स्मोकले केही गरेर ग्यापलाई बचाएको छ। पछाडिपट्टि वाइमाओ पनि रहेका छन्, थ्रोबल फाल्ने प्रयास पनि गर्दै थियो, बट उनीहरूको स्टेजमा चेक गर्न खोज्दै थियो। थ्रु आउट द स्मोक र्यान्डम सर्ट गएको थियो, हेड पनि कनेक्ट भयो त्यहाँ। एक बुलेट अरू कनेक्ट भएको भए मनाट बोयले डाउन निकाल्न सक्थे, नक निकाल्न सक्थे त्यो प्लेयरलाई, बट बाल बचेका छन् त्यहाँ। ग्याप फेरि पनि हिलअप गरेर अगाडिपट्टि बढ्ने मौका उनले पाउने छन्। जी राम्रो खेलिरहेको छ, एटलिस्ट अहिलेका लागि नम्बर जोगाएर राखेको। 4 म्यानको साथमा स्ट्यान्डिङ एउटै मात्र टिम रहेको छ। यता बीएनएसले 3जना प्लेयर पनि बचाएर राखेको छ। अब फाइट भन्ने छ, यो 3v4 को ब्याटल रहनेछ। डिभाइनको नेड गएको थियो, बट खासै रिजल्ट त्यसले दिएन। यता मास्टर थोरै डिफरेन्ट एंगल बनाउन खोज्दैछन्। 2जना प्लेयर ओपनमा एक्सपोज गरे उनले, तर सर्ट दिने क्लियर एंगल छैन। पर्ने चौकनमा बट उनी पनि एक्सपोज हुनेछन्। त्यो गर्दाखेरि नडराइकिन नहिचकिचाइकिन सर्ट दिन खोज्दै थिए, बट ट्रबल उनीहरूलाई पनि भने। त्यही बिचमा वेस्ट क्यारीले डिभाइनलाई नक निकालिदिएका छन्। अब 4v2 मा यो ब्याटल कन्भर्ट भएको छ, एउटा एजको ब्याटल रहेको छ। क्लियर भयो भने सजिलो बन्ने थियो। सर्टको प्लेयर पनि नक निकालिन्छ, रेन्जबाट सर्ट आउँछ, त्यो हट भित्र सुतेका प्लेयरले हन्ट गरिदिन्छन् त्यहाँ। सेम 9 ले पनि एलिमिनेसन निकाल्ने मौका खोजिरहेको थियो। त्यही बिचमा 7औं स्टेजको जोन आउँदा के जोनले बीटीआरलाई हेल्प गर्छ त? ओ यो युगो बीटीआरलाई हेल्प गरेको छ। मेबी उता जी र WBG लडे भने कतै न कतै बीटीआर सोध्छ होला हामीसँग मौका छ अझै पनि भनेर।
हामी त डीआरएस को त्यो सिचुएसनबाट पनि अलिकति सोचेर सकिन्छ। हामीले त्यो ब्याटल जितेको भए, बिकज लास्ट वर स्ट्यान्डिङमा कहानी कन्भर्ट भइसकेको थियो। सो पहिलो फाइट somewhat like 50% ओन गरियो। इट वाज अ 50-50 गेस। टोटली हामी डोमिनेट हुँदैछौँ यो लबीमा भने एटलिस्ट फिल भएन पहिलो म्याचबाट, विच इज अ गुड साइन भन्नु पर्यो, स्पेसली कन्सिडरिङ कि एकजना प्लेयर स्टार्टमा नै फिनिस भएका थिए। होप फर द बेस्ट यहाँबाट कर्भ माथि जाओस्। अब एउटा मात्र नेपाली टिम भएपछि थोरै एक्स्ट्रा माया त वर्षाउने पऱ्यो। त्यसपछि आउँछ WBG को कहानी। ओके, पहिलो प्लेयर स्पट हुन्छ, एक शॉट गन डाउन, अर्को शॉट डाउन गन, प्लेयर फिनिस। यो लबीमा टन नै देख्न पाइनेछ। त्यो बिचमा केनीको लागि अर्को एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स निकाल्ने मौका बन्दैछ। माओ जोन भन्दा बाहिर छन्, जोन एन्ट्री मैले उनको पोसिबल देख्दिन। या एक्ज्याक्टली त्यो पोसिबल नै रहेन। WBG एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स राम्रो निकालेर गयो। उता जेनेसिसले पनि टन्ने बटुलेको छ, जो अगाडिपट्टि गएका छन् शटगन बजाउँदै। उनले यो ब्याटल जिते पनि केही हुन सक्थ्यो, बट उनी पनि त्यो ब्याटल हार्न पुगेका छन्। हेर्दा हेर्दै लग्ने हो र बिटिआरले चिकन डिनर भन्ने अवस्था क्रिएट भइसकेको छ किनभने टप 3 टिम बाँकी छन् सोलो 6 एलिमिनेसन लिएर यहाँ एकजना प्लेयर देख्दैछु मैले बीएफ को साइडबाट बिटिआरसँग डुगो छ 1-1-2 को क्लास अनि कावस्की जो बचेका थिए उनी एक्लै नै छन् ल बिटिआर को डुओ चिकन डिनर देख्दैछु हामी पहिलो म्याचमा नै केही हुँदैछ यो ग्रुपमा केही हुनेछ यो ग्रुपमा टन्नै मजाको गेम प्ले हामी देख्न पाउनेछ फिल हुँदैछ मलाई यो त कावस्कीले देखेको छन् लापारलाई कावस्कीले देखेको छन् फिनिश गरिदियो भने 1v1 मा कहानी कन्भर्ट हुने हो ओ भन्न साथ एक नक आयो जेनफोसँग हातमा नेड रहेको थियो के नेड तन्काउने भने उनले हातमा नेड छ लास्ट नेड हो त्यो पनि के पड्काउँछन् र कावस्कीलाई आइएनएफले लादियो र चिकन डिनर बिकज सर्कलको सेन्टरमा रहेको टिम पुस फेस गर्छ एमपी को सब प्लेयर डाउन हुन्छ लास्ट म्यान बचेका थिए अनि त्यो लास्ट म्यान 1v1 मा कन्भर्ट हुन पुगिसक्यो लास्ट सर्कलमा नेट रहेको छ कावस्कीसँग एउटै मात्र नेट रहेको छ के यस्तो रिजल्ट दिन्छ र ओ चिप ड्यामेज त भएको थियो अलमोस्ट दुईजनै प्लेयर उति नै एचपी मा छन् कावस्कीको अलिकति कम एचपी रहेको छ कसले पहिले स्पट गर्छ भन्ने कुरा हो ढुङ्गाको एक साइडमा कावस्की रहेका छन् उता जेनफोस घुम्दैछन् बिटिआर को टिम जहाँ थियो यदि त्यो ब्याटल डीआरएस ले जितेको भए भनेर हामी सबै कुरा त गरिरहेका थियौं बट र पटले ब्याटल रोयल चल्दैन त्यही बिचमा 1v1 मा आएको छ म्याच अब त हेडन 1v1 का लागि जानु पर्यो डीबीएस लाई अगाडिपटि डिफेन्ड गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ त्यही बिचमा आउँछन् डीबीएस लाई बिट गर्छन् कावस्कीले अनि आइएनएफ ले टिममा कावस्कीको 1v2 सँगै यो ग्रुप येलो को पहिलो चिकन डिनर दर्ता गरेको छ ड्याम क्या सुरुवात भएको छ आई मिन सोच्नुस् न एउटा टिम सेन्टर समातेको थियो पुस फेस गर्छ तीनजना ढल्छन् कावस्की जाँदैनन् सपोर्ट दिनको लागि उनी पछाडी नै बस्छन् स्प्रे दिने गन थिएन युएमपी फिर पार्दै थियो उनले चुपचाप बस्छन् एन्ड देन लास्टमा 1v2 बिटिआर को एगेन्स्टमा गरेर म्याच लिएर जान्छन् प्लेयर पनि सरप्राइज भयो होला बट वाओ जस्तो स्टार्ट हामी चाहन्थ्यौं यहाँ एक्ज्याक्टली त्यस्तै नै भयो अब त्यो सिम्बलको मार्क त के बुझ्ने टाइम आउट चलिरहेको छ भन्ने के भन्ने आई डोन्ट नो मैले यसलाई कसरी टर्म गरौँ बट वाओ गेम गयो यो 4 एलिमिनेसन एक्लै यो म्याच एक्लै जिताइदियो यो प्लेयरले भोलिको दिनमा टप 3 आउँदा क्रेडिट छ भन्दा पहिला यो प्लेयरलाई दिनुपर्छ होला बिकज यो म्याचबाट आएको जुन 10 सर्भाइभल पोइन्ट छ त्यसले हेल्प गरेको त्यसले गर्दा हामी गएको भनेर सायद त्यसरी पनि सोच्नुपर्छ होला या कावस्कीले के नै गरेर देखाइदियो अन्तिममा त इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम हामी कुरा गरिरहेका थियौं एउटा राम्रो स्पेस पाएको छ भनेर बट उनीहरूले पुश फेस गर्नु परेको थियो त्यहाँ प्लेयर लुज गर्नु पर्यो अन्तिममा एक्लै बचेका थिए उनी लाग्दै थियो बिटिआरले अब त लिएर गयो भनेर बिटिआर अनि डीआरएस को त्यो ब्याटलमा 1v1 को अवस्था आइपुगिसकेको थियो हामीले राम्रै फाइट ब्याक त दिन खोजिरहेका थियौं बट त्यो फाइट हाम्रो पक्षमा गएन ठिकठाक स्टार्ट भन्नुपर्ने हुन्छ एटलिस्ट त्यो फाइटिङ स्पिरिट मजाले देख्न पाइयो टिमको एजको लडाईँमा बिटिआरले त्यहाँ हामीलाई थोरै पछाडी पारिदिएको थियो बट त्यहाँबाट बिटिआरले पनि केही गर्न सकेन अन्तिममा आएर उनीहरू पनि सरप्राइज हुनु पर्यो या 12 पोइन्ट लिएर गएको छ राम्रो म्याच उनीहरूले पनि गर्नेछन् बट त्यो पोसिबल अगाडिपट्टिको एक एलिमिनेसन अनि 4 पोइन्ट 5 पोइन्टको त सिधा घाटा लाग्यो भनेर टिमले सोचिरहेको होला इन्फ्लुएन्सको टिम 16 पोइन्ट लिएर गएको छ सिधै आउँछ आँखा डीआरएसमा 2 पोइन्ट दुईटै एलिमिनेसनको थ्रुबाट आईएचसीले 3 लिएर गयो भ्याम्पायरको टिम पनि हामी कुरा गर्दै थियौं के गर्छ यो टिमले भनेर खाता खोलेन भने उता अर्को साउथ एसियन रिजनको टिम 4MB 3 पोइन्ट उनीहरूको लागि पनि नक आई बिलिभ 4MB ले धेरै निकालेको थियो बट एलिमिनेसन 3 आयो लाइन लगाएर तीनटा साउथ एसियन टिम छन् त्यहाँ 3-3-2 निकालेर बसिरहेको छ 9-10-11 मा छन् नट द र्याङ्क जुन हामीले सोचिरहेको छ या हामीले फिल गरिरहेको छ कि हामी यहाँ एन्ड गर्छौं भनेर बट ठीक छ भ्याम्पायर जस्तो टिम यो म्याचमा जोन हुँदा हुँदै जोन थिएन बट क्याम्पबाट अगाडिपट्टि गएर 4MB लाई के भन्दै थियो म भ्याम्पायरलाई हानेर जानुपर्छ होला या डी प्लस कियालाई हानेर जानुपर्छ होला या बिटिआरलाई हानेर जानुपर्छ होला सर्कलमा भन्दै थियो बिकज त्यो 3 डाइमेन्सनमा त्यही तीनटा
Part 2 is that he was able to also stop the push from Vampire Esports. Luckily, he got a little bit blessed by some third parties on Vampire Esports, but for him to be able to just keep his composure and keep in mind, this team is their first time in PMGC as well. This is a great start for them in Influence Rage. I mean, I was expecting all to maybe start, but it's good to see that Husky is able to clutch up for their team.
Yeah, fantastic to see. Genesis Cameron, we saw them and D Plus drop over in Paradise. Yeah. Genesis was the team to rotate. It looks like you can see they made the smart choice.
Yeah, I mean, I understand why D Plus might have been a little slow to move out of Paradise. It was in the first couple of zones, and what we saw from the east of that, when we eventually did cut down, is that there was very little to play in the middle there. So many teams were forced to play around the edge. I do think that D Plus might have got elated in thinking Paradise was a lot safer of a position, or maybe they expected the other teams around them. What was it? Vibes was one of them. I think Queso maybe was involved in the Paradise shuffle, making them to push into the center even earlier in real
You
they
get
couldn't move out, like,
1
just,
point.
they couldn't back go behind them. They had the fight, the blue was already there. They all fucking cut down, and Genesis is there to sort of clean up the scraps after all of that. But Genesis couldn't even make it that much further themselves. They did get 8 eliminations, which is certainly very good. Multiple teams getting 12 points overall, but with 4 players left, they couldn't try make a stand and actually confirm the win on this game. Just shows, I mean, it's Sandhawk, right? You can't read too much into it, but I'm hoping to get just a few more points out of this one.
I'm kind of sad you said that, actually, that, you know, Sandhawk can't read too much into it, because I was about to go in on Vampire for 7. Remember my prediction earlier? I said, Vampire, I don't think you're going to make top 3 and make it into PMGC Grand Finals. I don't think they're going to qualify this way. Obviously not the strongest of starts, but it's Sandhawk.
Yeah, I mean, they were playing until they decided to make that crazy push towards the center of the circle into a shack. That's completely backfired to them. And talking about, yeah, it's just Sandhawk. Some teams were just a little bit too slow to rotate. One that right now, it's tough. My size D plus is Team Queso. They knew that they were going to have to rotate very early on. They decided to wait a very time, and then they ended up getting surprised by D plus and 4 Miracle. So hopefully they'll be able to adjust. I mean, we're about 3 Aaron Gills back to back, so maybe we'll start seeing those changes right away.
And one thing I was actually really surprised about with Megan vibing up against DRS, because we saw they lost one player earlier on. They had 1 player knocked in that kind of situation. They had a player like rotate ahead of DRS to kind of cut them off. I was surprised to see Bigatron come out ahead in that one at the end. But you know, credit to them, credit to be able to like kind of survive the best situation.
I mean, again, not to harp on the map itself, but especially on Sandhawk, being able to slow down your fight just for a couple of moments to allow a player to find a flanking position to sort of loop in front just shows how like tight of timings that Bigatron were able to work with in that situation. And also, you know, being able to later shots, dodge grenades, like it's dodgeball, like that obviously helps as well. But just being able to know, like, here are my threat angles, here we can play and go for it. Bigatron actually had a really good round. It was just unfortunately Kayowski was there to sort of clean up the 1 versus 2. Definitely can't really push that against Bigatron too much because they had no clue where he was before it came down. So close. It's got to be a little disappointing for them.
Yeah, I kind of agree with that. It's Sandhawk. It is still a start out of a couple of teams we had our eyes on. I know, you know, 7 you guys Rage, you see them to be one of the teams to qualify through top 3 to get straight to the Grand Finals, to join Lewis and to join out with 7. And obviously that's start E. But maybe RB potentially towards like brute force. Obviously the macro play of Sandhawk can be very difficult, but the fact is brute force picking up 7 eliminations, the 1 place point, getting themselves off to a strong start for a team who's never played at this kind of level before, that is a good sign.
Very good sign. I mean, to be fair, they're getting blessed by this circle with Kayowski there from Influence Rage. But the way that he was able to just be proactive and making sure people didn't end up coming and taking the shack, as I was mentioning earlier, against Vampire Esports. And going back to Influence Rage, if I do have to nitpick on something, is their aggressiveness was a major worry for me. This is going to continue to be a major worry for me, even though it is Sandhawk. Their aggressiveness kind of backfired for them because this team ended up crashing on MP without zero scouting. They both crashed at the same time and they ended up in that fight. If Kayowski wouldn't have been in the plays that he would have been, that would have been an early exit for this team. So to be able to their scouting a lot better, they need to be able to manage their pretty much their aggressiveness. That's the word for me.
The one thing that I think is going to be helpful to influence the fact that they were able to win. Even though they did have that big mess up with 3 players getting wiped. The fact that which you know, that they got away with it, but they shouldn't necessarily have gotten away with it. Like, you don't have to tell them that they got lucked that surviving into the very end and then winning that 1 versus 2. I mean, the 1 versus 2 was skill, right? But getting to that position to be able to close it out was definitely something given to them by the rest of the teams and how they played. The fact that they were able to win, despite that, means that they can sort of like laugh it off. It gives them a lot more of an opportunity to be able to focus and say, you know what, that happened, but I think going forward we can just tighten up our game plan and hope that it doesn't happen again.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think when we get Zarangil's true test for the team, it will give us a better explanation of what teams are ready to perform, what teams are going to be performing well here. But either way, getting the first one under the belt, like Vampire. Obviously not the start they wanted. I'm not going to harsh on them too much just yet, but as it goes on, if we don't start to decide the life for them, then maybe this is the team that has to go stick. There's not a lot of days you can throw here.
Yeah. Relevant 0-0 points is definitely not, no matter what excuse you want to make for. You can only play what's in front of you, but you kind of hope that the teams are at least able to get a couple of healings.
भाई मेरे से लगे लोग प्लीज नहीं आ रहे यार
Probably just gonna be tossing this up. And you were talking about until when are we gonna start actually like being tough on them and actually kind of doing this, giving some teams maybe a window where they can form bad and then to end up waking out for Vampire Esports. I think for me has to be half. The first 3 matches. After that, I will definitely start being tough. If I haven't seen them being able to adjust, if I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, especially after we play back. If I haven't seen able to do different things throughout the match, and then sending Tony K and the rest of the squad as the main fraggers.
I kind of worry about some of these teams like Vampire, obviously having shoulders of how they succeeded so well at PMWI, but even D+. And I'm trying to think back to PMGC last year with D+, and I feel like in my head, there was many times we saw them beat this team who just wasn't aggressive until maybe like the final day of watching them play. And with how PUBG Mobile's kind of evolved and with how more elimination heavy these rank come for these teams, that passive play isn't really going to work out for you, and we haven't been able to see them. I mean, even teams, not to knock them as a bad team, but the performance we saw at Americas in here, like they couldn't even take on Team Queso. And I kind of feel rude for saying that, but I have at least the stats to back me up on that one. It's true. That's not a good sign out of another team from South Korea.
I mean, again, there's always going to be a little bit of teething. Scrims are not. Scrims, you can only take so much away from it. It almost feels like scrims is just you getting the team ready to play, like after traveling. And so there's always going to be a couple of rounds similar with sort of giving Vampire Esports a little bit of leeway. How does this lobby play? What are the reactions? What are the interactions that we should expect? How long should we wait before we try and backfill a team? Do we need to go early? Do we go later? What is the meta of this lobby? And so the hope is, if you really want to be copium like that, is that D++ the other team, right, that struggled on Sanhok, learned a lot from it. And we'll see those adjustments, but like 7 for Vampire, if we don't see adjustments after a couple of rounds, then we really start to worry.
I think that's why day one of events like this, I don't really worry too much, because it's all about the teams to adapt to day 2, to prep day 2.
Exactly.
And it's time for our commentators to work. We're going to drop into our first airing of 3 of the day. Once again, with John and Huncha.
Hey, you never work a day in your life you love what you do, Jason, so I don't really count this as work, you know. We are going to be jumping on into Group Yellow because this has been an exciting start over on Sanhok, but now we need to take a look at the true mettle of these teams over on the grassy pastures. A lot more traditional, I would say, certainly used to this style of game, and I think a lot of players have a fond memory, certainly, at least once, of playing some Erangel. And they'll make some fun memories here.
Yeah, as tried and true as still my favorite map, honestly, to watch these very level competitive games on, right? Because the meta on Erangel, it has changed over time, but it more so shows which teams have refined things down to near perfection, and those are the teams that, you know, over the course of a lot of games on air come out on top, and it's always cool to see, you know, which teams got just that little bit better, or just got that little bit of an edge over another team. Towards the west, we saw last week, even way into day number 3, day number 4, these type of plane paths cause some, you know, vehicle mishaps for players getting knocked, not being able to get the vehicle, and other players stealing.
Grab some of those spots. Looks like we'll have a scrap very early on as well. The old AHC in the Sem 9 as well. The fight for elimination potentially being found here as well. over into one of these two teams. They are just scratching back and forth. It's been 1-for-1 right now on these trades, and there's still more players waiting in the wings.
That nade bouncing off the windowsill, not able to connect. Nade right back here. Another player. Distant. See if they can make it in to help out, but for now it's still the 1-1. Two nades left. This one could be good. It could go, but shot from distance. Mikhail from another angle, not seen on screen, will get that knock in IHC. Now down to 2. I think they wanted to reinforce and help out, but maybe with that knock, yeah, with their teammate flushed out, it's not going to happen.
ESS not able to find. But both teams have lost 2 players now. This is really far from ideal. At this point, you are just rolling in to try and find the 1 or 2 extra elimination points from the other team to try and pad your totals, because you know that with 2 players, it's not likely that many placement points on. So you want to try and find these pickoffs, these scratch can. And the easiest place to do it is against the other 2v2 team, because no lost player. Everyone else is... Hang on a minute. No. Oh, no. It is 2 teams. I was looking at it, I think 60 players. That means died, but it's 2 from each team. And they will in their time. Maybe they're looking to disengage here. They haven't managed to find those opening scraps. And now it's a flat 2v2. There's no massive advantage. Demo looks to sweep out wide.
Demo's got the vehicle, so they can maneuver for flank or get info as he's driving off to make a better situation of what's at hand. And yeah, there you go. He found other angle, gets massive damage, pushes him right into the angle of Alex. So very well done. That should be definitely a confirmed point here. Demo looking for the last player. Definitely spotting him out, running in the open. UMP Iron Sight, a little bit hard to use. Connects one shot, gets the rest in. Sem9 out. IHC with a quick and celebration as well. That's... I think they're mad more than anything, because I was going to say, they are kind of center zone. So if there were fast rotations, I wouldn't be wasting those DBS shots. But no teams yet, so they're good for now. Stays alive as 2, and maybe has won that drop spot, because that was on plane path. That wasn't like a stretch drop where another team, had to lean into another team's territory. Both teams wanted that spot.
And it looks like, well, neither really, I mean, IHC obviously were the survivors, right? But neither team really won, I would say, on that spot. So we'll see if that comes through again, or if there's a backup drop coming through from one of these teams in the next. We've got 3 on the cards today for the first day of Group Yellow. IHC have departed from that area and moved up further north, actually, close to fields. So we'll see where they end up posting through. D+ over in apartments and school on a split. Meantime, BTR rotating pretty close to the IHC duo on that northern position. BTR from Milton on the south side. They've sent all the way up towards Shelter now.
BTR rotation here. Very good spot. The shelter location. It's not dead center, but good sight lines towards dead center. A lot of play options available. You can see the mini-map. It's gonna be tough. Zone is just all highly contested spots. You have the 2 compounds, and then everything else near center is just barren, open lands. Nowhere you can really play. So IHC has to hold up as a duo in a strong position and hope no one crashes them.
Try and hold on the inside. Put them before. Maybe they'll find sanctuary there still to come. Weibo over in Pachinki, going from to the east on that edge of Potato Hill. The question is, when do they want to try and find their way out? Not going to be able to get through that gap, unfortunately, there for Weibo. Going to have to find another alleyway to try and wedge the buggy. Unless you can bump it up onto 2 wheels and try and get through the alleyway that way. But I don't think there was any way you could do that.
I don't think so either. It's here. Storm rotating across the bridge from Novo. Just making their way edge of zone on the south side. This first circle, we haven't really talked much about it either. And with this hard eastern zone, it does offer a lot of different potential dynamic endings, right? You have the lumberyard to the south, if it goes down that way, and we saw last zones towards Milta Power. If it goes up north, you do have the mansion side, which I want to see.
राम्रो उसको रेड स्कारल हेड पनि करेक्ट गरेका थिए अनफर्चुनेटली त्यो प्लेयरले यस्तो एउटा एंगल पायो ब्लाइन्ड साइड पायो जहाँबाट उसले जान गएको छ स्टार्ट चाहिएको छ डिआरएसलाई यो म्याचमा काउन्ट गराउन सक्छौँ उनीहरुले
यो म्याचलाई काउन्ट गराउन सक्यो हामी अब यो अस्ति गेम भनेर भन्यौ यहाँबाट राम्रो खेलेन भने एन्ड देन यहाँ मिलेन यहाँ के सही गयो त्यो बारेमा पनि हामी डिस्कसन गर्न सुरु गर्नेछौँ तपाईहरुले 0 पॉइन्ट्स निकालेको यस्तो स्टार्ट त उनीहरुले पनि एक्सपेक्ट गरेका थिएन होला ग्लोबल लबीमा भ्याम्पायरको PMWI को कहानी त फेरी टेल भन्दा कमी छैन बट जब PMGC मा जान्छ एक्ज्याक्टली त्यो फिनिश छैन न त अघिल्लो चोटीको PMGC को लास्ट डे couple of games उठाएर हेर्ने भने वाउ थियो त्यसपछि कति चेन्जेसहरु आइसक्यो लबी पुरै चेन्ज भइसक्यो टिम्सहरु कहाँ पुगिसके रोस्टर कहाँ पुगिसके यसरी पनि कुरा गर्नुपर्ने हुन्छ उता 4M उनीहरुको रोटेसन थोरै भए पनि लेट भयो कि हुन त हामीले देखेको छौं पहिलो सर्कल हुँदाखेरि ड्यामेज खाइराखेको टिम स्टालवरको चिकन डिनर पनि निकाल्थ्यो यही बेसबाट आएर सो द्याट्स वाइ 4M बाट त जे पनि तपाईले PUBG मोबाइलमा जे जति एक्सपेक्ट गर्नुहुन्छ नि यस्तो गर्न सक्नुहुन्छ हिरो वाला कुरा भन्नु त्यो सब 4M गर्न सक्छ अब त्यो डिभाइसको कुरामा अब श्योरिटी अलिकति छैन मेरो लागि PMGC च्याम्पियन बराबरको भनौं न मैले दर्जा दिएको छु 4M बिकज अफ द गेम प्ले जुन एसएससी मा देखायो एसएससी पछिको जुन कन्टिन्युटी हुन्छ प्र्याक्टिस सर्किटमा त्यहाँ देखायो सबैलाई थाहा छ 4M भनेको कस्तो थ्रेट हो सबलाई थाहा छ होल वर्ल्डमा थाहा छ होल लबीलाई थाहा छ यति म भन्न सक्छु त्यो हिसाबको गेम प्ले आउँछ कि आउँदैन भन्ने मात्रै कुरा हो अब त्यो भन्दा पहिला कुरा गरौँ सर्कल जसले टाउको दुखाउने छ कहाँ जान्छ मलाई यसमा साइड लागिरहेछ
लेट्स सी कता पनि जान्छ भनेर बिकज यो सिफ्टले धेरै डिटरमाइन गर्ने छ अगाडि पनि भन्दै थिए टाइम छैन धेरै त्यही बीचमा सर्कलको सिफ्ट आउँछ स्कुल भन्दा अगाडिको एरियालाई सेन्ट्रिक एरिया दिँदै यो सर्कल बनेको छ कतै त्यो भोल्क्यानो अराउन्डको फिनिक्स देख्न पाइने हो नि भन्नु अझै पनि धेरै कहानी सर्कलले लेख्ने छ डिआरएसको टिम एक साइडमा कमिट गरेर प्रिजन तर्फ गएको थियो एउटा एजमा उनीहरु कर्नर भएको छ अहिलेको लागि त्यहाँबाट मुभमेन्ट गर्ने बारेमा सोच्दै अलिकति अगाडि बढ्ने मात्र सोच्ने नै होला कि त एजमै थोरै गेट सिनारियो पनि गर्न सक्छ पछाडीबाट कि टिमको मुभमेन्ट पनि हुँदैछ बिएनए साउदैछ पछाडीबाट इभन भ्याम्पायर पनि आउने सेलिब्रेबाट अगाडि बढ्दा बट डिआरएस पनि देखिसक्यो उनीहरु थोरै अगाडि बढेर खेल्न चाहन्छ थोरै एरिया कन्ट्रोल गरेर खेल्न चाहन्छ अनि हामीलाई थाहा छ स्पेस पाएर राम्रो एरिया कन्ट्रोल बनाएर म्याच निकाल्न सक्छ भनेर त्यही बिचमा यता एमपी अघिल्लो म्याचमा राम्रो खेल्यो उनीहरुका लागि अगाडिपट्टि पोटाटोतर्फ मुभमेन्ट चलिरहेको थियो कोइसोको कपल अफ शट्स गयो नाउ त्यहाँ M16 रहेको थियो इभन राम्रो ड्यामेज पनि डिल गरेको थियो निकाल्न सकिएन त्यहाँ ओके प्लेयर डबल शट ओके चेन्ज गर्दै रहेछ एकछिनका लागि मलाई दुईटै शटगन बोकेका छन् कि भनेर बट चेन्ज गरिरहेका रहेछन् र शटगन आर्जल सबैसँग नै शटगन डिभिएस कति देख्न पाइयो कि अन्स आफै भन्दै हो स्पेशली डिप्लस कियाले कसरी फर्काउने हो शटगन त्यो हेरेर बाँकी छ किनकि सानोमा उनीहरु शान्त थिए यो म्याचमा त खासै शान्त बस्ने खालको अथवा धेरै म्याच चुप लागेर बस्ने खालको त्यो पनि होइन
त्यसमाथि सर्कल पनि छ रेड सेन्टरमा पनि अनि हामीले के बुझेको छौं कि यो टिमलाई सेन्टर खेल्न मन पर्छ जबदेखि डायमन्ड गेमिङबाट डायमन्ड किया यसरी देख्यौ यो टिमलाई तब देखिको कहानी हो उता 4M भन्दै थिए सर्कल गाह्रो पर्ला एन्ड अल भनेर सर्कल आफ्नो साइडमा बनेको कुदाएर जादै थियो उनीहरु रफ्तारमा निस्किदै थियो सर्कलको कुनै एरिया च्याप्नको लागि पुश गर्न पनि डराउँदैन उनीहरु यो मंगोलियन टिमहरुको खासियत नै छ कि आइएच अगाडि प्लेयर लुज गर्यो बट हिट पुश गर्न उनीहरु डराएन स्टिल त्यो दुई जना प्लेयरलाई पनि हैन वाइपै गर्ने हो हामी पछाडी हट्ने त पुरै आउँदैन ओ पछि मरेपछि डिब्याक पनि गर्दै थियो भइमा गोली हाल्दै पनि तर स्टेटमेन्ट पनि दिँदै थियो तिमीहरु यहाँ नआउँदा हुन्छ है भनेर अब सेमनाले त्यो बारेमा कसरी रियाक्ट गर्छ त्यो पनि हामी हेर्नेछौँ बिकज नेक्स्ट म्याच पनि इराङ्गलले हो यो तीन लगातार इराङ्गलले नि थोरै त्यो राइभलरी बन्यो भने त्यसको कन्टिन्युटी दिन्छ लाग्छ मलाई क्लास हुन्छ फेरि इराङ्गल आउँछ फेरि लड्नु तपाईहरु फेरि इराङ्गल आउँछ फेरि लड्नु तपाईहरु तीनटा त लगातार इराङ्गल आउने यदि त्यो बीचमा कोही टिम निस्क्यो भने पन्छ भने ओके यो बाटलको विनर यो है भनेर पनि हामी डिफाइन गर्न पनि सक्छौं एनीवे म्याच नम्बर 2 मा छौं हामी पहिलो म्याच सकियो पहिलो म्याच कति टिमको लागि ट्रायल बल भयो भने उता एएनएफ टिमले भाले गोल पायो लास्ट प्लेयर बचेका थिए क्लियर गरे खेलेको राम्रो डाउट छैन त्यसमा नो डाउट डक्टरै खेलेको उनीहरु त्यो लास्ट प्लेयरले राम्रो गेम प्ले देखाएको बीटीआर थोरै सरप्राइज पनि भयो बट बीटीआर लाई पनि हेर्ने भने कोही थिएन अपोनेन्ट अलमोस्ट चार जना लबी अवस्था 1-1 थियो उनीहरुले त्यहाँ मौका मिस गर्यो कति टिमको लागि त 0 वाला निस्कन्दा भ्याम्पायर जोन पाउँदा अब फेरिको कुरा गरौँ यो इम्पोर्टेन्ट जोन हुन जान्छ हामी पहिले सर्कल अलिकति सेन्टर च्याप्न खोज्दै थियौ सेकेन्डमा कर्नर भयो थर्डमा आई बिलिभ एजबाट खेल्न बाध्य हुन चाहिँ धेरै अगाडि जान मिल्दैन एक त अगाडि स्पेस बाँकी पनि छैन कम्पाउन्डर बाँकी पनि छैन डी प्लस कियाले लागिरहेको छ मलाई यो ग्रुपमा जसलाई स्टलवर्टलाई चेज गर्थ्यो सर्कलले अलमोस्ट नै ग्रुप ग्रीनको म्याच हेर्दा यहाँ त्यस्तै हुन्छ कि
BNS जो अगाडिपट्टि रहेको थियो एजमा उनीहरू थोरै अगाडि गर्न गयो क्लासमा पनि उनीहरू ग्याप परेको छन् त्यही बिचमा यता आइरहेको टिम फाइट बल भएको छ BNS नै रहेको थियो जो आएको थियो यो एरियामा एकजना प्लेयर लुज भएको छ त्यही बिचमा क्या उसको अघिल्लो म्याचको हिरो उनी पनि डाउन भयो त्यहाँ नानो टुकले डाउन निकालिदिएका थिए UMP को साथमा इन्ट्र्याक्ट फिक्स गरिएको थियो INF का दुईजना प्लेयर टाढा रहेछ आउँदैछन् गाडीमा ओपन बाटो मार्ने आउँदैछ त्यहाँ हिरो किल भएको थियो गाडी थोरै पनि त्यही बिचमा जम्प गरी सर्ट नानो उसले राइट साइडबाट सर्ट आयो उनीले त आइएचले पनि फाइट मजा आउँदैछ अगाडिपट्टि एकजना प्लेयर बाँकी रहेका छन् त्यो प्लेयरलाई फेडरल रहेका छन् उनले नक भएका प्लेयरलाई पहिला फिनिश गर्ने बारेमा सोचिरहेका थिए नागोनले नेट तन्काउँदैछ के नेट रिजल्ट दिन्छ रेन्जबाट त्यहाँ इन्भल्भमेन्ट आइरहेको छ नागोनको नेटले आफै पड्कियो उनी BNS एलिमिनेट भयो INF टिम दुईजना प्लेयर नक थिए साइडमा चाहिँ कतैबाट किल चोरियो अनि डाउन भएका प्लेयर एकजनालाई रिभाइभ दिनका लागि ल्याउने भयो त्यहाँ फाइट त भयो तर त्यहाँ इन्भल्भमेन्ट गएको छ आई बिलिभ एक लिएर गयो आइएचले पनि एक लिएर गयो अनि BNF ले दुई लिएर गएको छ यता फ्रेमिङको टिम आएको छ अब फाइट हुँदैछ जी गएको प्लेयर भाग्दैछ पछाडीबाट नै टन टन्दैछ म तँलाई पड्काउँछु भनेर डिरेसको साथमा 8 मिनेट रहेको छ खेदाय त्यो प्लेयर आफ्नो टिममेटको कभर फायर तर्फ जान खोज्दै थियो जसो तसो बच्न भ्याइ वेस्ट क्यारी पनि सपोर्ट पाउँदैछ पुरै फोर्स नै बोलायो यहाँ जेनेसिसको टिमले अब फाइट भयो
यही मन पर्छ क्या मलाई यस्तो कमिटेड तरिकाले खेल्छ नि उनीहरू लड्ने भनेपछि फर्केर पछाडी हेर्ने हैन सोच्ने लड्ने भनेपछि लड्ने बट यहाँ अलिकति जोनको स्पेसले गर्दा मेबी रिट्रिट अप्सन देख्न पाइन्छ कि अन्य कता फिल आउँदैछ मलाई त्यो बीचमा एक नक निकालिएको थियो नो प्रब्लम ट्रेड गरिन्छ इन्स्ट्यान्टली ट्रेड भइसकेको छ यहाँ उता पनि रिभाइभलको बारेमा सोचिने छ यता रिभाइभल अलमोस्ट नै सकियो सायद अर्को एउटा युटिलिटी आउँदै युटिलिटीबाट अलिकति बच्नु पर्ने हुन्छ ट्र्याप हुन सकिन्छ यहाँ अनि कुरा के छ भन्दा यो 40-50 सेकेन्ड भन्दा चाँडै तपाईले क्विकली र्याप अप गर्नु छ त्यो बीचमा एक एलिमिनेसन सेक्युर गरियो अफ एंगल चेक गर्नको लागि पनि प्लेयर त्यहाँ बचेको देखिरहेको छु मैले सपोर्ट प्रोवाइड गर्नको लागि रेन्जबाट मर्नाट देखिरहेको छु मैले यता मास्टर अनि रिभाइभल दिदै थिए पछि आफैले पनि बचाउनको लागि साइड एंगलतिर उनी च्यापिनु पर्यो जेनेसिसले एकजना प्लेयर लुज गरिसक्यो अर्को प्लेयर डाउन छन् एकजना रेन्जमा छ उनको खास इन्भल्भमेन्ट यो फाइटमा हुने देख्दिन मास्टरलाई थोरै गाह्रो पर्यो यहाँ अर्को प्लेयरको फाइनली सपोर्टको लागि आएको छन् उनी पनि सिधा रिभाइभल टच गर्न जाने र किन त अब ड्यामेजले हेभी फेस गर्ने हो उता एपेक्स खाना पाउने गरी सुस्त अगाडि क्रल गर्दैछन् उनले मेजर रोल प्ले गर्न सक्छन् उता देखिरहेको छु मैले DRS ले BTR सँग बदला लिँदैछ क्या नक निकालेको नोट गर्दै थिए मैले यता 4MB ले गर्यो वाइप नक भएको प्लेयरलाई उठाउन सक्ला र आई थिंक सक्दैन बिकज जोनको ड्यामेज अब अति नै हेभी छ बट हाम्रो फाइट एउटा कमिटमेन्ट वाला फाइट 100 लड्ने भनेपछि लड्ने वाला फाइट सर्कल डी प्लस कियाको हामी धेरै चोटि देख्छौं लाग्छ मलाई सर्कल पाएको छ डी प्लस कियाले यता BTR को अगेन्स्टमा शॉट दिइरहेका थिए त्यहाँ एक नक पनि निकालिएको BTR को अगेन्स्टमा अघिल्लो म्याचमा पनि BTR सँग फाइट गरेको थियो वेम्पायरको नर्केबाट गाडी मुभमेन्ट स्टोनले शॉट दिन खोजे क्रेसिङ गर्न खोज्दै थिए बट खासै रिजल्ट आएन त्यहाँबाट के मारेको फाइट रहेको छ त्यो राम्रो शॉट रहेको थियो त्यहाँ फ्युरियाको डाउन निकालिदिएका छन् रेभेन्टलाई गोज डाउन क्यूए को डीबीएस चप्क्यू त्यहाँ क्यूए डीबीएस अनि एम्परको कम्बोको साथमा नक भएका प्लेयर टोनीकेलाई क्विकली फिनिश गर्छन् अगाडि रेभेन्टमा पनि नक रहेका छन् स्वेप्स गाडी लिएर गइरहेका छन् लागि यहाँबाट फाइटमा इन्भल्भ नहुँ भन्ने बारेमा सोचेको लागि स्टोन गर्न खोज्दै थिए कोर्काले उनलाई पनि डाउन दिएका छन् SNF9 को साथमा स्विच गरिन्छ क्विकली फिनिश पनि गरिन्छ अन्तिम
प्लेयर aquí banda sabai di kurki agak pikir ada
फाइट भइरहेको थियो
फाइट का तो बंदर गया
प्लेयर नक रहेका छन् बीएफ का पनि रोडको टिमलाई पनि
बीएफ का भी बंदर गया
4 एलिमिनेसन आयो नजिकै अर्को एउटा टिम रहेको छ पार्टीका लागि तयार छ पछाडीबाट 4MB पनि इन्ट्रेस्टेड रहन सक्छ डी प्लस किया यही हो
DRS जिंदा है आईसी जिंदा है 4 मिनट के बाद जिंदा है
स्मोक लगाउनु पर्ने छ इनसाइड को भिजन ब्लक गरियो भने मेबी रिभाइभल सजिलो हुन्छ थोरै टाइम बाइ एक साइडबाट भयो अर्को साइडमा प्लेयरले रिभाइभल दिए डी प्लस किया कति बेर आयो यहाँ सुरुवातमै भन्दै थिए गाडी बचाउन चाहिँ गाह्रो पर्ला बट जोन बन्दै गयो भने त राम्रो स्पट पनि हुन सक्छ भनेर डी प्लस किया भयो यही एरियालाई अझै पनि जोन लिने भनिरहेको छ पारका प्लेयर स्वेप जो फाइटबाट रिट्रीट गरेका थिए
WBG का बंदा अभी भी जिंदा है यार
साथी मात्र हिँडेका थिए उनी आएर
चिकन खा सकता है वो लोग चाइनीज टीम कुछ भरोसा नहीं यार तब ये बहुत स्ट्रॉन्ग टीम है कंडीशन नहीं खेलता है वो
सिंगल प्लेयरले खासै के गर्न सक्छन् हुन्छ बट त्यो भन्दा भन्दै त्यो पनि कसरी अघि भर्खर देखाइसक्यो इन्फ्लुएन्सले के गर्न सक्छ सिंगल प्लेयरले भनेर
14 पोइन्ट लगेको त्यो प्लेयरले 4 किल दियो 10 सर्भाइभल दियो 14 पोइन्ट भनेको यो पोइन्ट सिस्टम
स्कॉट कर रहा है आईजीएल डब्ल्यूबी का
जसले 7-8 निकाल्छ उस सर्भाइभलिस्ट त 100% खेल्छ यो 24 म्याचमा 7-8 को एभरेज मेन्टेन गर्ने टिम 100% खेल्छ 10 को एभरेज मेन्टेन गर्ने टिम 100% खेल्छ टप 3 भएर टप 3 हुनु छ 10 को एभरेज मेन्टेन गरौ यदि सर्भाइभल स्टेज खेल्न छ भने 6-7 ले मान्छ होला पर म्याच 7 मेन्टेन गर्नु पर्यो अब डीआरएस कुराहरु पनि अघिल्लो म्याचमा 2 आएको यो म्याचमा 12 पुराउनु पर्यो 10 पॉइन्ट निकाल्नु पर्यो यसरी क्याल्कुलेट गर्दा पनि हुन्छ राम्रो कसरी खेलेन
फर्मेसन बाइ पर्सन डीएफ
यारको ब्याटल बन्ने हो र हेजिटेट गर्ने छैन यदि उनीहरुलाई लाग्छ कि यहाँ ओपनिङ निकाल्न सक्ने खाले ब्याटल मिनी रेड जोन मानै पर्यो अलमोस्ट यता ईस्ट आइसकेको थाहा नपाएको र एक नक त निकाले इनिशियल मौका पाउँदा बित्तिकै
ओ भाई साहब छोड़ फिर गया बंदा जाने वाला लेकिन फॉर्मेशन वाइप हो गया अभी आईएसपी है साउदी से डीआरएस भी साउदी से
एकजना डाउन छ ट्रेड गरिएको छ
डीआरएस का फाइट चल रहा है
अलिकति डेन्जर ब्याटल छ त्यो बग गिल डुबाउने गर्छ कुची प्लेयर
भाई साहब
गरिन्छ नि त्यसले गर्दाखेरि
डीआरएस वाइप हो गया डीआरएस वाइप हो गया अभी साउदी से की टीम बसा हुआ है
जितेको छ लो टरेनमा थियो उनीहरु अनि गाडी सबसे इफेक्टिभ वेपन भन्न जान्छ यस्तो खाले सिचुएसनमा जहाँ अगाडिपट्टिको अपोनेन्ट सबै एकै ठाउँमा छ त्यही बीचमा त एमपी टिम पनि अब गर्न भइसक्यो त्यो डिपमा फसेको छ उनीहरु बीटीआरले र्याप अप गरी नै मार्ने भयो यहाँ
बीटीआर वाइप कर दिया उन्होंने
अन्तिम शट आउँछ त्यही बीचमा उता सपोर्टमा का लागि टिममेट आइपुगिसकेको थियो बट त्यो बीटीएसले काम गर्यो 3 एलिमिनेसन एमपी को अगेन्स्टमा उठाउने मौका पायो डीआरएसले नक निकालेको प्लेयरको एलिमिनेसन आएको छ एक एलिमिनेसन उनीहरुका लागि आएको छ बट डीआरएस 1 पोइन्टको म्याच निकाल्यो भर्खरै मात्र भन्दै थियौ 10 भनेर एकमा निक्ल्नु परेको छ खराब म्याच भनौं जुन पनि अलिकति टफ नै रहेको थियो जुन पोजिसनमा उनीहरु रहेका थिए अलिकति ट्रिकी रहेको बट बीटीआरलाई पनि अगाडि बढ्नु छ बट खासै गाह्रो नहोला उता डिफेन्स के गर्नु केही परेको छैन मस्त टुको स्पिडमा बसेको छ एरिया कन्ट्रोल लिएको छ मेबी बीएफ अगाडि बढ्न खोज्यो भने त्यहाँ
वेफर का बंदा वेफर बगल में ही है
बट स्पेस को जोन उनीहरुसँग छ एम्पायर का अन्तिम प्लेयर उनी पनि जोनमा नै रहेको
अरे डब्ल्यूबीजी का एक बंदा फ्रीज करे उसको उसको जाना पड़ेगा
केजमा आइपुगेका थिए भने आईएनएफ
टीचर का बंदा भी पास नहीं है
फेरि पनि सिंगल प्लेयरले खेल्ने अन्ने सम्म भनेर अघि पनि सिचुएसन त्यस्तै थियो स्प्लिट्समा भएका एकजना प्लेयर जो बाँचेका थिए
अरे भाई यार डीके भाई कहां पे घुस रहे हो यार
यहरू बाँचेका छन् यहाँ गाह्रो पर्छ भने बीएफ रेन्जमा ट्राई गर्यो बीएमआर को म्याचमा फाइट लिने यता डिफेन्स कियाले पनि याद गरिरहेको छ कि वरपर हाम्रो टन्न मुभमेन्ट हुँदैछ जस पछाडिपट्टिको रिजमा प्लेयर आए भने मेबी थ्रोएबल बाटो बाँच्नु पर्छ यहाँ डिफेन्स किया बिकज पछाडिको त्यो रिजमा आएका प्लेयरले थ्रोएबल कनेक्ट गरे भने त्यही मात्र एउटै अप्सन जहाँबाट डिफेन्स कियालाई च्यालेन्ज गर्न सकिन्छ
यार डिफेन्स कियालाई च्यालेन्ज I mean सकिन्छ कसैले गर्ला भन्ने कुरा हो किन त मलाई लाग्छ यो टिम अति नै राम्रो खेल्ने छ उनीहरुले रिजल्ट पनि बनाइरहेको छ यता बीटीआर को टिम जुन ब्याटल बन्यो नि यदि डीआरएस ले ब्याटल जित्थ्यो भने 4-5 पोइन्ट फाइट कहिले 3 पोइन्ट लाग्थ्यो 4-5 नभनौं बीटीआर को हातबाट मर्थ्यो थर्ड पार्टीमा मर्थ्यो एमपी ले जिते एमपी फिनिश भयो त्यही ठाउँबाट यदि डीआरएस पनि फिनिश हुन्छ त्यही ठाउँबाट अब जीरो क्याजुअलिटी ब्याटल त्यो ठाउँमा त गर्न सकिन्छ नि स्पेशली
डब्ल्यूबीजी
बगीमा प्ले पुराइरहेको छ नि हल एनीवे सकियो अब यो म्याच पनि जुन एभरेजको कुरा गर्दै थियो त्यो अहिले गणितमा आइरहेको छैन मेरो यता टिम क्युसोको लागि बीटीआर को अगेन्स्टमा नेड फालेर रोक्ने कोसिस गर्दैछ थाहा छ टिम क्युसोलाई आई बिलिभ कि यहाँ पुश आउन सक्छ भनेर किन त बीटीआर अन्त कहाँ गएर खेल्छ अन्त खेल्ने अप्सन अलमोस्ट नै छैन एउटा नोन डिप जहाँबाट खेल्न सक्नुहुन्छ यदि क्लिन गरियो भने बट यहाँ ओपनिङ नक निकाल्न अति नै गाह्रो छ बीटीआरलाई त्यो कुरा थाहा पनि छ सो साडो भन्दा चाँडो या त अल्टरनेटिभ पाथ निकाल्नु पर्यो जुन आउने चान्सेस म अलिकति कम देख्छु बिकज सोरे राइट साइडबाट मुभ गरेर एउटा अप्सन हो म्युजियम
अरे डब्ल्यूबीजी का सुप नॉक आईजीएन नॉक हो गया अब ये 16 में फाइव पर डब्ल्यूबीजी का मैंने बोला डब्ल्यूबीजी चिकन खाएगा यार डब्ल्यूबीजी उल्टा नॉक हो गया यार ऐसा 16 में है जी
स्प्लिटमा बसिरहेको छ बीटीआर को लागि आएको थियो खासै राम्रो स्प्रे त हैन बिग माइलोको साइडबाट नक निकाल्न सकेन उता डेमोलाई लिल बोयले नक निकालेको छ ओके मौका थियो लापारको लागि त्यो प्लेयर एक एचपीमा ये फाइनली नेटको साथमा नक पनि निकालियो बट एक त बीटीआरले क्लीन बुक देखाइरहेको छैन त्यो बीचमा टिम क्यूसो उनीहरुको अप्रोच देखेर मलाई अचम्म लाग्यो उनीहरु सर्ट ठाउँमा थियो उनीहरुलाई थाहा पनि थियो कि हाम्रो अगेन्स्टमा पुश आउँदैछ भनेर बट अब अलमोस्ट क्लूलेस हेल्पलेस देखिरहेको छु मैले यो टिमलाई बीटीआरले आरामले पुश म्यानेज गर्छ आई एम प्रिटी श्योर
अबे बीटीआर ने ग्राफ कर दिया उसको भाई साहब पैनिक कर दिया नो भाई बीटीआर ने बंदों ने
के गर्यो टिमको यसले सायद आफै सोच्न
बीटीआर क्या है खेल रहा है यार अबे लेट्स देखते नहीं है बीटीआर में नया बंदा आया बीटीआर में क्या ही मारा यार बीटीआर के बंदे ने
गाडी लिएर अगाडि गएर बीटीआरले वरिपरिबाट र्याप अप गरेर त्यो फाइट त्यहाँ कम्प्लिट गर्दैछ
कहाँ जा रहे हो भाई
बीटीआरले फेरि अर्को टिमलाई पनि स्पट गर्छ आइएचसी को टिम बगी लिएर मुभ गर्न खोज्दै थियो एउटा एज पकड्नको लागि एकजना प्लेयरको त एचपी कम भइसकेको छ यताबाट जेन्फो सब नेट तयार गर्दैछन् एलेक्सको एगेन्स्टमा त्यो नेटले चिप ड्यामेज दियो भने पनि एलेक्स डाउन हुन्छ नेट त गएको छ बट बीचको तल थियो नि बट अर्को साइडबाट आइएनएफ का फेडरलको टीपी कनेक्ट हुन्छ त्यहाँ फेडरलले डाउन
ओ आई सी एलेक्स डाउन डेमो भी गया आज से खत्म डेमो एलेक्स खत्म
एलिमिनेसन आइसक्यो जेन्फोसको इन्डिभिजुअल त्यहाँ 8 टिमले निकालिसक्यो भने यता टिममा सीधै जान्छ त्यो एंगलमा डाउन पनि गर्यो तक्कै गाडी
डाउन
अनि त्यो प्लेयरलाई फिनिश गर्नका लागि पनि गइएको छ बट स्कियाको पनि सपोर्ट त आउँदैछ शट आइरहेको छ बट खासै रिजल्ट आएको छैन जान्छ फ्याबियनलाई फिनिश गर्दिन्छन् पछाडी पनि बीएफ को टिम पनि
बीटीआर हेस्टे कोन आगे और भाई सब काय फिनिश कर रहा है बीटीआर
स्कियालाई ट्रबल दिन्छ कि भनेर बट उनीहरुले पनि अल्टरनेटिभ पाथ फलो गर्दै पुश गर्न खोज्दैछन् फरेस्ट एकेएम को साथमा त्यो रेन्जमा कन्ट्रोल गर्न अलिकति गाह्रै हुन्छ बट टी प्लस क्याउ चाहिँ पनि गर्छ उनीहरुले शट पनि राम्रै दिएको त्यही बीचमा उता भ्याम्पायरका स्वेप जोन टिम प्लेयर रहेका थिए बीटीआरले स्पट गर्छ एलिमिनेसन नम्बर 9 आइसक्यो बीटीआर को अघिल्लो म्याच अन्तिममा 1v2 खाएर म्याच लुज गर्नु परेको थियो निकालिसक्यो 12 पॉइन्ट उनीहरुको थियो अलरेडी अनि चारै जना प्लेयर बचाएर राखेको छ केहरुको पनि म्याच निकाल्ने चक्करमा हो र बीटीआर एउटा एजबाट खेल्न खोज्दै छ अगाडिपटि आइएनएफ को च्यालेन्ज बट आइएनएफ दुई जना प्लेयरमा मात्र सीमित भइसकेको छ
भाई साहब बन के दोस्त है सबको यार ये क्या स्प्रे दे रहा यार ये बंदे
फेरि एउटा राइज अफ द एरा हुन सक्छ बिकज बीटीआर ले भने नि मैले कति धेरै ऑडियन्सलाई त बीटीआर लाई देखेर बीटीआर को गेम प्ले हेरेर गेम खेलौं या गेम हेरौं भएको थियो यता पुश गर्दै थियो डी प्लस कियाले एक्ज्याक्टली सही तरिकाले एक्जिक्युट गर्न सकेन चाहेको भए वेट गर्न सकिन्छ बट अगाडिपट्टिको टिम भल्नरेबल छ हामी गएर ट्याकल गर्न सकिन्छ सोचियो होला बट ब्याक फायर गर्दैछ नो अलरेडी गरिसकेको छैन भनौं अन्त अझै पनि रिजल्ट निकाल्ने अवस्थामा टिम देख्दै छु म एकेएम खासै आमो देखिरहेको छैन मैले आइएनएफ को पनि रेन्ज बन्न सक्छ त्यहाँ यदि बन्यो भने उनीहरु शटको लागि जान सक्छ जुन ब्रुटल फोर्स रहेको थियो
भाई क्या ग्रेनेड कर रहा है भाई जिब्ला की बंदे अरे यार वो भी ना
सोल्दै दिए होला बट मिठो नेड त्यहाँ रेडी
दोनों के डिफेक्ट का
त्यसले दिएको छ नक फोरेस्ट डाउन ओसल डाउन दुईटा मेन फायर पावर त्यहाँ डाउन नोइबु पछाडी रहेका छन् अगाडिपट्टि जाने कि नजाने त रिभाइभ गर्ने बारेमा सोच्ने कि नसोच्ने थोरै डिलेमा बन्यो गाडी छैन भने छन् अर्को प्रब्लम पैदल कुदेर त्यत्रो एरिया कभर गर्नुपर्ने स्मोक लगाउँदा टाइम वेस्ट हुने हो र न त अहिलेको लागि जुनको पनि थोरै हात रहेको छ सपोर्ट रहेको छ त्यसले गर्दा थोरै हेल्प गर्न सक्छ उता सर्कल जान्छ बीटीआर साइडमा सर्ट अफ किन भन्दा त्यो पारिपट्टि स्याक छ बाटो क्रस गरेर स्याकबाट पनि खेल्न सकिन्छ आइएनएफ कता जान्छ भन्ने कुराले धेरै कुरा डिसाइड गर्छ उता वीवो लास्ट प्लेयर बचेको देख्दै छु म डीएमआर उनीहरुको एगेन्स्टमा धेरैले नजर लगाउँछन् होला डीएमआर को लागि चान्सेस कम फिल हुन्छ मलाई भने बीटीआर को म्याच भन्यो यो त अब
या बीटीआर को म्याच बन्न सक्छ सबैले भन्नुभयो त्यो स्याकबाट पनि आरामले खेल्न मिल्छ त्यो एक थोप्लो अघि सर्कलमा जुन देख्दै हुन्थ्यो त्यहीबाट खेल्ने बारेमा चाहिँ कुरा पनि गरिराख्नु भएको थियो दाउ साल फिनिश भएका छन् फरेस्ट कसैले पछाडी जान त खोज्दै थिए बट डीएमआर का मालले उनलाई पनि स्पट गर्दै रहेछ टेक डाउन गर्छन् त्यहाँ डीएमआर का लागि पनि एलिमिनेसन नम्बर 5 आइसक्यो अघिल्लो म्याच उनीहरुका लागि राम्रो गएको छैन
के बंदे से गए यार
खेल्नु परेको थियो भने
यता एलिमिनेट हो गया यार बीटीआर ने बीटीआर खाएगा सेकंड मैंने कहा आईएनएफ इधर बीटीआर मैंने कहा बीटीआर का बंदा वो
फोकस गर्ने बारेमा सोच्छन् होला यता नोइबु पनि कसरी अगाडि त बढ्न खोज्दै छन् बट कति बेर स्पट
प्लेयर में बीटीआर का स्किन फरकता है अरे नीचे डब्ल्यूबीजी के बंदे भाई साहब गया
गाडी देखे प्लेयर पुगी पनि सके त्यहाँ जम्प गर्न खोज्दै मात्र थिए त्यही बीचमा उठेर यूएमपी को शट आउँछ पहिमा आउट साइडबाट पहिलो एलिमिनेसन आएको छ डब्ल्यूबीजी का लागि अन्तिम प्लेयरमा कन्भर्ट भइसक्यो आइएनएफ कता जान्छ उनीहरुले पनि धेरै डिटरमाइन गर्छ यो हामी भन्दै थियौ डीएमआर के साइडमा आइएनएफ गाडी अगाडिबाट गराइन्छ को त्यहाँ सर्ट राम्रो गएको थियो ड्यामेज दिएको थियो अर्को प्लेयरले डाउन गर्यो लिल बोयलाई फिनिश नै गरियो फेडरललाई उता बीटीआरले पक्रियो 10औं एलिमिनेसन बीटीआर का लागि आइसकेको छ 12 पोइन्ट अलरेडी थिए बार-बार भनिरहेको छु यो म्याच पनि फेरि जित्छ जस्तो छ 20+ पोइन्टको म्याच त ढुक्क जाने भयो भने जित्यो भने बट यता डब्ल्युबीसी का प्लेयर उनी ट्रबल दिन खोज्दैछ बकीको मुभमेन्ट थाहा पायो भने आवाज सुने बकी घुम्यो भनेर बट अझै पनि क्लियर आइडिया छैन कहाँ रहेको छ भनेर मोलोटोप निकाल्ने प्रयास त गरेका थिए थ्रो पनि गरेको मोलोटोपलाई बट सतार गाडी नै रहेको छ अगाडि स्मोक देखे का पनि सोच्ला तर त्यही बीचमा गाडी लिएर टाप गर्छु भनेर प्लेयर घुम्दैछ अगाडि पनि एक गाडी
भगा के मार रहा है भाई बीटीआर के बंदे भाई सब भगा के मार रहा है हुनु को
एलिमिनेसन नम्बर 11 बीटीआर को टिम के एउटा कमब्याक देख्ने हो र यो इभेन्टबाट बीटीआरले आफ्नो
अरे हाय बीटीआर भित्रको बन्दा देखियो
12 भयो एलिमिनेसन अन्तिम दुई टिम 4v4 को ब्याटल बन्ने भयो इट्स गोइङ टु बी ब्याटल बिट्विन डीएमआर एन्ड बीटीआर
बीटीआर को चिकन लागिरहेको थियो मलाई बिकज डीएमआर लाई अल कसैले एक्सपेक्ट गर्छ कि फिल गर्दै थिए म एक्ज्याक्टली त्यो भएन बट सर्कल बीटीआर सँग रहेको छ के कमब्याक हुँदै हो अघिल्लो म्याचमा सेकेन्ड थियो यो म्याचमा सेकेन्ड दिन निकाले इफ नट दुईटा लगातार सेकेन्ड अलिकति चुक्न सक्छ त्यो
भाई बीटीआर के बंदे दोनों तरफ है यार खेला हुआ है बीटीआर के बंदों ने
4-8 पॉइंट को घाटा लाग्ने उता जेन फोर्सले अफ एंगल बनाएर नक निकाल्नु पर्ने निकालिसक्यो ओपनिङ नक बीटीआर मार्च गर्दै छ यो म्याच त
अबे करेगा बीटीआर के बंदों ने
कर्नर पनि गरिसक्यो अब यहाँ थ्रो गर्ने पनि कुरा आउन सक्छ किन त नक निकालियो जोनको एक साइडमा या जोन भन्दा बाहिर प्लेयरहरु रहेको छ भनेपछि पुश गर्ने बारे सोचेर जोसमा पनि जान सकिन्छ उ त सताले गाडी कुदाउन थालिसके कुदिरहेका प्लेयर कता छ भनेर डीएमआरले निकालेको नक माथि खासै क्यापिटलाइज गर्ने मौका दिएन बीटीआरलाई ए जुनियरले रिभाइभल निकालिसकेको छ बीटीआरको क्लियर प्लान छ जोनमा आउनै नदिने भनेर बट उता फ्युरियाको नेटले कहानीमा नयाँ ट्विस्ट ल्याउँदैछ एक नक निस्कियो अब बीटीआरले पनि क्विकली रिकभरी निकाल्नु पर्ने हुन्छ बट यताबाट हेरौँ त कस्तो जोसमा डीएमआरको टिम पुसको लागि गएको छ त सुपर बोयले भने एकछिन साथी एकछिन मेरो पार्टनरलाई सर्ट हान्नु भन्दा अगाडिपट्टि फ्युरिया अझै पनि नक छैन क्लोज रेन्जमा गएर डीपीएस पनि पड्काइएको छ डीएमआरको दुईजना प्लेयर डाउन छ अर्को प्लेयर कहाँ छ बीटीआरको त्यो पनि थाहा छ सतारलाई पनि डाउन गरियो जे कुराको डर थियो अनि जुन क्विक डिसिजन मेकिङ हुन्छ नि त्यो हेरौँ न डीएमआरको यति चाँडो उनीहरूले क्यापिटलाइज गर्यो एक नकमा जुन बीटीआरले पहिला गर्न सक्थ्यो मलाई त यो अप्रोच अति नै वाव लाग्यो एक नक निकालेको भरमा जो एडभान्टेजमा रहेको छ टिम त्यो टिमलाई बाहिर निकाल्यो बट कहानी सकिएको छैन साथीहरु डीएमआर का दुईजना प्लेयर बाँकी अब एकजनाको पोजिसन जेनफोसलाई थाहा छ कोल्याप सर्कलमा कहानी कन्भर्ट भइसक्यो फेरि रिभाइभलतिर पनि फोकस गरिन्छ फेरि रिभाइभलतिर फोकस गरिनेछ फ्युरिया क्लोजिन आइसके यता एकजना प्लेयर लुज गरेको भए पनि 1v3 मा कहानी ल्याइदैछ नम्बर एडभान्टेज अलवेज काम लाग्छ लेटर फेजमा एउटा फ्ल्यास रहेको के फ्युरियाले युज गर्ने हो त फ्युरियाको त्यो नेटबाट नै हो कहानी चेन्ज भएको बाइ द वे लागिरहेको छ जेनफोसलाई थाहा नै छैन ओके अर्को नक जेनफोसले निकाल्न सफल क्लोजिन फ्युरियाको साइड थोरै पछि देखाएको भए पनि हुन्थ्यो उनको पोजिसन गइसक्यो नक निकाले जेनफोस एक्लै कहानी टर्न गर्न चाहन्छन् उताबाट आएको छ मोलोटप लागेको छैन मोलोटप दुईटा नेट रहेको छ जेनफोससँग दुईटा नेट
अरे यार मोली से जल गया बंदा भाई मोलो से जल गया बीटीआर के बंदा
जस्ट वाओ गेम जाँदैछ चिकन म जस्तै कन्फ्युजन यता पनि चलिरहेको छ सेकेन्ड हेर डीएमआर को रहेको थियो बीटीआर को थिएन बट मोलोटपले पनि 1 सेकेन्डमा याद त लादैन नि साथी हामीले मोलोटपले लिएर गयो जस्तो लाग्यो
बीटीआर को नहीं होला चिकन यार खराब हो गया
आई डोन्ट नो के भयो भने सायद हामी अलिकति स्लो मोसन या टु फास्ट टु अन्डरस्ट्यान्ड टु फास्ट टु प्रोसेस जे चलिरहेको छ अति नै टप इफोर्ट रहेको थियो जेनफोसको सुरुवातमा अगाडि डाउन गर्छन् पछाडी फ्लाइटमा आएका प्लेयर जसले गोली चलाएर आफ्नो पोजिसन दिएका थिए त्यो प्लेयरलाई पनि घुमेर आई बिलिभ एलएमजी थियो उनीसँग त्यसले त्यहाँ डाउन दिन्छन् अगाडिपट्टिबाट एउटा मोलोटप आयो बिल गर्दै गर्दै त्यो बाटो बाँचे उनी अनि फेरि अर्को मोलोटप या ट्रेबल केही त थियो जो पुल गर्दै थिए प्लेयर नै रहेको जस्तो लाग्यो त्यो पुल गर्दै थिए प्लेयरले त्यही मौका छोपेर त्यहाँ डाउन गर्छु भनेर उनी ओपनमा गएका थिए बट सुन पुगे तर मिल्की वे क्या खेलेका छन् अलमोस्ट लिएर गइसकेको थियो बीटीआर बीटीआरको टिमले छिनेर लगिसकेको थियो पछिल्लो म्याच उनीहरुको हातबाट कसैले छिनेर लग्यो यो पटक उनीहरु छिनेर लान देखिए कुना त सुरुवातमा एडभान्टेज पाएको बीटीआरले जोन अनि इनिशियल नक बट डीएमआरले एक नकमा जसरी क्यापिटलाइज गर्यो त्यसपछि राम्रो म्याच कन्भर्ट भइसकेको थियो तर यहाँ डीएमआरको टिमले जितेर लिएर गएको छ क्या म्याच रह्यो फेरि एकपटक अघिको यो फिनिश जहाँ क्याउसको 1v2 देख्न पाइयो अन्तिममा बीटीआरको एगेन्स्टमा अहिले यहाँ यो फिनिश जहाँ जेन्फोर्सले अलमोस्ट क्लच पुल अफ गरिसकेका थिए अन्तिममा अति नै लाग्दैछ यो पुरै 4 दिन यति धेरै एक्सनले भरिनेछौँ हामी कि सायद हामीलाई प्रोसेस गर्न थोरै हरेक म्याचमा यस्तै टाइम लाग्नेछ
अनि ग्रुप अफ डेथ किन भनेको सायद त्यो अलरेडी म्याचमा फिल गर्न सकियो जुन लेभलको कम्पिटिसन भयो जुन वेमा फिनिश भयो पहिलो म्याच बीटीआर को थियो खुस्कियो सेकेन्ड म्याच बीटीआर को थियो खुस्कियो आयो खुस्कियो चारवटा त्यहाँ सफल भयो हुन्छ नि सेकेन्डमा त्यो अप एन्ड डाउन देख्न भयो डी प्लस किया जोन त समातेको बट त्यो वेमा म्याच निकाल्न सकेन स्टार्टमा चाकु गेमप्ले कलेगा हामीले देख्न पाएका थियौं एलेक्सले यहाँ नक निकाले लास्ट लाइन जो बचेका थिएनलाई पनि खोजेर नै फिनिश गरिएको थियो आईएनएफ को कुरा गर्नु पर्दा जुन तरिकाले पुश खायो त्यसै तरिकाले उताबाट सपोर्ट पनि आयो रेन्जबाट को सपोर्टले गर्दा कहानीमा चाहिँ टर्न अराउन्ड हामीले देख्न पाइएको थियो जी को ब्याटल फर एम्बिसन हो फर एम्बिले पनि मोमेन्टम अलरेडी बनाइसकेका छैन यहाँ निकालेका थिए डीआरएसले एक नक बट एक्ज्याक्टली रिजल्ट आएन यसको राम्रो इम्पोर्टेन्टली त्यो मोमेन्टमा देख्दै थियो एक नक निकालेका थिए बट त्यसपछि खासै अगाडिबाट बढ्न सकिएन भ्याम्पायरले पनि पॉइंट्स निकालेको छैन यो म्याचमा बीटीआर को टिमले अति मिठो खेल्यो दुई म्याचमा अति मिठो खेल्यो अनि विथआउट हेजिटेसन को अप्रोच क्लियरली फिल गर्न सकिन्छ अघिल्लो म्याचमा डीआरएस पुश गर्नु अनि यो म्याचमा टिम क्यूस हो बट टिम क्यूसले पनि जे गरेको त्यो पनि के गर्यो यिनीहरुले एकछिन टाउको गनाउनु पर्ने थियो
या अवस्था त्यस्तै नै रहेको थियो यता बीटीआर को रियाक्सन हेर्न सकिन्छ इमिडिएटली म्याच सकिसक्दाको रियाक्सन थोरै अन्तिममा चियर अप चलिरहेको थियो बट एक पोइन्टको डिफरेन्स यहाँ 20 मा डीएमआर 19 मा बीटीआर मा म्याच जित्न सकिएको भई तपाईको लागि प्लेसमेन्टको एक्स्ट्रा पोइन्ट र एलिमिनेसनबाट उठाउन मिल्ने जुन एक्स्ट्रा पोइन्ट रहेको थियो त्यो बन्न सक्यो बीएफ को टिमको लागि 11 पोइन्ट आएको छ प्लस किया राम्रो स्पेस थियो लाग्यो थियो म्याच त उनीहरुकै हो लिएर गयो अब त म्याच भन्ने सिचुएसनमा हामी आइपुगिसकेका थियौं बट त्यहाँबाट 7 पोइन्ट मात्र उनीहरुको पनि अन्तिममा एउटा ब्याटल बन्न पुग्यो जहाँ यति मजाले ट्रेड भइरहेको थियो कि त्यहाँ उनीहरु डाउन गरेको थियो आईएनएफ को टिम फाइट त देखाउँदै थियो जुन पुसको हामी कुरा गरिरहेका थियौं दुईजना प्लेयर अन्तिममा सर्भाइभ पनि गर्दै थिए थोरै ट्रबल पनि दिँदै थियो अरु टिमहरुलाई आईएचसी टिमलाई एलिमिनेट गर्दै थियो बट 6 पोइन्ट यो म्याचबाट उनीहरु लिएर गएको छ अनि फेरि कुरा नामहरु आईएचसी को टिम 5 एलिमिनेसनको थ्रुबाट 4 आयो टोटल 5 लिएर गएको छ वेम्पायरका लागि पनि गेम पोइन्ट 4 आयो इभन फोरेमबी पनि 4 लिएर गयो बीआरएसको लागि खासै राम्रो म्याच रहेन अलरेडी पनि गन स्लिङरमा बीआर का जेन्फोर्स क्लच फेरि पनि एकपटक त्यही क्लच याद आउँछ त्यो अन्तिम प्लेयरलाई टेक डाउन गर्न सकिएको भए त्यो रियाक्सन के रहन्थ्यो होला बीटीआर का बाँकी प्लेयरको जेन्फोर्सको पनि बट डीएमआरले अन्तिममा मिठो म्याच पुल अफ गर्यो तपाई भन्दै हुन्थ्यो आफ्नो गेम के गयो फेरि आयो गयो भन्दै त्यो स्विङ अफ पेन्डुलम चलिरहेको थियो यहाँ अन्तिममा डीएमआर को टिमले लिएर गयो बट बीटीआर टप अफ द टेबल दुई म्याचमा छाडी
31 पोइन्ट्स आएको छ दुई म्याचमा सेकेन्ड भयो यहाँ फर्स्टमा छ उनीले माइन्ड गर्ने छैन बीएफ टिमको पनि देख्न सकिन्छ एलिमिनेसन राम्रो आएको छ आईएनएफ एकको त प्लेसमेन्ट पोइन्ट 10 भइहाल्यो त्यो म्याचमा 3 त्यो म्याचमा 5-6 पोइन्ट्स कति निकालेको थियो उनीले अल थ्रु द एलिमिनेसन अलमोस्ट निकाल्यो उनीहरुले बाकी डब्ल्यूबीसी को कुरा गर्ने भने यो म्याचमा लास्टमा बचेका थिए कहाँ भाग्दै थिए उनी मैले त बुझ्या थिएन कि भाग्दै कहाँ थिए बीटीआर बाट त्यो गाडी लिएर त्यो पनि मुख्यमा प्लेयर आइसकेपछि त्यो पनि फाइनल सर्कलमा इनिशियल पेज को पुश हुन्थ्यो भने डिफरेंट थिङ एमपी देख्न सक्छौ डी प्लस के यो म्याचमा के पोइन्ट्स आएको थियो बट यो भन्दा बेटर कम्प्लिटली गर्न सक्यो उनीले त्यो उनीहरुले गर्न भ्याएन या गरेन आईएचसी को टिम 8.4 एमपी 7 पोइन्ट डीआरएस 3 पोइन्ट डिसअपोइन्टिङ अवस्था यहाँ रहेको छ अघिल्लो म्याचमा दुई थियो सायद यो म्याचमा 1 पोइन्ट्स आयो डीआरएस को अल थ्रु द एलिमिनेसन सर्भाइभल को देख्न पाइएको छैन उता भ्याम्पायरको कुरा गर्ने भने अघिल्लो म्याचमा 0 थियो यो म्याचमा 4 पोइन्ट्स निकाल्यो मजा आउँछ यो ग्रुपको म्याच हेर्न अति मजा आउँछ घरिघरि मुख अलिकता दुख्ने पनि हुन सक्छ अलिकता मन दुख्ने पनि हुन सक्छ चसक्क हुने पनि हुन सक्छ बट यो ग्रुप हेर्न यो ग्रुपको म्याच हेर्न अति मजा आउँछ यसमा कुनै डाउट छैन
या पक्का पनि हामी ग्रुप अफ डेथ भनेर बार भनिरहेका छौँ जसरी पर्फर्मेन्स पनि आइरहेको छ टिमहरुको सुरुवातमा एउटा म्याच हेर्दा लागिरहेको छ ग्रुप अफ डेथ त यो हो भनेर म आफैलाई पनि जब पछिल्लो वीक कास्ट गरिरहेको थिएँ यो वीक कास्ट गरिरहेको छु एउटै इभेन्ट गरिरहेको जस्तो फिल भइरहेको छ त्यहाँ जसरी म्याचेसहरु अगाडि बढ्दै यहाँ सुरुवात जसरी पाएका छौँ बट प्लेयर्सको टिम फेरि पनि यो मोमेन्टम पकड्न सकेको छैन पहिलो म्याच हामीले धेरै कुरा गरेनौँ त्यो म्याचको बारेमा बिकज सानो रहेको थियो अभियसली त्यहाँ के हुन्छ कसैले पनि प्रेडिक्ट गरिदैन बट इराङ्गलमा थोरै बेटर एक्सपेक्ट गरिरहेका थिए कि हुन सकेन उसले अर्को इराङ्गल आउँदैछ अर्को इमिडिएट अपर्चुनिटी तपाईले पाउँदै हुनुहुन्छ हुन त अहिलेको लागि चित्त बुझ्छ भेम्पायरको सँगै छ उनीहरू माथि बढ्यो भने हामी पनि बढ्ला नि सँगसँगै भनेर भेम्पायरलाई पनि टप हाइली रेट गरिरहेका छौँ हामीले उनीहरूको पर्फर्मेन्स आएको छैन बट केटीहरु भन्छ सुरुवात पनि भन्दै हुन्थ्यो नि पुरै यो ग्रुपको स्टोरी लाइन नै एउटै हो कि फेरि पनि विदाउट टिम जो स्टाब्लिश टिम रहेका छन् रडारमा रहने टिमहरु रहेका छन् उनीहरूको पर्फर्मेन्स आएर उनीहरूले अरु सबैलाई सरप्राइज गर्ने हो अथवा केही नयाँ टिम जसको बारेमा धेरै कुरा भएको छैन उनीहरूको पर्फर्मेन्स आउँछ भनेर अहिलेको लागि यस बीटीआर टिम राम्रो खेलेको छ इभन आईएनएफ टिमले पनि प्वाइन्ट लिएर आएको छ तर केही टिम रहेका छन् जसको बारेमा हामीले धेरै कुरा गरेका थिएनौँ होला आईएनएफ को टिमको कुरा हुन्थ्यो बीटीआर को टिमको कुरा हुन्थ्यो एमएम को कुरा गरौँ पीएफ को कुरा गरौँ उनीहरूको बारेमा हामी धेरै कुरा गर्दैनथ्यौँ अनि यहाँ दुई म्याच सकिदासम्म छाटकाट देखाएका छन् यी टिमहरुले पनि राम्रो च्यालेन्ज प्रस्तुत गर्छन् भनेर
या केही गर्छन् भन्ने फिल हुँदैछ त्यहाँ हामीले जुन अन्डरडग भनिदै थियो कसरी भन्ने उनीहरूलाई अन्डरडग मनले अलिकता मान्दैन बट उनीहरू सही गेम देखाउँदैछन् दुई म्याच सकियो अझै पनि र्याङ्क आउने हो या असली बल थियो यो यसमा हामीले गेम देखाउन पाएन फर्स्ट म्याच हामीलाई हामी एक्सक्लुड गर्दै थियो यो म्याचमा हाम्रो अप्रोच के भयो हामी पहिला प्रिजन साइडमा गयो एक्सपेक्टिङ कि थोरै लिपका साइडको शिफ्ट आउँछ भनेर बट नो टोटल्ली कर्नर शिफ्ट आउँछ जहाँ फोरएमबीको लागि सर्कल बन्दिन्छ या फोरएमबी सर्कलमा इजिली एन्ट्री पाउने अवस्थामा सर्कल बन्दिन्छ यो किन भन्दैछ भने ब्रिजमा थियो फोरएमबी तब सर्कल अलमोस्ट फर्म हुँदै थियो कोही साइडबाट रोटेट गर्ने उनीहरू मस्ट नेपाली पनि त्यही गरे अपार्टमेन्ट समात्यो भने उनीहरू धेरै राम्रो गेम प्ले उनीहरूले त्यहाँबाट निकाल्न सकेन डीआरएस बीटीआरको केसमा नक निकालेको पुश गर्न त्यहाँ गइएको थिएन वन नकमा पुश गर्ने अहिलेसम्म ह्याबिट बनाएको छैन यो सन्देशको एडिसन पछि अब पीएमपीएल आइपुग्दासम्ममा के होला इन्हान्स गर्न सकिन्छ एज खेलिदिएको थियो एज युजुअल बट जुन तरिकाले पुश आयो त्यो मजा आउँदै थियो
या पक्कै पनि त्यो सिचुएसन क्रिएट भइरहेको थियो बट सुरुवात रमाइलो भएको छ ओभरअल ग्रुपको कन्टेक्स्टलाई हेर्ने हो भने त्यो ग्रुपको म्याचेसको कम्पिटिसन यदि हेर्छौँ भने त्यो सुरुवात राम्रो भएको छ हाम्रो लागि सुरुवात राम्रो भएको छैन हाम्रो लागि नट ओन्ली डीआरएस हाम्रो पुरै साउथ एसियाको लागि त्यो खालको सुरुवात भएको छ नि आईएचसीले जसो तसो गरेर त्यो एउटा ड्रप क्लासमा सेम9लाई बिट गर्यो सेम9 र आईएचसी के हुन्छ अब त्यो पनि हामी हेर्न पाउने छौँ इमिडिएटली जब नेक्स्ट इराङ्गल हाम्रो अगाडि आउँदैछ सेम9 र आईएचसी जब फेरि लड्दैनन् कि सेम9 फर्केर जाने बारेमा सोच्ने हो र चाकु पनि खाइयो आएर पुस पनि खाइयो अलिकति आफ्नै क्रेटमा गोली पनि खाइयो त्यो सबै ब्याटर पछाडि के उनीहरू त्यो ठाउँ छोड्ने हो त्यो इगोको वारमा उनीहरू अब हामी नलड्ने भनेर छोडिदिन्छन् अथवा फेरि पनि लड्नको लागि इगो सेटिस्फाई गर्न इगो हट भएर फेरि आउने त्यो सबै कुराहरू देख्न पाइन्छ भने हाम्रो लागि स्टार्ट राम्रो चाहिएको छ
अबे जो भी रे पंटे देख रहे हो लाइक या सब्सक्राइब कर दो यार अरे मोटिवेशन मिलेगा यार आप लोग सब्सक्राइब कर दो यार सब्सक्राइब नहीं करते यार लाइक भी नहीं करते यार अरे बंदों पे शेयर कर दो यार अरे ऐसे लेटेस्ट नया वीडियो पीएमजीसी के जो वीडियो आएगा सबका हम वॉच पार्टी करेंगे
इभन लेटर फेजमा पनि तीनजना प्लेयर अगाडि कम्पिट पनि अफ एंगलमा पछाडिबाट एकजनाले कभर दिनै रहेका थिए त्यहाँ अलिकति म्याच बिग्रिन पुग्यो उनीहरूको हुन त त्यहाँबाट अगाडि
नेपाली पे करेंगे इस बार इंग्लिश में नहीं करेंगे मैं नेपाली पे करूंगा ठीक है
स्पेस पसेको थिएन त्यो ट्याङ्क भएको एरियामा प्यान्जर भएको एरियामा डिप डिप रहेको छ यसमा पछाडि त्यहाँ गएर फाइटमा एक नक पनि निकाल्यो भने त्यहाँ चारजना प्लेयर अलरेडी रहेका थिए आफ्नो एकजना टिममेट अलरेडी डाउन हुँदा खासै गर्न सक्ने अवस्था रहेको थिएन सो मेबी 4MB जुन आफ्नो खेल्ने स्टाइल रहेको छ नट नरहेको खुलेर लडेर खेल्छ त्यही अप्रोच लिन त खोजिरहेको छ बट सँगसँगै थोरै कतै न कतै कसन पनि चाहिने छ आफैलाई बेला बेलामा आफैलाई रोकेर राख्न सक्ने क्षमता पनि चाहिन्छ होपफुली टिमले त्यो गेन गरिसकेको छ यो बीचको यत्रो ड्युरेसनमा भनेर हामी आशा गरौँ किनकि त्यो टिममाथि दाउ धेरैले लगाएका छन्
धेरैको आशा रहेको छ साउथ एसियाबाट सबसे बेस्ट र्याङ्क यिनीहरूले ल्याउँछन् कि भन्ने पनि फिल गर्न सकिन्छ हुन त उता स्टलवर्ड छ एउटा कन्सिस्टेन्ट टिम एभ्री लबीको साउथ एसिया होस् या ग्लोबल लबीको त्यो उनीहरूले नाम बनाएको छ त्यो टिम छ बट त्यो टिम र यो टिमको बिचमा पनि एउटा मिठो कम्पिटिसन चलिरहेको छ राइभलरी चलिरहेको छ जुन हेर्नमा हामी खुसी छौँ किनभने अहिले हामी पुप गर्न सकिसकेका छैनौँ या उनीहरूलाई बिल्ड गर्न सकिसकेका छैनौँ बट उनीहरूको अन्तर्गतै ब्याटल भन्दा आफ्नै रिजनमा जसको बारेमा हामी बारम्बार देख्न पाउँछौँ म्याचहरू त्यो पनि त एउटा फन पार्ट पनि रहने गर्छ Anyway, 2 म्याच सकियो भ्याम्पायर पछाडी छ 4MB पछाडी छ आईएससी चल्न सकेको छैन आईएनएफ को टिमको अघिल्लो म्याच पनि लक फ्याक्टरले बढी फेभर गरेको थियो यो म्याचमा ओन्ली एलिमिनेसन चलेको अहिले सम्म लबीमा भन्ने भने दुईटा टिमले बीटीआरले इम्प्रेस गर्यो अलरेडी 2 म्याचमै फिल भइसक्यो उनीहरुको इन्टेन्ट उनीहरुको खेल्ने तरिका पुश गर्ने भनेपछि गर्ने यो अप्रोच मिसिङ छ भन्दा भन्दै हाम्रो कति टाइम गइसक्यो अब सायद यो स्प्लिट्समा आउला कि किन भन्दा जुन चोट परेछ नि यो पाली जुन त्यत्रो टिम हुँदा 6 स्लट हुँदाखेरि कोही क्वालिफाई नहुनु भन्ने कुरा जुन चोट परेछ नि आई बिलिभ सबैले अब त करियरमै कुरा आइसक्यो अब त अडियन्सले पनि हामीलाई कसरी पत्याउने भन्ने ठाउँमा कुरा आइसक्यो अब त चेन्जेस लिएर आउनेछन् यो पीएमपीएलमा खतरी चेन्जेस हुनेछ पीएमपीएल या पीएमएसएल जित्दैछ बिकज त्यसको बारेमा पनि अपडेट आएको
If you're going to play that split 2-2, you got to be a bit more aggressive. You know, the two-player split need to make noise to potentially fend off teams, or you know, at least damage the teams that are going to be four-man, bum rushing them. And so far, I don't know. I feel like the performance so far is looking a little bit like D+.
It's not going to be great and highly, certainly. They're going to have to hope for the curve to kick in, maybe bump that one up a little bit, but they have another opportunity now as we go into our third match of the day. Erangel will be once again the grassy pasture upon which we lay our scene. It is the second of today's billings of Erangel as well, so we'll see if people can pick it up here, most notably in our minds, Vampire. They need to show up now. It is only day one, sure, but you can't leave it to the last minute. Not like Gladiator, because they left it far too late. It didn't even show up in the end anyway. So you do want to be making sure that you keep up that pace. I bring up Gladiator for a specific reason, in that we've always talked about them as a team that comes back to the later stages of the tournament, right? But that means that generally you give them a little leeway early on. But so far in this second season of 2023, they haven't really shown that propensity to be able to pick up the pace later on. So Vampire looking to try and play in a opposite style to that. They will want to pick up the pace as early as possible.
I mean, the game of Gladiators, they did come back. They came from getting eliminated completely to making it into this environment.
Okay, sure.
There's that. And the drop, the hot drop, right around the shelter area. Is it going to happen? Sem 9? No. There is no, I think it was IHC in Sem 9, right? There is no hot drop down. So IHC, even though they came out on top, are going to give that spot up and drop elsewhere. I'm trying to figure out, looking at where all the players are dropping now, where they could be stretching for. They might be going towards that. Yeah. That George Pool area, as there's 3 teams stretching towards that way. Yeah, I see IHC, Rook, and another team. The names are blocking it as in the camera. Uh-oh. Gotta time that vehicle. Dash away at the opportune time as bullets are coming in. And out of bullets, he will make it out alive.
Yeah, just going to have to try and get away with that. A lot of damage done to the vehicle, though. So West Carry, sure, you get the UAS, but it is smoking already, so very unlikely that you're going to be able to do too much work with that. Does, however, deprive Major Pride of a vehicle themselves. Tony K with the pistol, coming on through for Vampire. Okay, good start. Let's keep it rolling. Muerte over on that eastern side, losing a player early on. So Tony K will be able to pitch that vehicle away. There was backup coming on through. Duarte lose a player. Good start for the eastern side, but the circle shifts all the way out to the west. Keeps a little bit of Sosnoff grid as well.
Far western circle here. A little bit of military base in play. It shouldn't be too important, but more so for circle, a lot of landmass already cut off. So teams have less areas to consider on the first zone. And yeah, just one casualty so far, Vampire. Maybe hearing some of what the Dust has to say, what we had to say, is going to start off with a little pip in their step, picking that one quick point up. We'll see how much more they can pick up. Meanwhile, I'm looking at the map, and yeah, all the teams are spread out. IHC did go down to South George, Rook up in the North George area. Brute Force all the way up in Severny, taking their good old time looting, and Brute Force did come in with the Brute Force that last match, picking up a lot of points.
Yeah, they were able to do a lot from that northern side in the previous match. They were finding decent fights. I think they took down Rook first on that northern position, and they were able to fight fairly with quite a lot of strength, actually, on that northern edge. I can't remember who ended up taking them down, but they got a lot of points for their match. And now, obviously, ending up in second place, 23 points over 2 matches is no mean feat, right? That's what is that, 11.5 average per match. So it's a really, really solid result so far from a team that maybe people will have undervalued coming on through. And you know, even the desk would say this is a team that maybe not top 3, but certainly a strong contender in the course of those survival stages as well. Right now, they're in the top 3, so they could potentially be looking to keep that ball rolling.
Yeah, we will see. It is the first day. And typically from these very high stakes tournaments, the first day performances doesn't really pan way and shape out towards, by day number 4. Maybe, a few of the teams near the top will hold that position, but more than likely a lot of teams will be switched around coming into day 2 and 3. So fingers crossed for the team. Maybe they have more to prove, as we will see very soon. On the Southside Military Base, we do have Vibes here. About to make a rotation. The bridge where Team Queso is starting to look a little bit contested. DRS and Queso both looking in this direction.
Moving quite close to one another. Looks like DRS are just a little bit ahead on the circle. Taking control of this tree line to the south, the compound that sits there, DRS, very valuable for the current circle as it lies. You get great sight lines to control the field south to the south. You have a lot of rotational control along that coastline with the trees that sit behind you. The question is, how long can you hold a split? And most teams will isolate themselves into this compound, which is what DRS are looking to do in this position, because you still have cover over the tree line, and you still can spot players out. And if Team Queso post up behind them, actually over towards the lighthouse as well, over on the bridge, there's a lot less that people can do to move around on your south. So DRS again with bodyguards on that south side, seemingly.
Queso spots out Vibes, but more importantly, Vibes spots out Queso, so the trap will not be successful. Reyes maybe getting there just in the most not perfect timing to be, seen as he was driving up towards that lighthouse. I imagine that's the only thing that kind of tipped off the team of Vibes, because none of the other Queso players are really camping right on top of the bridge. So Reyes will miss out on that opportunity. As Genesis about to finish up looting here in Razak. Should be making their way in very soon.
Ichi just getting some more loot on board. Grabbing that utility. Influence Rage, third place right now. On the overalls, they didn't have as good of a time on the first airing goal as they did over on Sanok, but they still were able to keep up pace at 22 points. Certainly a good result. With that chicken dinner under their belt as well, they're good for tiebreakers at the moment. Major Pride, they've spotted the backline though, and Law under pressure from effect on that DP, but will not be able to find the knock just there on that rotate. Gets to cover. A Major Pride going to have to move in, potentially behind them now, as Influence Rage find that leapfrog on the position.
Influence Rage having a great first 2 games nonetheless, picking up a lot of points. Law putting some shots out real quick, just signal other potential teams driving by. This place is occupied. We've seen a lot of players do this when they're the first to get to a certain compound and the other reinforcements of the team not just there yet. Vibes taking the eastern bridge now. This might throw them off just enough to really impact their late game, because they wanted a more central position on this first rotation. They were looking at the bridge that Queso was camping out around. Demorte rolls up with only 3, as they did lose 1 to Tony K.
On the hills to the south of DRS, I mean, moving down on these hills, there's almost going to be a team in this compound already. I don't think Demorte are going to be looking for a crash. They'll just hold this line and get ahead of Team Queso on that position. Team Queso is still on the bridge camp right now, which is obviously being turned away. They spotted that turnaround, and in fact now Vibes have made it over the eastern bridge. They have made their way through over on that side instead. As Vampire moving from Milta as well. BTR not quite able to land the shots onto the vibes as they make their way even closer to the center now. We'll get the next shift in just a second.
Ooh, what a shift. Hard shift down to the southeast. That white line from the circle is basically touching the blue zone there. So we're going to see a max as exodus of teams to the west. Typically with zones like this, even if you have other teams driving next to you, everyone kind of knows mutually like, hey, we need to get in on this rotation, because if we stop here and fight, there's 10 more teams coming right behind us. So we're going to see everyone drive next to each other, get as deep as they can, get central if possible. But we are heading into a potential quarry finish.
Sam 9 from the east side trying to move ahead of BTR right now. A lot of teams starting to clash. DRS flexing out towards the hillside. They've given up territory in this compound and are playing now up the top here. Weibo, potential answer there, but they're quite tight on the shots.
WBG.
Yeah, Weibo stopping here.
Versus DRS.
They would definitely have liked to gone a bit more central, but this kind of gives them control of that hill, and they know with that hill they can manage to methodically push up towards the later stages. Once the zone is pressing more teams forwards, they can get vision on top of the hill. Vampire, down to 2. BTR also losing 2. No, not just yet, just one of BTR knocked here against Sem 9. Sem 9 also getting traded right there. A 1-for-1. Making this a... Oh no, 2.
There was another BTR. Further down the hill, and you are very, very low. The nade might be able to find it around the corner. Not going to tag on the damage, and look at the sliver of HP that's keeping you high in an excellently timed knock. That comes from a third party. That's Furia from Demuerte with a side angle. Lapar stepping on out to try and look for the challenge here. And Sam 9 are in trouble, trying to force their way on through past BTR. Jetboss is still alive, and a lovely pickup for Lapar. What a heads-up play. It's all on the player down the hill as well, and BTR keep it together. 4 players all still alive. The rotate is here. Demuerte a little bit too slow for a full third party, and it's only Furia for the side angle shots.
Yeah, Demuerte with only 3 can't really press that third party as much as they might like. The BTR get the full reset. BTR looking so strong and confident. Aggressive too. I don't know if they knew that third party shot helped them out, but regardless, they were playing defense in the compound, but the player was popping out the doors with the shotgun, took the fight over. And BTR now rotating with 4, looking absolutely phenomenal.
Vampire eliminate bhai sahab.
The knock from the third party was really important, I think, for the progress of that fight for BTR. But that flick with the DBS, changing the windows immediately, really solid pickup. And the team continues to impress me. Well, on the other side of that coin, Vampire, absolutely not what you want to be seeing. Down in really early fashion. I think it was 15th place. It's not good enough.
And they went out on rotation too. It didn't even look like it was a fight. So not being able to, losing a majority, the whole team on rotation is a really poor sign. At this level, that's like rookie mistakes. You should know your pathing well enough to maybe, at worst lose 1 to 2, but the whole team went out there. So Vampire, I'm not really sure what they're doing at all. Hopefully, they'll turn things around coming into the last half of today, but it is not looking good. BTR, on the other hand, right? Well, they're continuing to impress us.
Genesis, north side. Trying to linger their way through. Trying to slow down those players on the north edge. But they are playing from that edge position now. BTR, they've been holding on to Ferry for quite a while, obviously, successfully previously. Demuerte potentially still looking for third party here. As Vibes maybe wanting to roll on up and cause some trouble over there. In the meantime, Storm close by to Influence Rage on the southwest side to the position south of that quarry area. Trying to hold on, and BTR starting off strong. First knock goes their way, and the second as well. Lapar just too slick with the DBS for them. And Vibes lose 2 players. There's nothing they can do to get them back.
BTR just can't. They keep getting screen time. And screen time is good for them as they're on the positive end of that screen time every time. And they did lose that last match, which they should have won, but they picked up so many points and they were so dominant all the way throughout that. Even without the chicken, they're still keeping that momentum rolling. And this player, Brandon, he needs to keep that car rolling. He stopped short. I mean, the car is on fire. Out in the open, runs around, realizes, hey, I might be alive here to make the run all the way back, but wants to get that pickup instead. Wise choice. They will stay alive with 2.
Yeah, Baron trying to get out of there with East in the vehicle. Try and stay together. You've got D+, you've got DRS, you've got I think that's Major Pride out to the west. It's not too many places you can hold up. Instead, they just go into this compound, unoccupied right now, and actually pretty decent position, all things considered. The Muay and BTR probably have their sights set on it, however, depending on if they want to crash into the teams at the top of the hill later on. So we'll see what decision both BTR and Muay make on this east side.
On the north side, you have Genesis and Weibo Gaming. Both of these teams will have to make a decision pretty quickly, as Zone should most likely shift away from them. These teams are all set up in their respective positions. Many teams you see on this map also still with 4 players up alive.
Shifting down. So onto those teams on that ridge line that we were talking about before, D+, DRS having been here for quite a while in this area, holding down this zone. Major Pride very central again. This is, I think, the third time of today where we've seen Major Pride get zone, I think it's zone 4 in all cases, giving them a little bit of favour. So hopefully they can stay alive a little bit longer than last time. Last Erangel, of course, that third party from BTR was their comeuppance, even though they were playing in what I would say is a very coordinated and coherent, aggressive, decisive start.
Bino Storm getting shot at here by the IHC team. Many teams on this quarry position will have to struggle for some sort of foothold, as much of it is being cut away from the zone. Rook on the north side with a 1-2-1 split, 2 down the center. Bino Storm on the south with all 4 stacked up. That does leave IHC in a difficult position. 2 strong teams right ahead of them. Which way is IHC going to take this? It looks like they're looking more towards the north side in the direction of Rook. And speaking about north side, here comes Weibo Gaming from the north. All 4 in one vehicle. This looks like a full send. I'm thinking onto the position of Major Pride, as that compound does have a lot of space in these little apartment buildings around them, and yeah, they will full send in here. All 4 make it in, and this is center zone, so most likely more circles to be happening here. Effect with a good nade toss in, doesn't get any connections. Just a lot of damage onto Ming, but no knock. This one should be good.
Second on the follow-up, that should be a knock, but no, it's finding its way around the corners, around the cracks and crevices. Smoke's starting to bloom. Major Pride want to push onto this. Third-party potential to come on through as Genesis try and find their way down the hill, but they're bleeding players on their progress. DRS taking care of that. Moby close by, but he's knocked down by a nade. This is disastrous for Major Pride. They were lobbing nades in left and right and just haven't been able to find value for them. Moby crawling back through this smoke train, nade on in towards the warehouse. Effect goes low. Nomi takes another tick of damage, but they have to reposition. A smoke from Naomi. I wonder if they know Naomi's here. Can Naomi strike and keep things together for Major Pride? Naomi crawls back, and they are real tail between the legs right now, because it is a little bit the opposite of what they would have wanted in this scenario for Major Pride. They have not been able to find anything against Weibo.
Nomi had a great nade opportunity, but he threw it through the door, through the window, out of the building. He should have known that window was there. I know the smoke was obscuring the vision, but at this level, at this stage, even if you don't have the vision, you should know the layout to toss the nade to bounce it. So unfortunate for the IHC now pulling up here. So many teams on this edge side. IHC, they're definitely not going to make it out of this one. Not with 4 players up, I don't think.
It'll be real tough. Look at the cluster of teams on the northwestern edge. Nades flying left and right. D+, I mean, realistically, this is a team that very much could just sweep across this side. And with the circle sitting as it does now, moving across, moving up to quarry, probably in their purview. Now, will they be able to take control of the fight down to the south side? After DRS is taken care of, they're looking at Weibo, they're looking at Major Pride in that compound that they are still scrapping.
Here comes the push. We were saying D+ wasn't looking aggressive enough, too passive. Now, this time around, might be the zone shifts, but this is an easy warpath for them. They know this is their only option. How good can they execute it is the question. They finish out a couple players up to 5 eliminations, playing way better now. Looking like a D+ performance going up to a B+. We'll see how much more. Yeah.
It's a tough grade, you know. Brute Force is going to be eliminated in the meantime. They're not going to be too good on those exams just yet. Major Pride, they're still alive as 4. They still have a couple of nades, but have they? I guess they've taken the decision to just allow Weibo to be in this building, right? And you just suppress them from trying to move them out. They do have a back position, so it's 3-on-1 right now. So Major Pride fell out of that. They didn't really have too much of a choice, though.
I mean, Weibo is in a great spot for Major Pride to third party. On that north side, any teams crashing in is going to look for those buildings to crash in particular. So they're just waiting for a team to crash, then they can throw nades and get a 2-for-1 special, right? Pick up more potential ELEM points. We'll see if that comes to fruition. Any team on the north side that would crash would be D+, but it looks like they're sweeping around here to the quarry side. They've actually cut in front of many of the teams. One player holding the high ground on the south side. It's a different story, though. It's an isolated fight, a 4v4. BTR versus Team Queso, and with BTR
along these trees, Influence Rage playing as so it's a fairly even fight. Potential for third parties across the way. I think that is Bino Storm actually chiming in on that scrap. Hang on a minute, what just happened? D+ on the northern side. They've been dismantled. Let's root to hold them out from the edge of quarry.
The zone closing in a way where it didn't allow for D+ to have much to work with. And here comes the push from BT. Look at this, BTR has breached in with not a single player of them getting knocked. That was a lot of ground to cover, so they dodged a lot of nades. Queso should have been ready for this. Queso should have put some more damage, but now BTR is right at their doorstep with all 4. That nade does get extremely close, however.
Gets a little bit of value, but can be healed away. Jetforce on the off angle, spotted behind the buggy, hits the deck to try and stay alive, and gets to cover. BTR are just surviving through this right now. Artua's not able to get the spray down onto the backline player. Satar turns the corner, TPS goes super low, and a second will be able to finish it off. Lapar in the meantime steps on inside. You've got Superboy, Yuhai, sailing on in from the back of that. Jetforce can strike from the ultimate angle. And again, it's control. Time and time again for BTR. Can they finish it off against Big Milo? The last player stand, Jetforce is there, gets knocked. He's looking for the flush as well, wants to find the points where he can, because he knows he doesn't have the highest potential. Moving on forwards with only the 2 players, steps into the shack, looks for the res. BTR may be taken down a peg.
BTR gets that reset, so does Team Queso, though, but look at this new zone. It has shifted down south, so now other teams are looking this way. Influence Rage had a long-distance third party onto BTR members, so now this is the position they want to look towards and work towards. 2 of them wrapping in north to the strong compound next to the roadside. Another player from Influence Rage on the backlines to third party and pin everyone in here. And there it goes. One player Queso, still one up. He's inside the shack looking for the revive. Federal should have this one. Pin pulls the nade back.
Oh no,
back forth. Ooh.
He bounced off his teammate. That was so unfortunate on the timing there. Like the nade on target. Another nade comes on through, and it's Team Queso to go down to Influence Rage, who are moving in now with 3. Nades from Major Pride starting to chime in. This is on the north side as we hop on over to this scrap. Weibo have lost a lot of power here. Major Pride managed to get that heal off, stopping those angles for effect with that Molotov as he surges forward. There's a nade being cooked inside the bathroom, and in fact, repositions away from it. He hears that pin, just going to fall away, allow his teammates to establish the crossfire, keep him nice and safe, tuck them into the lead, and get ahead of this rotation. You don't need to take this fight. You've already done enough.
That was a very that was a disciplined play, but a little bit too late. Gets caught through the smoke. He had all the steps down correctly, but the spray from Weibo is good. And now the push, the solo should be stopped very soon. Nade comes in, a flash comes in as well, and he goes down. BTR is still on the warpath now having to deal with Influence Rage 2v2 situation as Lil Boy went down and lolled down to 1 HP.
Federal on the outside as well. Going to be looking to commit for this res. The Molotov towards the bottom of the stairs stops the push, but actually fully disengages the fight. Superboy, UI out through the window, drops down, seals the deal over onto Law. Both players hopping out, now he's hopping back in. UI giving him the split, and he lights both of them up. A miraculous play for BTR, holding Influence Rage on the south side, and this is a championship team. 11 eliminations. They are converting on a strong performance. Now Major Pride, in the meantime, trying to roll in with 3 players alive. They are just getting torn apart as their progress is drawn to a halt.
अरे भाई 4 vehicle wipe भी मार रहा है यार.
That looked nasty on screen, but the mini-map looked even worse. Has all the white lines from both teams on both sides, all shooting north. They stood no chance. At least they want to fight against Weibo Gaming. I think that's the best they can hope for with a zone shift like this one. Now we are down to the final 4 teams. One team caught in the middle, the Morte. They got the chicken last time, but BTR looking to take it away. See where the zone shifts here. Rook with the man advantage with 3, all the other teams with only 2.
BTR on the south side, I mean, what a set of plays from UI. With that DBS just doing so much work. Seems like he just doesn't miss. I'm really loving watching BTR. In these first few matches, they're looking to extend such a massive lead as well. They've already got, I think it was 11 eliminations on this match. This is definitely a team to beat the next few days.
Yeah, BTR right now, after everything I saw last week and so far this week, individually the BTR players have such strong mechanical skills. I think we caught so many fast reps with DBS, really helping BTR win out that fight by coming in. They didn't have zone, and it was a tough push. Two of them go down.
East is able to hold out by the vehicle, pushes out actually towards potentially, but he's getting smoke. He pops the DBS shot, so he's known in this close location. He's not landing, sailing left, right, and East is holding on that front. 1 versus 3 is able to hold them entirely. UI is broken out very wide on a 1-1 split. Remember, there's only 2 players remaining for BTR. La Paz still has that high ground roof.
Yeah, East is popping off 7 eliminations, and he is just on a tear right now. You saw how fast he fended off that push and then immediately went back and almost caught the player, sneaking out from the entire other side of the map. So East is just dialed in, head on a swivel. And it did force that player back. He is no longer going to play at that ridgeline, it seems, as the shots from East will push him away. Next circle will determine which team gets favored here. Can't possibly fit all 3 teams on the next one. Most likely BTR, I think, will have to be pushed out unless if they get that circle down south towards them.
This is the 2nd time in a row now that Demuerte have cut a rotation through the center of the circle and found themselves in a stronghold position in the middle to survive into the late game. It's paid off well for them, and obviously they are going to be amongst the top teams. I feel like I've still yet to see a full, amazing mechanical display like we've seen from BTR, but Demuerte still making good decisions into these later circles.
Sometimes that's all you need, and if you can do that consistently across every game throughout the 4 days, you could definitely end up in the top 3. Next zone. Who is it going to favor? And it does favor BTR. It goes down right on top of them. It's going to be another Demuerte BTR standoff, in my opinion. Unless East can do something about this from the team of Vibes, if anyone's going to be able to pull off something now, I think it's East. He is on fire.
I don't think they can step out for the challenge against Demuerte, though. With La Paz on this high ground, you can see he's being very diligent, checking all the grass spots, checking all the bushes, even pre-firing on the angles as well. Corker spotted. Baron steps up, spray. Corker has to shimmy forwards, and he gets away with it. That was dead to rights right there. Baron should be hitting those sprays, but just misses.
That would have been a huge knock. Because right now, Vibes have to work past 2 different DP spots. Saw the player though in the bush, and that's an easy one.
picks up the point. Corker dispatched almost immediately by Lepar. He had to shimmy out, draw attention. And now it's Vibes versus BTR. 12 eliminations. Are BTR going to be able to pick up the chicken dinner that they were denied right at the end of the previous Erangel? Or is it going to go the way of Vibes to be able to spoil it for them yet again? Just not quite tracking there, Lepar. It's unfortunate. But it's going to allow East up into the building, in through the window, up to the top floor as well. He sat right underneath his enemy.
East is like a missile. So much suppressive fire, but it does not deter him whatsoever. He just keeps pressing straight forwards. Question is, can his teammate Baron get in the zone? That's not in circle, and I don't think East can pressure Lepar off this rooftop. Lepar knows there's that one player outside still. He should be focusing on that player. Just look to dodge some nades. He's not really looking though. And oh, he's actually going for the... Oh, I see what he tried to do there. It might have been better that he fell off because East was right there waiting for him. 2v1 situation now inside his compound. Good molly! Does not work though. 2v1, East is down.
These DBSs for BTR are just too strong. You can't do anything about it. At BTR, they go second, they go, no, that's not good enough. Let's take a chicken dinner. They do so on the south coast. Very Pier, their stronghold. They held down the compounds on the south side for so long. They racked up so many points this match. BTR on a record-breaking tear right now.
On a warpath, indeed. And this time around, cameras on them once again. But it's with the chicken. BTR get the eliminations like last time, and now they tag on an extra couple points with that massive chicken dinner. They did get the zone working towards their favor down in the south though, but it was not easy. It was through many opposition in the path. I think they fought a total of maybe 4 or 5 teams. They fought 2 teams early on, and then Queso, and then Influence Rage. And I mean, if you could cut through 4 teams, hey, give them the circle for that chicken dinner.
I mean, yeah, it's definitely a hard-fought victory there. 6 eliminations for Lepar, 1.2k damage as well. This guy was on fire. Yuhai had some clutch shots with the DBS, but I think Lepar was certainly on a par with him and exceeded him in terms of those stats. But really, really strong stuff. I mean, this roster, it just feels like there's something special going on right now.
I think the only way you can stop BTR is as a team. So far on camera, I've seen so many quick 1v1 challenges, close range, and BTR always came out on top in those 1v1 challenges with that DBS. It was like all 4 players looked almost identical with how crisp and clean their aim was.
The last time BTR were able to take a PMGC or a global level tournament, I think was back in Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur a few years ago. So it looks like they're trying to really gear up to take everybody to task here. It's early doors, and I understand that things can change, but BTR, they look to be in control right now.
I mean, as you're saying, John, this Bigatron, it's giving me serious vibes of the old school team, as you mentioned, over in Kuala Lumpur, and the way they are playing today, the confidence they're having today, they look almost unstoppable, 7 Cameron.
Yeah, they really do. The way they were able to push onto Team Queso, that was the most impressive thing, given that Team Queso did an awful defending there in their compound. But for Bigatron to not lose any players, right? They end up losing 2 players when they actually end up fighting Team Queso. And then Influence Rage decides third party, and Bigatron is able to keep their composure and win that fight without even losing any more players. That was super impressive, and that just shows like the performance that this team's currently on, right? Second place, first match, second place, second match, first place here at the first match. I can't wait till we see that overall. And we were talking earlier about gaps. Boy, I there's gonna be a pretty big gap.
Yeah, no, there's definitely a gap between them already, and at this point, I see no reason to assume that it's going to stop anytime soon. Like, other teams might be getting more and more warmed up, might, through their winning their own duels, their own gunfights, might have a little more confidence to go head-to-head, but, like, this is going to put BTR in such a good position after the first day. Even if everything starts over again going into tomorrow, they're going to have such a buffer that I think it'll have to be a disaster for them to not be in top 3. I know it's really early to say that, but the way that they're playing, I just can't help but believe.
Yeah, I mean, I think all of us sort of agrees with you, and I think Indonesia are going to be extremely happy about this team and how well they've been able to perform. We obviously have to mention really quickly their Vampire. I think that was 1 point for them in this match, looking like shades of them for of their former selves. But as we did mention, Lepar getting themselves 1,200 damage. He had more damage done by himself than his entire team combined.
He did. I mean, 6 elims too. And then, to be fair though, the rest of the team was able to put good numbers too. I was talking about this at the beginning of the show. My main focus was Yuhai, now Superboy. Was he going to be able to perform? But now everybody's being able to perform. And as we progress through PUBG Mobile esports, this is what we want to see. We don't want to see players, and look at that gap right there between Bigatron and Influence Rage.
That's
20 point.
1 point shy of being twice the points of second place. That's stupid. But like, that's what you expect when you get second, first. At very close seconds, by the way. Like, it wasn't, they didn't just fall over when the final fights. They got so close to getting 3 wins in a row.
You know what's also kind of maddening about this 33 elims, more points and elims than anyone else in the lobby has total. But you know, we also have to give a shout out to Duarte as well, because we're talking about second, first. They're able to get a first place finish in the last match and a third place finish here. They have been, for me, one of the most surprising teams in a positive note so far.
Yeah, I wasn't really putting a lot of stake behind them myself. Their recent results were like amazing, they were outstanding, and with new players coming on in not too long ago, a couple being added in August, you know, there's always going to be a little bit of lead-up time, but it seems that they've done a really good job of gelling everyone together.
Furia and I believe Korka coming.
After 3 matches, after 2 Erangels, I'm like, ooh, you might be onto something, Jason.
Yeah, I mean, you want to give them a little bit of slack because the plane drop, whatever, has put a lot of people around them from the very beginning. But at some point, they need to be winning these gunfights. That's really the big issue. That's really the big concern, is that, like, the dueling is just not favoring them, and this is supposed to be one of the favorites in this group. They at least should be able to be winning gunfights.
Yeah, they should, but, you know, maybe it's going to come into tomorrow bad. Maybe that's what we're going to see a turn of their fate, because they definitely need to have Sertani sit them down and be like, guys, come on, I need a third Rolex on my wrist here, so do better. But also, another team who needs to do better, honestly, it's got to be DRS, because for me, for them to get in, the only Nepali representative here, for them to get a special invite, you sure as hell better make that worth it, and kind of similar to what we saw out of G Gladiators over in earlier groups, they're really underperforming at the moment. But it is time. I'm sorry. Oh, I'd say the last place with like 4 points, bro. Let's head over to our commentators, though, because we're heading into our final Erangel of the day. John and Zute, take it away.
We are indeed going into the last Erangel of the day. We will be seeing that last billing. Plenty more of that still to come, but you'll have to wait until tomorrow because we've got Miramar after this one. It's been some really, really interesting games. I've loved the dynamics that we've seen so far over the course of today. Some really interesting positions, I think. I really like the Major Pride versus Weibo standoff on that northern edge. And I think just in general, BTR, it's been great to watch.
No, BTR is carrying the show right now. I know the desk, talking a lot about Vampire. They definitely aren't showing up. This is a team with phenomenal finishes, with really high prize pool earnings, right? So of course everyone's looking towards Vampire, but you can't have everything. We don't have Vampire, but we do have BTR, and I am perfectly a-okay with that.
That's true. Tony K right now for Vampire was such a standout player for this roster over the course of, certainly at PMWI, on the international level. Little bit of an adjustment, dropping out late over to Primorsk, I imagine, as we'll be seeing the Stalbert down to Sosnovka plane path. It gives everybody a very, very open shot at their drop spots.
Yeah. So far, both Erangel games have had some early game altercation, maybe due to plane path, right, because they were skewed. This one, not the case. We might see all 64 players be able to continue at least into phase number 2. We'll see where the phase number 2 is, or phase number 1 is first. As Weibo Gaming dropping out, and look at that. Notice how Weibo Gaming, they have Pachinki, but they're not all dropping. They're splitting kind of far out to the east into DRS territory. They've definitely done their homework, and hey, if you could drop and really spread out and get more info rather than condensing into Pachinki, why not?
I think they were trying to contest for vehicles around DRS's spot. You can see those parachutes actually turned around as soon as the two DRS players hopped into vehicles. So they might have been denied that position and have to fold back in. Circle all the way up to the northeast side, towards Yasnaya, towards Stalba. Severny still in. So I'm imagining we're going to see quite a few teams looking across to the north side of the river.
Yeah, that river could be a huge deciding factor into the late games. And, well, looks like not everyone is going to make it into the first zone. IHC about to lose 2 players. Oh, yeah. Alex, no weapon in hand. We did see, yeah, okay. I mean, nice attempt. Did he get some damage in at least? No, he didn't. But in the first game of Erangel, it was all caught on the replay very briefly. I don't even know if you noticed it as we were passing it to the desk, but the player beat someone else that had an M4 and he only had a knife. So you never know until you go down. And he tried, but it was not enough. IHC with only 2 players now.
I didn't notice that he had an M4. I noticed it was a knife, but I didn't realize the other player had an M4. That's kind of nuts. I mean, it happens, but IHC really down on their luck on these early drops, right?
Yeah, it's not the second time? Maybe?
At least, yeah.
Yeah, at least second time. IHC, the team coming out of Mongolia. We saw Stalwart, their Mongolian brethren, really, you know, showing out on week number 1. I had high hopes for IHC coming into this one. But for now, the Vibes team are kind of, you know, carrying that light, sitting in 5th place. We're still very, very early into the week. Anything can change, of course. Even BTR. There's a chance BTR could drop down by the end of day number 2.
I'm waiting for that 1 point extra so that it will be in exactly double. As Cameron on the desk pointed out, 28 points to 55 right now for the 1st to 2nd place. It might change, sure, but I mean, literally everybody other than Influence Rage needs to do as well or better than they did, sorry, in the first half of today in order just to catch BTR right now. So it is still a massive, massive lead. And sure, you'll see these sorts of scorelines maybe after 1 match, but to be able to perpetuate that through 3 matches with the amount of eliminations they've been able to get, with the control that they've demonstrated, this is a special day for BTR. And for BTR fans, I'm sure it's a pretty special day for them too, because they will be cheering incredibly loudly, I'm sure, all over the place. Make sure you check your socials, because you'll be seeing that hashtag everywhere. BTR win.
Oh man, this is it's giving me the heydays of BTR back then when they were dominating everything. And back then I was competing, and I remember the BTR support, the fan outpour was so insane. As IHC able to catch a lucky break, at least picking up a quick point here. Let's steal the buggy as well, and you know, quick little delivery, nades, util, helmet, ammo, everything you could ask for. It's like, oh, we'll just pull right off.
I mean, to be fair, you do only have 2 players, so you need every advantage you can get. Unfortunate for Major Pride to lose a player on their split as it stands. IHC sent out this way, so I mean, I guess you just don't expect there to be a player coming at you from that direction. And they lose, I think it was Zyol who went down for Major Pride, if I'm not mistaken.
Zyol picked up the point, yeah.
Oh, sorry, yeah, on IHC, was able to take down one of the players from Major Pride on that northwestern outpost. So no backup really expected to be needed, so they weren't in a position to give it.
Yeah, it was a domino effect, because if IHC didn't lose their 2 other players, I imagine they're split looting together in hospital. But because they're down to 2, they're scared to go into hospital or the South George Pool area and get hunted down. So they ended up scrap looting on the sides in Major Pride's territory, and the domino effect did not pan out for Major Pride. They will lose that 1 player. And we were talking about this earlier too on the topic of BTR, right? Like, how are they dominating so much? Well, right now they have 33 eliminations. Take a look at 2nd place downwards. How many points do they all have?
That's yeah, no, I'm getting word, that's less than 33.
Yes, that is. So Elams alone, BTR is ahead, and it's really shown through how well the players are playing. We were talking about it, and it seems like every single player on BTR are on the same, you call it their same wavelength, right? They're all playing aggressive, but the crazy thing for me is that as the camera was switching from player to player, in those close range fights, I thought it was the same player because the movement, the crispness, the mechanics, it looked like the same player. And the fact that they were all using DBSs could have kind of given that mirage as, man, IHC just really not having the luck of it. They come in here late, very late to loot, thinking it's safe now, and another team catches into the player of IHC. Oh man.
Why do Weibo go out to South Georgia? I mean, it looks like they've looted already. Maybe they were just on the trail of IHC, but that's cruel either way. Zio the last to stand now for the roster, playing as a solo. A lot of teams have made that move up to the north side of the river. Weibo probably going to be doing so fairly soon as well. I think Influence Rage have made that move nice and early, and they hold that position just to the bridge west of Yasnaya. They're on a 2-2 split right now between there on that compound, controlling that crossing, and out to the northeast, a little bit closer to Stauber Hill. So a wide 2-2 split, and actually Kioski setting out even further. So a 2-1-1 for that central area, which is kind of risky, given that teams are going to want to go a little bit closer. Ziol still giving Weibo a little bit of a run for their money, but not expecting too much from him. However, with a nade in the right place, could catch someone unawares, maybe pick up a point, slow Weibo down.
IHC cannot catch a break. Zio, of course, didn't have to take that shot, but the other player was running in the open, and at this point, one player up, 16 teams alive, you're not getting placement points here. Look for the elims if you can. He went for it, didn't catch the knock. Now he is caught in a 4v1. These buildings are tricky, though, and it's tough. It's a long shot, but Zio could maybe convert the point here. Maybe even two, as the circle goes into Stallber.
Oh, wow. Okay. IHC still going. DBS on the windowsill, just ducks it. For Weibo to stay alive up the stairs. Yol half HP. They're lining up, but the nades are cooking. They're not going to push on through. They know moving in with a DBS is a death sentence. A nade to, I think that was a stunner actually, down the stairs to slow things down. There was a knock that went on through. It was a nade, or it was a bounce back there. Ziol pops out the window, looks for Sook on the sidelines, and we'll be able to find another flush. Weibo lose a player. Ziol still in action, looking for the shots through the window with the DBS. One hops out. He's going to be able to handle it. No, jumps over the DBS, and Ming keeps them in, but they lose Sook in a really, really difficult position. That was a 4v1. You should not be losing players here. That is far from ideal for the team out on that western side. Ziol extracting a little bit more value as IHC 2 points this match. They've not been able to catch a break. Major pride, they lost a player earlier on. They've looked to try and send in ahead this time around. And 3 players over on that northern side have to figure out how to needle their way in on this edge, because the top of Stauber heavily occupied now. BTR looking to move up towards the top of Stauber, but Ruka waiting in the wings, a little bit isolated here. Can he hold his nerve apart around the side of the tree? Ducking, diving, bobbing, weaving, but is going to be taken down. There's a trade across the way, and there's backup. BTR always an off angle seemingly to be able to keep their team safe. Lapar, he needs backup, and he needs it now. Jetfoss rolls out. The Muerte have spotted this, but he turns the back of the buggy towards them, gives himself cover. Rook are going to be backed off this top line as well. The drop of the smoke here for BTR to keep them alive as the Muerte try and roll on through. Corker spraying over towards this location. The smoke's already bloomed, and BTR have re-established control on this top side. For Stauber. Together, miraculous off angles being found every single time, Zute.
It is wild how well BTR are playing right now. That was a mad dash. It got really hectic there, and like you mentioned, keeping all 4 up, picking up 2 elimination points. BTR still going strong, and in a great spot too that they're contesting for on top of this stalwart position. So we saw BTR play on the edge quite a lot in the previous game so far. This time around, a bit more central, going for the power positions. So they're looking to do it all. And we are going to head into the next circle shift here. Influence condensed. That 2-2 split you were mentioning earlier was a great option play for Influence Rage. No matter where that circle shifted, they had a strong power position to fall back to depending on the shift. And now, you know, with this circle, they are more condensed, and the circle goes toward the east, still keeping a lot of stalwart in play. More importantly, the south side is a lot of low ground, so I don't think teams are going to look to fill in on the south, more so looking for options on the north.
Those rocky outcrops there as you descend the Stauber Hills going to be where a lot of these teams are looking to play around. It's really difficult terrain to try and move through. It is really, really tricky, and I'm sure we're going to see a lot of casualties falling down those steps in due course. Vampire, they're being tapped away at as we're on the top of Stauber Hill. Rook still trying to find some retribution. They found the knock onto Yuhai, but Genfos answers yet again. Yuhai has the safety of his team to fall back on. They're trying to play together, and it's working out well. Nades in, up and to the top floor. Lapar wants to put one over towards Punisher, who's on the stairs. A lovely bounce there. I don't know if it found the damage, though, because he is on that staircase. This time, he's going to put this through the door. Lapar, nade up through the door. Doesn't quite find the shot. It banked off the door frame there. The rest has come through in the meantime, and Punisher has been taken low. Nades up higher. They just bomb him out of the building. BTR, keep control.
And BTR just dismantling teams after team. Still 4 up. Great spot in the zone as well, off center. As Weibo Gaming down to a solo. And you mentioned it, Weibo Gaming, it was that 4v1. They shouldn't have lost anybody there. And with this Weibo Gaming, it does not look like the Weibo Gaming some people might be expecting. Call it day 1 jitters. We'll see if day 2 they turn things around, but they could be playing much better, that's for sure.
Yeah, there is a little bit left to be desired from this roster. They finished up in 3rd over in the PEL, the summer season. So it is a team that certainly people will be expecting to perform here, but it just hasn't come through in maybe as strong of terms as they would have liked. However, they're not doing terribly, right? They're in 8th place right now. They've got 15 points on the board, 3 eliminations extra this match as well. So they are still within that central pack, but it will start to slip away from them if they let it go too much further.
Yeah, they're in the central pack. Problem is, I'm looking, you know, on the leaderboards, all the people ahead of them. All the people ahead of them are still up in this game. So that 2 points, that kind of, you know, a little bit of a catch-up they did could easily just sink right back down as the vibes. Close fight right now, a little bit spread out. Tough, tricky terrain here to navigate. These angles, these sight lines, not too common because we don't see circles up here. So players will be forced to kind of improvise and figure things out on the go. And it looks like it's somewhat of a stalemate. Vibes with better positioning here as they will find the angle onto the first knock. The second knock as well. Great job out of the Vibes team.
Playing perfectly around the edge of that smoke into the haze. Finding 2 knocks, 1 confirmed flush as well. It allows them to look for the res at the top of the hill. Muerte not getting the third party just yet. Maybe looking to take control of the high ground a little bit more convincingly on that northern side for the time being. But there's some shots across the way. I think that's Influence Rage spotting out the backlines for Vibes. The circle shift down to this southwest side, right on top of Team Queso's position.
Queso and Sem9 getting a very nice circle. Sem9 with 4 players too, playing very split. Team might crash them though, so they do have to prep for that. But holding that split is okay for now, as the Vibes, yeah, slowly just dismantling this team here. Brute Force looking like they are about to get brute forced out of this lobby. That nade landing awfully close, but they'll stay alive for now.
Just a little bit longer. Nade over the top. Oh, he's spotted. Behind it there. 2 players now for Brute Force and another knock, a third knock. It's all drawn to a close for Brute Force on that flank. In the meantime, Muerte, Genesis on the northern side, vying for the top of the hill control. A knock over towards that tower is really, really isolated. You have to conclude this scrap. Malloy over the top with a nade. Furia looking to put more in as well. Genesis falter a little bit on their push. Murnat and Smile both moving a little bit separately here. Malloy still has that nade in hand, and up to the fence they go with Furia, who hits the deck there. A bounce around the side, and Murnat's taken low. Milky Way still isolated up top, but a nade is placed perfectly by Furia. Now just Smile to deal with. A smoke over the edge to try and remain a little bit in control of that path to the tower. Smile navigating on the inside here, breaks wide. Smile knows though, and a nade to flush out Milky Way on the sideline. Smile challenge with Malloy. Malloy still cooking the nade, launches it forwards.
भाई साहब ग्रेन लोग बैठ
You don't even need to see him.
भाई
The
साहब
word
ग्रेन
two
खत्म कर
alive
दिया
at
बंदे को
the top of the high ground, but in come Vibes.
DRS
Great fadeaway nade right there.
भाई साहब WBG के बंदे कहाँ है
Other player rushed him, and he just backed off and tossed it. Perfect
ये
finish.
किया गया है एक बंदा गया
DRS here, holding down the south side. Vampire in the distance. Tony K going down here will not be able to get revived. Vampire now just down to a solo player, and that solo player is out there in the blue. And Delta is looking his way as well. Vampire is not going to be able to get a single point here in this match either. As wow, I mean, if you're really quiet and prone in a spot that no one thinks the player should be prone, he can sneak in just a little more as Vampire goes out. 0 points once again.
Erangel not playing well for them. Was prone for a long time, but doesn't quite catch Killer on the
WBG
slip.
गया
And will
भाई
be going down. That is Weibo out and
DRS
eliminated.
में अभी मरने
On
सकते
the south
हैं
side, DRS going to be looking
DRS
to
के
cross
fast
to
kill
the north edge of
Victor के fast
Yasnaya
kill
for the time being.
Fast
Vibes
kill.
moved up to the duo for Demuerte, but they didn't fully third party it. I don't know if they realize that there are only 2 players there, but now they will go for this assault. They'll try and sweep on through. They've got actually an outpost from BTR to worry about. Bigtron Red Villains have moved on up, still playing quite split right now, about 100 meters between a lot of them on that forward position. Genfos has a lot of information against Demuerte, who are looking to go down the hills near Stalba.
Yeah, Demuerte cornered right now by BTR and Vibes, forced to just kind of go more central. And it's worked out for them before in the previous matches. Can they find another central location to stay safe in? They find a spot. Not a lot of cover, though. They're going to have to improvise. But these different elevations and terrain could work out. They might have just found the sweet spot as the west side, the battle rages on between Influence Rage opening up a nade onto the Vibes team. Nades are being answered back, but no knock. The 4-man advantage does go to the way of Influence. Are they going to commit to this? There's only 2 players here for now. They should look to pressure this a little bit more, in my opinion.
There's a high ground off angle to worry about on the side of Vibes. He seems to have been spotted from maybe somewhere else there. Kajowski backed off onto the tree there. As Apex is looking to try and suppress that angle. A knock over to Influence Rage as well. DRS taking a couple of hits there from BTR as he hops into the buggy right in front of his face. And Divine careens on down the hillside, gets away. Genfos is taken out. They've already lost Satalus in the meantime as well. So 2 players now active for BTR. They've got 5 eliminations so far on this match, so they're still doing quite well, all things considered. Genfos further forwards than the rest of the other 2. But if they regroup, they might just be able to get this res. Or DRS. Sorry, this is Bino Storm going on through onto this engagement in the meantime. Thought it was DRS the whole time, but no, Nagon moving on up close to La Part, around the edge of the smoke. A buggy rolls on up and immediately taken down. Divine, a little bit too big for the boot there. And Nagon now behind the headland. I think might be the last for Bino Storm in this area. Will fall as well. Genfos now maybe resible, but there's a spray from Nano Kuni on the sidelines. Will get one, and he traded off for the second.
Oh, the 1v1. A little bit distracted from the shots from his backside, and he will go down. There's one thing I learned is that do not get in range of DBS of BTR, because they are hitting all of those shots. Meanwhile, on the south side, do have 2 other teams facing off here. It is DRS and D+ here. D+ 0 eliminations so far, but looking to switch gears, get a bit aggressive, and right there pops a quick 3 elims onto DRS. DRS is taken down, and on the low ground, D+ is in a decent position. They have these ridges to work with. That tree cover should be enough for him to get behind some sort of hard cover. The question is, will D+ risk the revive? Because he is not in zone, and that blue zone's closing fast.
Vibes trying to keep control of the top of this ridgeline. Apex, the most danger right now, repositions down the rock. The Molotov burns him away from his buggy, from his vehicles. Doesn't have that option. Baron further up the hill. 3 players are alive, and they have got that off angle you can see on the minimap, just up and to the left of where Apex sits now. This ditch keeping him safe from Lil Boy right now, but that Molotov thrown forwards, I think should have been spotted by Lil Boy, so they'll know he's in that divot. They'll know where he is.
Next zone about to shift here. Will be a big one for many of these teams. And it does center up here, a little bit down to the south. That does leave Influence Rage. And the team of Vibes not in zone. Vibes down to 3. Want to see what Influence Rage decides to do here, because they do have priority. And they will give Vibes a little bit of space to work with now, as maybe Influence Rage has a spot in zone that they've already seen to just scooch in on. And question is, what will Vibes do now?
We're having a lot of scrappy mid games so far in Group Yellow. A lot of teams losing players, a lot of teams racking up a lot of elimination points early on as well. And value being extracted from a lot of these games. I mean, BTR, right, 9 eliminations, so they've still had a blinder of a game here to keep up the pace. Even though they went down in, I think it was somewhere around 9th or 8th maybe in this lobby. They're still going to get a whole heap of points and keep them nice and firmly ahead. Demuerte on that north side with 5 eliminations, 2 players alive, still looking to get a little bit deeper into this match.
Circle closing in. Vibes still looking for an entry here. They do touch the edge of the zone, but Demuerte with the high ground and low ground pinching them in. Can they do enough with only 2 players, however, as the high ground player does get spotted out? You can see the other Vibes player circling over the top of him. He is forced to come down, almost gets the run over, hops out, gets the quick 180 whip around, and he knows he's exposed. He knows other players are on that high ground and gets in the buggy just in time to stay alive, which is huge because as a duo, you cannot go down. Your teammate cannot afford to revive you, not until the fight's over. And the fight is still raging on in the north side.
Furia has some decent cover. Baron is exposed in the meantime, though. Doesn't really have a lot to do there. Being suppressed by Sem9. I don't know if he spotted Furia on the bottom right of his screen just there. Might be covered off, though. Will be able to retrain that angle and has to force Furia off the angle. The smokes are there for Furia to get back across, but he's very, very exposed and will be knocked, will be spotted. Demuerte down to 1.
Shot so close for Mikhail there onto the high ground. But Baron will make it out, gets the first aid off, and he will join his teammates. He got the revive too. So Vibes being very resilient here, still staying up at 3. Furia close by, but very risky for any movement for Malloy, because the Vibes team has not yet been dealt with. And all 3 players looking their way. They confirm Furia. No, that's actually Sem9 confirming the player of Furia.
They knew as soon as that smoke bloomed that that angle was going to be crawled through. They had sightlines on it with Tam, and as soon as that smoke was popped, just a pre-fire through the smoke, that's all they needed, and they were able to get that flush. So now Malloy 1 versus 3 on the northern side against Vibes. For Demuerte to stay on in things, there's a flash forwards. Is he going to use that opportunity to get over the headland? I don't think there's anywhere for him to retreat to realistically. Yeah, you can see immediately as soon as he goes back behind that smoke, Sem9 just takes shots.
DBS in hand, the pushes are good. The buggy drive through, quick distraction, affords his teammate the peek, and they will take the north side, and they get the zone on the north side too. They don't have any hard cover, but that ridge line just enough to keep them out of sight if they were to go prone. The only other team to really have to make somewhat of a play, which we haven't seen too much of, is D+. We saw them take out DRS, and then they've just been quiet and biding their time. Now, not in the circle. Same with Influence Rage. Both of these teams will need to find something.
Oh, immediate snap back onto Kenny. Only allowed to pop off a couple of shots before he is knocked on the backlines as well for Sem9, with the blue zone crushing in 10 seconds. You do not want to waste any time going for this res. Get him up almost immediately, so that reading into that, D+ know that they can just cross this open ground, get up to this wall line, but there's an off angle coming through for a third party. Sem9 still have the down shots onto Forest. He didn't get across fast enough, and Influence Rage are curtailing them as well from that other side, from that western edge. They've crept around the headland, and now they can do some damage.
Yeah, Sem9's caught in a somewhat of a tough spot. We just saw for a brief second the high ground having angles, the mid ground out of Influence Rage pressuring them, and then the low ground out of D+, looking to take their position, as well as Milo. He's been quiet this whole time. He's let players sneak by him, and he's going to start it off with the nade. He needs to get a knock. Wait, where did that nade go? Did it not connect on anything? Big Milo just really failing to deliver right there.
That is a big mistake being seen by Big Milo. Really, really bad to find that happening to you in this late stage. Could have basically taken down Influence Rage right here and now. Some lovely down shots with the Vector to be able to get some sprays onto D+. They are fully eliminated. And now it's Vibes to look for the backlines of Influence Rage. Law and Lil Boy, the last two to stand for them on the western edge. Sem9 still 4 players alive. The only team to have maintained that all the way through this match so far. Vibes on the northern side, though, playing with 3, have the high ground.
Yeah, Sem9 under a lot of pressure from multitudes of angles. They managed to stay strong as 4, like you mentioned. They're looking strong right now to close out the match, I think, because Queso, we saw them lose Lil Boy, so I think they have 3, but it does not look to be the case. They're down to just the 2 players, and they've had this center zone this whole time.
Reyes and Papi Potro on the inside of the east in the warehouse. The most covered off team for sure. I mean, nobody's really looking to push into it just yet. Sem9 might look to flow around to this eastern side if Vibes maintain their stalwart control on the west. So we'll see if that is a route of aggression for them. You can see them jumping into some vehicles. We'll see where they opt to push.
Yeah, they know with this being stage 8, if they don't make any moves now, they are just going to be forced to the middle, and that puts them in a lot of danger from many teams. So best to set up now, and it looks like they are going to work towards the west side. One of the players gets very close to the Vibes player, but the long distance angle from Doc still good here. Gets that knock. The other team's now taking advantage of that knock to pressure in a little bit closer, but they're going to need to win their close range engagements. Baron comes up close, goes for the thirst. The smoke's covering things off. Baron's still good for now.
Spots the player down the hill, gets a lot of damage, but doesn't find the knock. Ham pushes out to try and deal with it, but he's gone low himself, has to fall back to the rest of his team, knows that they need to commit to this, and they didn't find any damage on the Baron, which is absolutely crazy to be able to push through a smoke and not take any damage for it. Baron still manipulating, moving around fairly masterfully, I would say, over on that ridgeline, but those backlines being taken down. With Doc out of the picture, there's a little less security for Baron on that closer angle. He's hit the deck, he's retreated. Team Queso looking to strike now.
Yeah, Baron has lost that support, and he is slowly crawling back without that support line. Trying to bait the team of Sem9 into Apex, which is a great idea. Try and make as much use as he can of his last remaining support player on the top. I'm hoping Vibes should have just pushed with 2 close range, but that was not the case, and he goes down. Sem9 staying alive with 3. It is stage 9 too. Center zone in favor of Queso, honestly, because both teams have to cross over into the open first. Before Queso really has to make a play, the smokes will be crucial now.
Papi Potro will see Apex cresting that ridgeline, will have seen that smoke, so they'll know that he's making his play. But what openings does he have? Sure, you get the advantage of knowing that Sem9 are all from the single angle, but you're moving down the hill against Team Queso, who have complete open season onto your position. Immediately, as soon as that high ground's gone, they break out. Team Queso looking for control.
Okay, so the quick nade, that will not connect. It seems like the hustle actually favors Sem9. Look at this 3-way angle. That nade bouncing very close, but does not connect. Instead, Queso will take nade damage instead.
Papi Potro should have some first aids left. They've been out of the fight for quite a while, but 12 nades in hand for Sem9. They might just wait for this one to close a little bit more and just start to bombard out these angles. See, they're already starting to put the pressure on. But nice and evasive for Team Queso. Smoke still launching forwards, nades into them. Damage on the backlines. Reyes with that auto shotty. Wants to get closer. Wants to close that range, but Mekial on the backline, similarly armed. They're waiting for the moment. They're waiting for their opportunity.
There's still util left. Both teams trying to find some util advantage first before engaging with guns. The smoke's obscuring a lot of sight lines. Still no connections just yet. Oh, and there is one.
Oh.
That should be it.
Immediately, they just surge on forwards. They find that knock. Papi Potro, isolated position known. Blue zone's there. He's just got to wait for it to tick away. They give the point over as well. Sem9 take the chicken dinner of the final Erangel today.
Sem9 doing a great job, being so resilient. We saw so many teams kind of take shots at them, and it got close, very close. The Vibes team looked like they were about to finish them out, but just did not find the last bit of damage, and Sem9 got another reset. That was enough for them to close that game. But what a banger of a game, ending around the stalwart area. It was no easy game for any of the teams, including the winner of the match. It looked like they went through a lot.
Yeah, it was really good to see some new names come into the mix as well, right? Sem9, we haven't really seen much of them so far either. Team Queso staying alive nice and deep into this match, although I feel like that was more due to the circle than due to their personal play. I was more impressed with Vibes over on that north side, doing so much to move on through. There was a lot of contestation for the high ground with teams like Demuerte and Bigatron Red Villains as well, so the fact that Vibes were able to get so late into that game from that position, really, really good stuff.
Yeah, and let's not forget about Influence Rage. They've been very consistent. They made it into the late game as well, and that's consistency in all the matches so far for Influence Rage. They need a banger of a match to catch up to BTR, though, because BTR has just been knocking things out and staying consistent. But like you mentioned, Sem9 puts their name in the ballot, too. They could end up near the top of the leaderboards by the end of the day.
We'll have to wait and see how it's going to fall, but I would be fairly confident at this point to say Red Villains are going to take this top spot moving into day 2 with the fact that they were able to get, I think, at least 9 points in that last match, if not more, with placements added on. They just continue to impress, to dominate. Unfortunately, they weren't able to get that late, and they ruined their podium record of second, first, but either way, they get points. However, Sem9 able to stay strong, push in from the south, and play for that chicken dinner themselves.
Yeah, and I mean, the fact is Sem9 was in 13th place before this match actually concluded with only 6 points. So for them, this was a much-needed game, but they obviously need to continue to improve here if they want to have a chance to make it a top 3 and to make it directly into the Grand Finals, or at least maybe in their eyes, make sure they're out of the bottom so they can get into the survival stage. But gentlemen, 7, Cameron still join me once again. Interesting zone, but kind of a somewhat expected finish here for Team Queso and Sem9.
Yeah, for Team Queso, I think we gotta give them props in regards to their early rotations. That was a big question mark after, especially after Sandhawk, with how slow they were rotating. They were at least allowing themselves by that early rotation to get blessed by the later circle. So it's good to see that out of them. And for Sem9, I mean, for them to be able to actually finish up those fights, for them to be able to get those elims, you were mentioning they were in what, 13th place. That's gonna be a big jump up in boost too, not only in the overall but also in the morale.
Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest, I'm not particularly impressed by Sem9 or Queso. They were in the center of the zone from like phase 2 on. They didn't really have to do all that much. Good on them to get the 10 elimination points for Sem9. Queso significantly less than that. But I'm still significantly impressed by BTR always being in the mix. Vibes getting 10 eliminations of their own, always being in the mix, especially because they were in positions that on the south side of Stalwart, even surrounding, it's very difficult to play around because it's not flat ground at all. So like all the rocks and trees, they only barely hide you. There's always going to be an angle that makes you vulnerable. Very, very chaotic fighting around. So for the teams that are continuing to get these elimination points round after round after round, those are the ones that I'm still paying attention to.
Yeah, and obviously, as we did see, like a couple of teams that were towards the bottom of the leaderboard able to have a decent game, you're still seeing Bigatron in there with their 9 eliminations and 1 placement point. This team is, I know we've been saying it for quite a few times today, and I know they finally did fall to top 3 eventually in this last match, but they have just been ultra dominating. I mean, they still almost have double the points over any other team beyond them, with still 42 elimination points for themselves.
भाई साहब 4 मिनट का वाइफ का हैशटैग 2 आ गया यार इन्फ्लुएंस गेमिंग हैशटैग 3
It's interesting because they're not really doing bad.
हैशटैग 3 भाई ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है उन लोगों पे यार हैशटैग 2 तो हैशटैग 4 तक ज़्यादा डिफरेंस नहीं है यार 2-3-4 पॉइंट का डिफरेंस है हैशटैग 5 से थोड़ा डिफरेंस ज़्यादा है भाई देखे भी कंडीशन खेल रहा है 20 पॉइंट हो गया उसका देखे का भी अच्छे नहीं खेल पा रहा है DRS और अच्छे कंसिस्टेंटली और वैम्पायर तो
We have to highlight they're off
just a little bit though, because they won the very first round in Sandhawk. Very good win there, right, for Kayasuke to clutch that one out. But ever since then, all of their previous rounds were middle of the pack. And it's good that they are staying consistent in the middle of the pack. But if they want to really start to try and contest for these top spots, maintain themselves in the top 3, which they're currently sitting at, but if they want to continue there, we do still need to see, like, every 3 or 4 rounds have a really good one to follow up on. So on Miramar, I'm looking at them to try and really get at least another solid podium, if not a full-on chicken dinner, under their belt in order to sort of, like, stay in the mix for the heavy swingers in this lobby.
I think we might see them actually do that as we head over to Miramar with the last 2 matches. My eyes are still focused over towards like D+, able to get themselves to 7th place now so far at 20 points. And then for the last time today, Vampire, 16th place, 5 points. Obviously, it's so easy to kind of hammer away at them, but the fact is they came in as the most dominating team of the year, winning PMWI at both events for 2 years straight, but they have not been able to live to the hype. But even a team like Team Peso, what's up?
I think I know the problem with Vampire. No one formally invited them to this event.
Oh.
Yeah, or that. Or yeah, that too. God, that was weak. That was bad. I shouldn't have cut you off for that one. Go on.
Yeah, that was, I mean, I think they were invited because they qualified. I mean, I know what you're getting at. I don't know if 7 does.
I took it out of the oven a little too quickly. We should bake that one a bit more. Let's just go. Let's just move on, please.
you get it, right? So I gotta make sure.
No.
You don't get it? Vampires aren't allowed, according to the lore, to like.
They need to be invited in. Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah, it wasn't. It's my fault. It wasn't really well done.
Yeah. Okay, we'll move on from that one. Obviously, we need to give a big shout out here to Infix, our official phone partner here at PMGC. You guys can pick one up the GT10 Pro, and you guys can dominate the lobbies. Maybe like we've seen Bigatron be able to do so. I mean, you see them doing exactly that. You guys can go grab one for yourselves. And of course, the Game Awards, which are still currently going on at the moment. You guys can vote for PUBG Mobile, which has been nominated as the best esports game of the year. So make sure you guys vote for us to be the #1. But I know all of you out there are already doing that. If you sent proof to my man to my right, I think he's on my right. For you guys on my right.
It's your left, right, but you're right.
The guy in the middle, the short guy in the middle, he'll send you UC if you send proof of that. And not to mention, if you guys want to see anything behind the scenes and obviously everything going on about PMGC over on TikTok, just make sure you search for the tag PMGC 2023. I would actually love to see some like behind the scenes of Bigatron and their domination in the first couple of matches. Maybe Vampire, because we haven't seen them too often on camera now. I think bar like pre-match in one of these games, because it's got to be extremely quiet in their camp. And you know, Sertani's sitting there writing down notes, and he is gonna really hammer away.
I was hoping you'd say that. Sertani's just setting up truth bombs that he's gonna give him at the end of the day.
Well, you know what? We are gonna head to a short little break here where we get things ready to go from Miramar. Maybe some of these teams need that break. We'll find out if they can turn their fate around here as we back with Miramar in just a few. Well, you can see here Bigatron on your screen looking to dominate another match here momentarily. But all the teams need to catch up here. I mean, I don't want to say it's possible just yet, but with the performance they're having today, it is definitely put them one step forward to get themselves straight into the Grand Finals, which honestly would be a fantastic sight to see. Will that Bigatron legacy and domination happen once again? Well, let's find out with the commentators of John Allen and Zute.
On to a new arena as well, because we are going to be taking to Miramar. The dusty dunes await for these teams. I remember certainly we spoke about teams that have been dominant on Miramar in the past, Zute, and one of the names that came through was that old Bigatron roster. they have been giving that same sort of vibe, that power, that ability just to sweep through, that coherence, that synergy that we're seeing in this roster does hark back to that Bigatron roster of old. Obviously, a lot of changes since then, losing the twins, changing out Microboy, Ryzen as well, all going to different positions. But with this roster, it looks like that BTR win power has come back.
Oh yeah, if they could replicate what the old BTR did on this map, I mean, they will slam this week out of the park. They've already dominated on Erangel, and I think all they need to do is get within range of DBS usage. And every single time they've whipped out the DBS and fired off shots, it was like a knock on the first, if not the second pump. And other players, like we see other players use the DBS, but they miss. BTR doesn't with those weapons.
They're just on point, seemingly. I mean, excellent control that they've been able to achieve so far. I wonder if other teams, if other players are going to be able to start to step up to that sort of level over the course of the next few days. Because if they don't, then Bigatron are just going to run away with this. There's no two ways about it. A hard south circle. Interesting. I don't think we've seen it go all the way south before. We've seen southeast, but no, it has Los Eagles in.
Yeah, and you can't even see the bottom of that white circle. That's how far south it is.
Right up south,
this is going to be a tough one for all of these teams, especially it being the first Miramar match of the entire week. Rotation pathing, tendencies of certain teams to, maybe pick certain locations. None of that is really known for anybody involved here. The only info they have to work with is maybe, drop spots of all the respective teams, but that is pretty much it.
Down on that south side, it's really only influenced Rager on the coastal side right now. Waiting for teams to look to break on down there as well. Vibes coming off of their strong performance in that last Erangel, the control, the victory on that northern side against some pretty tough teams. Going to be hopefully able to ride that train forwards. Major Pride, they are a little bit further south as well. At the start of today, I talked about Major Pride like they were the main hope for EU, but right now that is on its head because De Muerte vastly outperforming them.
Yeah, De Muerte has been very consistent in various different fashions. I know it seems like they just end up, more towards the center, and they just keep their heads tucked down low. But I think in every match they've shown a little bit of resilience toward many different situations. So De Muerte, if they could keep this up, it'll keep them in a great spot. One player not in a great spot is the DRS player, Killer YT in the air. No bullets connecting though. That is a tough shot to make from that distance. DRS, where are they going for them to still be up in the sky?
I'm not sure.
Wait,
really
they're hovering over the city north of Power Grid. And with that plane path, they are dropping like 2,000 meters plus away, just parachuting over. And that's going to potentially cause some issues for them as, Genesis spots that out, and they are full sending in. They are already looted and in vehicles catching the DRS players off on. You can't be drifting in the sky for that long.
And 7-9 are already ahead on this rotation. Doesn't win out the trade there. The M249 just laying down the lead, and it's a really bad, unfortunate start for DRS. They lose their players. 7-9 were already way ahead of them. They've already gotten to El Azahar, whilst DRS are floating over towards Hacienda del Patron. I mean, San Martin area just completely packed, and you're right. It's a weird decision for them to make.
Definitely so. It's something that the coach certainly has to take a look into. Luckily for them, they'll just only lose one. But that was one player that could have easily been avoided. And given such a hard south circle, I mean, this is you definitely want all four up. As Mind here, losing a wheel on that vehicle, so forced to change it back out. Bino Storm looting up here. They should make a quick rotation as Los Leones is pretty much very close to center, so I want to see them center right on up. Bino Storm not able to do much yet today so far, sitting in 13th place. Japan have a lot to prove. They've been to this stage multiple times, but I think they have yet to qualify into the Grand Finals. So we'll see if they could get that done here.
I think the other team from Japan that came through here, Reject, also was able to get to the survival stage back over in their group, right? They were very, very close. They were the bubble team in 4th place, 188 points to the 198 of Stalwart. So they were close to being able to jump up into that 3rd place bubble, but it was just a little bit short. So Japan, I mean, they definitely have some talented players. We've seen a little bit more from Reject over the years, I think, than any other team coming from Japan. But can Be No Storm pick up some pace here and maybe have a little bit more of an impact? Right now, I'm not really expecting too much from them, but I'm ready to be surprised.
Yeah, I will say Japan as a region, though, just steady improvement consistently. I don't think they've dropped an improvement over the course of multiple years, and particularly the Reject team, that is the premier team out of Japan. The very first team globally, if I'm not mistaken, out of Japan was Reject as well. I remember back when I was competing, that was the first team I met. They've kept, you know, the player Sara on the roster this entire time, and they've been doing really well in their own league, the PMJL. So it's great to see Japan does have, you know, at least one very consistent team that is improving. We'll see how they do in the survival stage. BNS, on the other hand, you know, they're a bit more new to this kind of global stage pressure compared to the Rejects team. So time will tell how well they do. 2 games left today. There's still a chance for them to pull back up. We saw Sem9 do it, right? Sem9, just after 1 game, goes from, I think the Decemeber from 13th up to sitting in 5th.
So taking shots out to Major Pride's rotation, but a nice line of fire to respond to Team Queso's high ground area. And it will force them off. Oh, dear. That was maybe not ideal, but doesn't take any full damage for it. Could have been worse. And Arthurs rolls back to the rest of Team Queso. No knocks sent either way. This is right on the south coast as well, and in a prime central location in this next circle.
This is center, pretty much, for everyone watching. I know we're really far down south if you just tuned in, but that is just how far south the circle is. Once again, you can't even see the white line of the bottom half of the circle because it's cut off the map.
It's really far on down there. Keeps the bridge in play to Los Higos, which may open up rotational paths from that western edge to go for a cheeky little rotate through Minas del Sur, through Los Higos, and maybe try and push in from that south side. Would be very, very difficult, probably a last-ditch attempt, but I'll keep my eye out for it nonetheless. Brute Force swanning on down that south coast as well, just trying to take control on the western side of this circle.
Blue zone closing in really fast now. Next circle about to come out. Will we pull it further down south? We'll see very shortly. Vampire coming in from the east side. I think Vampire, I don't know. They've had such.
Oh.
Okay. This is nice.
No.
This is very nice for us.
Okay.
For us
Water
watching.
Johnny water.
I think I've only seen a circle like this once in my coverage.
Let's go.
PUBG Mobile. Underneath the bridge, surprisingly a good spot here. It does have some vulnerabilities to the sidelines, but it can cover off. There's some decent ridges. It looks like a lot of teams are trying to get onto the bridge. 2 of them going to try and do so right now. Try and mount up very, very quickly, but Team Queso just getting pulled apart by Major Pride, who were a team playing in that very circle that I mentioned before. But they were ahead of the game onto this bridge. And they're going to take down at least 3 of these players. There's no 2 ways about it. Weibo trying to move on in as well. Reyes is the only victim to the scopes of Weibo from China. And Big Milo from Team Queso will be the last to fall.
Oh,
Not going to be able to find cover underneath that bridge himself.
Queso just really not having any success here today. 13 points so far. It's not the absolute terrible in the lobby. They had such a good chance with that circle. Cut short. Maybe if they kept rotating on the bridge, you see Influence Rage. They're trying to swim. They know that bridge is going to be heavily contested. Schweppes going for a swim too. They got the 2 knocks. Maybe looking to pick up some loot. Or actually, maybe he's just looking to swim into zone. Because honestly, that's not a bad idea right now.
Absolutely. I mean, that west bridge rotation I was talking about earlier that I said was an outside chance, now looking a lot more healthy because the circle is centered on that island down to the south. However, it's not entirely unlikely that it goes back up to the mainland in the next shift, so we'll have to wait and see. I like Brute Force's decision. They swam across a little bit further west and actually stopped Rook from making that west bridge rotation that Demuerte are behind them in the queue to do as well. And they're going to be playing down towards Los Higos to try and take control down there. There are quite a few areas around Los Higos that you can hold up in, and it's not the easiest to hold, even as a 4. So we'll have to wait and see if they're able to do so. Knocks out in the water? Or have they just jumped off?
Oh, man. I could just imagine the panic. And
Oh, no. How have they done that?
Oh, I mean, you don't use a jet ski too often. You don't realize how easily it is to overturn that vehicle. And you saw when they first flipped it over, they swam away. Oh, you flipped it over. It's over. We're done for. And then the other player starts swimming back, and then they're like, wait a second. We literally have no other option. Swims back to the jet ski, realizes, yeah, no, it's over. And, oh, that jet ski. So easy to blow up as well. We are going to head into the next circle. Where is this going? Surely not down to Los Higos.
There it is.
It goes down south. There it is, indeed.
The last time I saw the circle around this bridge, it went back to the mainland, so I was denied the finish on the island down south, but it looks like it's good here. Major Pride getting it across that bridge early could be paying out massively now.
Oh, Major Pride, if they don't end up in the top 3, they did something wrong. So many teams on the outskirts can't even push into them because they first need to breach onto the land, and the second they do, there's another team following them behind or playing spoiler from distance. Oh boy, Weibo Gaming, can they fend off the Genesis team? They are good for the first one. DBS holds, Ming gets the quick flush. Weibo Gaming, if they win this fight, they still have more to go as the zone, you know, they're in it, but they should be looking to keep on going as Ming gets taken down. That vehicle parked right on the roof. They're sending it in.
A crash right onto the top of Weibo, trying to nade out the door, trying to get an answer. And actually, it's Major Pride to have an impact on this scrap. There's a outpost down south for Weibo, so they are going to leave their player on the inside, high and dry. Really not much to do. They're having to try and push down to where everybody else is also looking to move as well. I just remembered that there was, in fact, another match that I've seen end down this area. The ridgeline that Brute Force currently hold is going to be so important. If they can keep control of it away from Influence Rage, and Vampire a little bit further out to the east, on the south side here, it has an excellent overlook. But if they have to go down that ridge, it will be brutal.
Yeah, just cutting it in half, pretty much. The circle will play in huge favor if it does shift that way for Brute Force. Demuerte, yeah, they're not able to cross. They're just going to try and stay alive and not take blue zone damage for as long as possible. Probably look for some fishes as, yeah, the whole team of BTR and the Vibes team swimming right now. That's 8 points in the water potentially. And hold on, some shots being fired back from some angle. I think that's actually from the side of D+ on the offside. They've already breached land across. And, oh, D+, they could pick up a lot of points here if they just watch the waters.
I mean, when BTR are doing it, you know it must be desperate here. To be honest, for most teams at this stage, I'm willing to sort of throw this performance out the window in terms of criticizing them for it, because it is so uncommon to see circles like this. However, you can also, on the other side of it, praise teams that have adapted fast, have adapted well, like Major Pride, for instance, who went to that bridge almost immediately as soon as they saw that zone 2. So very, very well done from them. Teams like Brute Force, who made their way over onto that western island nice and early as well, making good rotations, making good choices.
Major Pride, they went for it early, and it wasn't free either. They had to fight Queso, and they came out on top of that strap, which awarded them the perfect. We'll make it to the other side of the ridge, and he slips off into the water. That does give BTR a lot of breathing room as, from the blue zone, back and forth. I think he just got knocked right there. IHC coming in from the blue zone. As a circle, we'll shift down. The main island, barely any of it in the zone now.
These rocks are so difficult to navigate around. The swimming, the sight lines you have from that area as well, really, really tricky. And teams are just falling like flies. There's really no way to make this one work for the majority of these teams, and they're just trying their best to pick up a point or two if they can and try and get away with it. The question is who holds control of the center, because right now Brute Force still have so much positional advantage. If they can keep this south side under their control, the shots will be challenging for them, but if they can stay alive as 4, this is a team that we know has the potential to make it work.
Brute Force, they should keep together as 4. The only people challenging them are at most a 3-man here, but that's not going to go in their favor. They get no trades right back, and 2 of them actually goes down.
Big
Almost
nade.
a third. That nade should be good, and a double knock. That nade saves everything for Brute Force.
Might just keep them in this one. They're looking to try and get the rest of Rook, and there won't be anyone there. They need to pull the players back up, because now on the eastern side, the players over to that eastern side of the island, Influence Rage, are going to be looking to try and take control from them if they can get up onto the island. Mind, near that compound, looking for that oversight on the south edge. Is their foothold over on the east? Teams looking to cross now, continually being punished for this position.
Vibes surviving as 3, making that treacherous swim. They have more to go, though, as they don't have the zone on that side. And D+, we should be seeing D+ spring into action fairly soon, as the west side is condensing, and they are in the zone. On the bridge, Bino Storm looking to carve their way through. Bino Storm have played this very slow and patient, so I think, yeah, they will be having all 4 players available for this push across.
But it is a death run.
Yeah, BTR clearing.
It's so difficult to make your way through here. BTR eliminated in the meantime on the west side. No one having a good time right now. It is real tough stuff on this South Island crossing. Down towards Major Pride. They're waiting here. You can't even go underneath it. This Genesis will just pick you up as you come in, because you can't all go as 4, which would be needed to take down Genesis, and you can't really way to get past this Major Pride hold. It is just stranglesome over this bridge.
Yes.
Yeah, Bino Storm needs to get close enough to maybe smoke sightlines off, and then they can make a mad dash, veer off to the left or right, and then circle around the side of Major Pride. That should be the play that they're considering. It is going to be tough, though, but they have no other option. And with 4 people up, depending on how many vehicles they have all 4 vehicles for each individual player. It is quite doable if they could get close. We'll see where the circle goes, though, because it could shift north and give them the next zone to work with.
If it goes down south, I think it's Brute Force's match to lose here, unless Sem9 can get on fast. We'll have to wait and see. It does, in fact, dip down south. Keeps Major Pride in on their compound at that bridge mouth. But Brute Force can move along east, and they need to do so fairly soon, because D+, if they can get across that open ground, past IHC potentially as well, they will have contest on that ridgeline that sits down the middle of this South Island.
Genesis, not much that they can do besides look for some points from swimmers. We do see D+ here losing that zone, so they have to move a little bit. They've been very quiet, but just playing it conservative, keeping all 4 players up. See how much that helps them out in the very end stages of the game. Influence still alive, and here's that smoke path I was talking about. 1 player gets cut down, the second makes it over, but they stopped short. They didn't keep going. Surely they must have known there were other players on that low ground ready to meet them. Bino Storm making a little bit of a mistake there, I think. And Nagon goes down to that nade, and I think Bino Storm, yeah, just down to the solo.
I just don't think there's any way you can make that push. It's just so difficult. It would need a miracle. You get 3 picks onto Major Pride, and it would need Major Pride to make mistakes in order for this to work properly. And they just haven't. They've stayed nice and disciplined. They're probably very aware of Genesis under the bridge. So they were allowing them to play as that side cover if the players look to drop out to the side. Demuerte moving up with 2 players as well. And everybody's just getting crunched here. Everybody trying to survive, and it's not going to go well. Ichi tries to move around the edge.
Now Major Pride is starting to clear out their sides. They pick up a point here. Only 1 player left for Demuerte, and he will go down. Confirmed to the side of that Major Pride team with a nade. And now they're making their move, but still, Brute Force on the Southwest, still looking strong with 4. They haven't lost anyone so far, and they picked up a player onto the side of D+. D+ had 4, so that was a major threat. Just cut down a little bit now.
IHC still taking shots. Yol onto the low ground position for Brute Force, who have only taken 1 knock, and they were able to get that one back up. Actually, no, it was 2 knocks, wasn't it, against Rook on that south side for a while. But they're able to keep it under control. And now Ado with angles over towards Influence Rage as well. Osal in the meantime for D+, trying to move on forwards, might be spotted here, but Rap's back. He's just getting some scouting, some information gathered as they try and make their path into this next circle.
We saw mine right there with the nade out, had it primed and ready, but doesn't throw it because the player's just baiting it out. They're getting a lot of info over the side of D+. And Mind doesn't give away his position just yet. He hears a car stop. Now that nade is going to come in handy. And he caught the footsteps as he ran away. So he's going to throw that in the right direction and gets very close. The Molly follow-up. No knock in. Oh, there's that thing you were mentioning. Major Pride now cresting over the ridgeline side. Brute Force, they didn't finish this fight, so they will not be able to secure that spot.
And now Major Pride have that central area with that little saddle that sits between the 2 peaks of this ridgeline. They have a really, really solid sightline out to this western edge. Brute Force are going to struggle. They're going to have to play the south coast. They're going to have to conclude these fights out on the western edge.
Nade coming in. No connection. Brute Force, Mind starting to get exposed to a lot of angles. Doesn't have much options to play with now. Brute Force finds one onto IHC. And as Major Pride getting sightlines onto D+ now. It's a grind of a game right now with the way the circles are closing in. Major Pride in a great spot, however.
I've liked today's Major Pride. I think their coordinated aggression has been really quite fiery, really, from this team, from this region as well. I'm really liking this push that they made across the bridge, and now they've made that bold push across the open ground to get up to this high ground that they now currently own. And I think it's characteristic of what we've seen from them today. They have fallen flat a couple of times so far, but they have managed to impress me in terms of what they've been able to pull out on day 1. We'll see if they can keep it going. There's Naomi in effect over on the high ground with D+ right next to them. A nade to keep them alive, and Naomi has 2 players right close to him to deal with. There is backup sailing straight on through, and Forest is cut down. The Lumberjacks here, and they will look for more as well as Naomi swirls over the hillside. And now they have control, but Brute Force can start to move in as well.
Yeah, Brute Force, hearing the commotion, tries to take advantage of it. They didn't go for a full third party, but they made good ground. And oh, Sem9! Major Pride committed too much over to that side. It allows Sem9 to sneak behind and confirm a point. And now Major Pride are sandwiched between 2 different teams. It's not looking good. Major Pride had everything within their control, even the zone, and now they gave up the zone as the circle shifts back towards where they were. So now Major Pride forced to make a decision. Go aggressive. They're going to go try and take the fight to the side of Brute Force. Gets the